met a girl on Tinder, met his, I think, potential wife, but he said it was like 2 out of 150 women.
Sounds about
Wow.
right.
Okay. Yeah, so that's the odds are really like low.
I met
It's
my
Wow.
not
wife
Okay.
on
bad.
Tinder,
All
so
right, there we
it's not
go.
all
So
bad there.
Okay, we are live. All right. Hey, everybody. Hold on. Let me fix my camera here for a second. I'm so small here. Hey, everybody.
Hi, my name is Tree of Logic. Please, no, please
What's up,
continue. I'm sorry.
everybody? This is Tree from treeoflogic.com, and welcome to the Big Kids Table, the Treehouse debates. We're going to have a good one for you today, and so and we started on time. So what we're going to do is go around the room and have everybody introduce themselves before we get right into our juicy topics. So let's start off to the left of me with Jupiter. Jupiter, go ahead and introduce yourself and also drop some links.
Oh yeah, the links thing. This is important. Hi guys, how are you? Jupiter. So I'm on my second content strike in 2 weeks. They let me finally re-upload, and the first video wasn't even listed yet. Got me my second one, so I have one more and 3 strikes, and you're fucked in your asshole. So if you could please, ladies and gentlemen, because now I have no following. My heterosexual life mate, who happens to be a homosexual, our cat's gay. We are now on BitChute, and we have no following, and we would really appreciate if Jens could come and show a little love, because these fucking pedophile demons who run the world are fucking us, and I'm really upset. Wait, real quick, they don't even let you make playlists, even though I'm a YouTube premium member, if you have a strike. And so, yeah, guys, before I lose my
Jupiter,
mind,
go
just
ahead and
come on over to BitChute.
Jupiter, go ahead and post in the chat. I'll make you a moderator so you can post the link.
All right, thank you very much.
Hooray.
Thank you.
yes.
All right, next we have Rafiq. By the way, y'all, he's out of New York. Rafiq, go ahead.
Yes.
I'm so
Yeah.
happy for you, Rafiq. I'm so happy. I'm really happy
Thank
for
you.
you.
Thank you.
Black
I know.
flight.
Okay, thank you.
How long has it been?
March 31st.
Nice.
Yeah, I stayed at a hotel overnight since my mail started to get forwarded automatically. I was like, why stay in New York City? I hopped out of there. We got to talk to Freedom Works or whoever's in Charlotte, North Carolina about those white rocking chairs. They're racist. At the Charlotte, North Carolina airport, they got these white rocking chairs. I was like, where are the black, brown, red, yellow rocking chairs at the same time? Okay. Yeah. So my name is Rafiq Jennings, and I escaped New York City. That was a movie. Look it up, everybody. To the great state of South Carolina for Unique Nora. I don't know if you can see the map here. I know it's kind of flip, so she can know which is the red zone, which is the blue zone. I'm in the red zone. No more blue zones for me. Okay. And you can find me on Twitter or Instagram. Granted, I have not been active because I've been doing something in South Carolina I could do in New York City that's actually live a life of people actually friendly, and I can actually go to venues and indoors, and no one freaks out when I don't wear a mask, and life is great. It's the great state of South Carolina. That's the original flag.
All right.
Yes.
Oh man, I am so seriously. Whenever people leave the communist part of the blue cities, I am so happy when they come down to the South where we're all free. 'Cause so happy. Okay, I'm sorry, did I cut you off? Did anything else you wanted to say or?
No, no, that's it. My Twitter and Instagram is the same username here, rjennings333.
All right. Okay. All right. And next we have Big Bad Bear Jew. All right. And he comes
What's
up
up?
next.
Big Bad Bear Jew. Politically, I guess I'd be conservative. I think the liberals are well-intentioned but stupid, and I like to argue with them. And so if we have some on the panel, we'll have some fun tonight. You can find me on YouTube, Instagram at Big Bad Bear Jew.
All right. And next, we're going to go down.
Cats loves your Instagram, by the way. Loves it.
Dude,
Glad to hear
the
it.
memes are on fire, bro. You're like one of my favorite IGs for sure. The
And-
memes are on fire.
And next, we're going to have Trip. I go ahead and introduce yourself. And yeah.
What's up? I'm Trip. I do a lot of things, but one of the things I do on Twitter, I talk a lot about gaming and a little bit about politics, and I like to fuck around on Instagram as well. I don't. I wish I wish we had one of those debates. Archer's not here, so we're never gonna do it unless he gets his ass in the debate.
Well, we're going to talk
But,
about it. I don't think Archer's going to come back for it anytime soon.
Yeah, I also know he may or may not have gotten his Pfizer shot today. So he was like, "Yeah, I'm turning into a lizard person." So he's,
Probably.
Did he have to get it?
I don't know.
I did.
All I know is he got a shot today. That's all I know. One of
Okay.
his 3 shots apparently that we need all year. So yeah. I don't know if you heard about that.
Yeah, I
There's a
heard
third
about
one
it,
that we
and
need
I was
probably 6 months
yeah,
after.
yeah, okay.
We can
Only
talk
for
about
the
that in a little
Pfizer.
bit, but my point is this: I wish sometime soon. I hope sometime soon we have a debate on what political labels actually mean. What is left? What is right? What is Democrat? What is Republican? But for right now, I'm really enjoying radical centrist. But you can call me like kind of like a center left liberal, pretty much. But I'm not woke.
Okay. All right. Next, we have Felix. Felix, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Felix. I should be studying for my physics test that I will probably fail tomorrow, but this is infinitely more important in the arbitrary universe of lists that I've created in my head. But my Instagram is @Felix1 and RIP Archer. That's all I got to say.
I killed that motherfucker. No, I'm kidding.
No more babies for him.
Stop. You guys stop. Don't say that. It's not here and it's not funny.
You're the one that said you killed him. So, yeah.
All right. Can you guys hear me chewing?
No.
Okay.
No.
Great.
Chew again, and we'll try.
No, I just want to make sure
ASMR.
you guys.
But
I'm
if-
only chewing when you guys are talking.
If we can, you can just rebrand as an ASMR channel.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know if
next-
ASMR
your chat can
dominant.
hear me well, because in the last couple times when like I went to check a clip or something, I don't know, I couldn't hear my mic very well. But if I'm not coming through or
You're
someone's not
coming
coming
through
through, just let
perfectly.
Tree know,
It's just
everybody.
people were ignoring you and talking over you.
All
That's
right.
all that was.
All right,
Cats,
then.
go ahead.
That's what happens
Yeah.
to us liberals.
I heard you. That's what I'm saying. I heard you. Cats, go ahead. Your turn.
Hello, everyone. I am Arcatskay, ? You know, you could be the one person who's asked me, are they? Because I never get that question ever with my username, ever. I'm just a California homosexual who decided that being woke was dumb, and I refuse to suck the lady dick. So, I mostly talk about that every 32.3 weeks on my YouTube channel. Mostly I do a podcast with my best friend Jupiter. We are Caggit. You can guess what that means because it's just 2 offensive things mashed together because we're kind of offensive. But check us out on BitChute, and I look forward to the debate.
All right. And last but definitely not least, we have Grimace. Grimace, thank you so much for coming and joining us again. Go ahead, introduce yourself, and lay down some links for people to find you.
Oh, sure. The only link I have is twitter.com/outgrimace. You guys should be able to figure that out. Hopefully I don't have to type that. But Tree, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Where is Hunter Biden? I'm a moderate liberal. I am happy to be here as always. I finished my critical race theory arc on stream with the help of some of the members of your community. It's something I think I'm pretty well versed in, or well versed enough to argue against some pretty for the woke. For instance, Joe Lewis just came on to like sort of challenge me a couple weeks ago, but he just said, I agree with everything you're saying. And then when I asked him, can you give me a place where CRT could be applied reasonably? And he said something really dumb. I forgot what it was, but then he agreed that, yeah, that's not a good example. So,
Okay.
I think so. I'm pretty prepared for that. Other than that, I'd like to thank, I would like to thank Jupiter for getting me back paying attention to the Red Rising group book series. Yeah, so I'm rereading the first book right now, and one of the biggest issues I have with CRT in general is the fact that they seem to be dividing people and creating barriers that shouldn't be there. And besides the fact I realize now it's just trying to set up a socialist revolution type thing with the bourgeoisie versus the proletariat, which we can tell who those different sides would be through the CRT lens. I also realized that if I'm gonna have a position like Big Bad Bear Jew and I got into the last podcast about like speaking about Black people instead of just saying poor people, it would be nice if we could just talk in that sense that there's like a unique problem in this community, that when we talk about this, we're just talking about that unique background. But when it's applied to actual argument and applied to actual, this is what I'm realizing right now, when it's applied to discourse, it devolves into this, what we have now with CRT. It's like if you can justify it once trying to separate Black people with policy positions, you're going to go further and further back down the line. So that's another thing I've been thinking about. So yeah, ready to talk about whatever.
Okay.
Question: What is CRT?
Critical race theory.
Critical ray tube television.
Oh, okay. See, I've been so behind.
Crackers,
Nothing.
racists, and thoughts.
Okay.
That's my network.
Hey, that's the alternative to Tinder.
That's my network.
Okay. So we're going to go with the first subject. And I think everybody, if you all haven't heard, I'm going to get rid of the second subject because I totally forgot about
It's spicy.
YouTube's community guidelines. You cannot go against their narrative, and I'll get a strike for talking about the second subject. But don't worry, we'll replace it with something else. But the first subject, we're talking about Black Lives Matter. So you all received the links for the sources. In 2020, Black Lives Matter raised over $90 million. None of it was spent on the Black community. The co-founder, Patrice Khan Coulters, purchased 4 expensive homes in a prominent white area. And I gave several sources to that. Which prompted a call for an investigation. And after I sent out these sources, she she did an interview with someone where she said that it's justified for her to have these homes because she has to do for her family, you know what I'm saying, and helping her Black family. It's like helping Black people. I'll get that source if you guys want that. That thing was so funny. Anyway, and then
the trained Marxist.
Yeah, the trained. Well, that is basically Marxist. They live rich lives while the poor.
$1.3 million mansion for her family.
Yeah. Well, remember 4 places. Like, okay, you gotta. And we can go into. She had 4
right
homes.
now in the Bahamas that costs $850,000.
Yeah, she was going. Yeah, and she hasn't gotten that yet. So now, and also came out today, or was this come out yesterday? Breonna Taylor's mother came out, but she's not the only one. I think Tamir Rice. I think a couple of weeks ago, Tamir Rice's mother came out against Black Lives Matter. Now Breonna Taylor's mother's coming out Black Lives Matter, saying that it's a fraud, that they're just taking advantage of the Black community. We on the right have been telling them this, and all we're doing is just laughing and like, well, we told you so, you know what I'm saying? And so it just basically proves our narrative that the thing was just used as a money grab. But this is my personal opinion. I was like when I first exposed the website and said they're against Black men, you know what I'm saying? I did catch
heterosexual Black men.
Yeah, sorry, thank you, Rafiq. Because that's very important. Yeah. They were against heterosexual Black men. I did that video on 2016. I was the only one to actually go to their website and look at their mission statement and actually showcase this and say they're not for heterosexual Black men. You have to understand this. You're just nothing but foot soldiers that are expendable and this, that, and the other. And right now, and this is the part I said, this is my personal opinion. My personal opinion, I don't care. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. That is the purpose of the Black community right now, is to get politicians elected and get other people rich off of their victim mentality. So there, I said it and I stand by it, and I have no problem debating anybody about this who are watching this and getting butt hurt. So without further ado, we're going to go into the 2-minute, get my phone. We're going to go into the 2-minute opening, and then we're going to have a discussion about it, and then we'll do the 2-minute closing. So let's start all over again with Jupiter. So go ahead, Jupiter, to your 2-minute opening statement.
All right. I love it. It's one of my favorite stories because what was in the news was that she purchased a 1.3, some say $1.4 million mansion in literally the whitest place on earth, similar to what the MLB did with the All-Star game. But on top of that, she's purchased multiple homes for a total of $4.8 million, and she's looking at multiple other homes all over the world. And people say, oh, I thought you were a trained Marxist. That's capitalism. It's like, no, that's Marxism. She allows her community to suffer and die. She race hustles, which is the ultimate Marxist tactic, to become ultra wealthy while everyone else stays poor. That is Marxism. But what more do you expect from the same people that have people like Sean fucking King as the leader of the blacks? Rachel Dolezal, queen of the blacks. It happens every single time. These left-wing, disgusting groups come in and they prey on really poor minority communities. Doesn't matter if they're it happens to white communities as well, with a lot of the evangelical cults that sprang up in the trailer parks. It happens, but that is Marxism. It's not capitalism. It's capitalism in the same way that Twitter is free speech. So, good for her. Fuck it. No, I'm kidding. Fuck that bitch. She's evil.
All right, Rafiq, your 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Anyone in the chat, by the way, I am literally like 3 days on a hangover because I've had 3 days off of work, and I don't really feel like drinking. So can someone tell me, should I drink vodka tonight for the chat? Or
no, water.
Drop in the chat.
No, water.
Wine. Oh, sorry.
I'm going water,
vodka.
bro.
I agree.
On water.
H2O, yes.
Okay, go ahead, Rafiq.
Vodka
Jack
means
Daniels.
water,
That's what you
right?
get for
Regulation.
asking too, Jupiter. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Rafiq.
I don't know. I'm gonna take
Even
it.
the chat says water. Sorry.
That's all right.
Go ahead, Rafiq.
I'm gonna take a different approach. Maybe kind of play devil's advocate a little bit, based on the
good.
conversation I have with friends of mine. I mean, she's a grifter, and grifters are going to grift. I mean, the left prefers to listen to her, then they prefer to listen to her. This is the response I get from the right when I talk about the grifters on the right, like Candace Owens and whatnot. It's like, well, I'd rather listen to them, and they got to make money somehow. Well, the same applies to the BLM grifters. So, but the thing is, it's like the hustle continues because, as long as people continue to be useful idiots and be so badly needing confirmation biases that they're so gullible to snake oil salesmen. So once people just stop, I mean, yeah, fool me once, shame on them. But the second time and on, it's just like once people just stop falling for these scams, there'll be no hustle. Just, people just have to stop being the sucker born every minute, as Ringland Barnum, I forgot, the circus man said.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's it.
Okay. All right. Okay. BJ?
I don't want to focus too much on this one girl. I mean, I think I heard her defense is that she wasn't siphoning money from Black Lives Matter. She's actually making consulting fees from other companies, which is itself a racial grift. Also, a lot of times what these organizations do is that their money they take from Black Lives Matter will go and fund a nonprofit, and that nonprofit will end up paying consulting fees to the people from Black Lives Matter.
Mm-hmm.
So they're just kind of moving money around to themselves anyway. But again, it's not really about her. I think that regardless of the money aspects of things, BLM is a fraud because no matter how much they spend on the Black community, they're not actually helping the Black community. Like racial fraudsters, Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton have been doing this for a long time and just been, any incident they want to capitalize on and then making money for themselves and pushing their own power. And Black Lives Matter is no different. Read at the top, it's corruption, and we can all see that pretty easily. But to me, BLM is a fraud because of their policies. In the past, we had blacks being kept down by segregation, which we see now being pushed more and more by our culture, by college campuses. And more specifically to this, we have, in the past, blacks were kept down by under-policing. So police wouldn't go into Black neighborhoods. It wouldn't protect law-abiding citizens from non-law-abiding citizens, criminals, and that ended up hurting the law-abiding Black people living there. Right? So that was done on purpose to hold down Black people, and then we started to go away from that angle, right, and trying to actually police these areas. And now it's just like segregation is going right back to it. So right now we're trying to say defund the police, no incarceration, and that is again something that's going to destroy Black communities because you need police in your area. Even in super poor areas, the percentage of people who are criminals is extremely small. You could have 2% of the people in the area who are hurting the other 98%. And our politicians love to show empathy towards the 2% of the criminals, not understanding that's hurting the 98% of people living there. So I remember I did on my YouTube channel, Big Bad Bear G. I did a video in Chicago South Side and about gun violence and stuff. And no one was talking about gun laws. They were talking about we need more police because a lot of us trying to live our lives and we can't because they're focusing on helping the criminals out and talking about things that don't actually help us. And so Black Lives Matter main policy push is the reason why it's going to Black people.
Okay, Trip, your turn.
I don't think we're going to disagree with each other much on this panel here, but as far as the grift goes, I would say it's not just a grift. The particular leaders of BLM are really into cucking their own community with their own community because they like to see people who look like them get royally screwed, especially if they have less money than them, and then they like to make more money off of them. And it's pretty plain to see that they're exploiting tragedies for money. It's like anybody else on television. Oprah will have someone on who's had a tragic life and then exploit them in front of millions of people. BLM does the same thing, except they're in your face and they're actually dangerous. It's not a television program you can just shut off.
I can see this.
Black Lives Manners. That's funny.
I large mentions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically, I think I said what I mean. It's a bunch of race hustlers. Some people are in it for what they think are the right reasons, but they're being used as pawns, and they're really ruining any chances of legitimacy for a movement that seemed to have noble ambitions a long time ago, and we're 10 years on able to see right through it.
All right. Felix.
I'm one of the people that at the way beginning of Black Lives Matter thought, yeah, I can get behind this. It seems like a good enough cause. I mean, I'm not their demographic, mind you, but they seem like they're doing the right thing. And as the years, and I can't believe I'm saying years have gone on, it's like the shiny facade that they've put out is starting to crack. And right now it's at the point of where you have to be really, really, really invested in politics to still buy what they're selling, or just ignorant to everything else around you to believe what's going on. Because it's obvious that they don't want to help people because they need Black people to be in lesser positions so they can tell them, oh, you're not doing well, let us help you. But what has Black Lives Matter actually accomplished? We can't really point to many things that they've accomplished. All they've accomplished so far, at least in the past year, is lots of rioting, which has made public support go down a lot, and strong-arming a bunch of media corporations to saying that they're the good guys.
Well, they also, by the way, they
hold
also
on. No,
informed me and actually the entire
no,
Black community that
stop.
the blacks don't have IDs.
Jupiter. Okay, so we got cats. Go ahead, cats.
He's gonna punish you.
My favorite part of the show is when Tree yells at you, man.
Me too. It's most people's favorite. It's most people. Look, my poor dog is sitting here, and you guys are talking to me like this. She wanted to see her dad perform, and you treat me this way. It's fine. Go ahead, embarrass me. It's fine. Hey,
go ahead.
They got pills for when you can't perform.
All right.
Go ahead, cats.
I know that it's tempting to say that, to take a couple of points, which is oh my God, look at this woman. She's such a grifter. She's just like Candace Owen on the left. And I'm not making fun of people who've said that. It's an easy comparison to make, but there is one critical difference between this woman and, say, Candace Owen. Candace Owen supports a philosophy that thinks it's a good thing. If Candace Owen were to own multiple homes, she would be saying, like, yes, that's what my philosophy is about. Success as an individual, getting more stuff that I worked for. This woman belongs to an organization which not only believes that gentrification and the housing shortage is an aspect of white supremacy, but that the market forces that she's exploiting in order to get these things are inherently wrong. Not only that, she is a mouthpiece, a founder of an organization that, unlike, say, Candace Owen, which problems with her you might have, Candace Owen doesn't represent an organization that has the threat of violent force behind it in many cases. That woman it's not just a problem that this one woman has multiple homes, even though she's a Marxist and doesn't believe in owning property or let alone multiple property. It's a problem because if the founder of an organization that explicitly and violently states that housing is a communal right, that owning multiple homes and having millionaires exist is fundamentally wrong, well, then it shows you that the BLM itself is rotten to the core. And I'm not just talking about because their ideas are stupid. I mean, they don't believe them. The people that started it don't believe it. And if the people that started it don't believe it, then how the hell can you trust the foot soldiers?
All right. And last but definitely not least, we have our Grimace. Grimace, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Someone in your chat said that that I had TDS, and I disagree completely.
You do have TDS.
This story, what it reminds me of is that Steve Bannon got arrested and charged for scamming Trump supporters for building the wall. We also saw it with Trump's campaign emailing Trump supporters for lawyer fees to combat the election results, but gave them a reoccurring subscription, so they're paying this well past the window for fighting these things legally. But yeah, it seems pretty fucked when you look at it. I can't see. It's not that she bought a house and bought all these different houses. She's not being very forthcoming when it comes to that. And from what I read, it looks like they've got $60 million. They've spent $30 million doling out the money to different chapters, I guess. And BLM's supposed to be like not central. I forgot the exact terminology for
decentralized.
That. Decentralized. Yes, thank you. But it's the statements that I saw is just like, yeah, we plan on spending this money locally in our communities. It's just, well, BLM has been an organization since 2013. They got all this money from the most money that they have now is from the George Floyd incident and the time going past that. And they have subscriptions as well. So they actually have like an inflow of money right now. To help her out a little bit, like, I don't know if you could have a $1.4 million mansion in Maui, but I guess it's up to like $5 million as far as their total real estate. But you should also keep into account, it's not like she had $5 million in the bank or she had to get $5 million. She just had to probably pay a percentage of that, right? And like show that she was capable of paying off that loan, which might show executive pay from BLM, which they don't disclose. But to strawman the Marxist position, as far as like benefiting from capitalism, if you're like an actual Marxist, this isn't like contradictory. It's like you can work within the system and flourish as much as you want, as long as you're agitating the population into revolutionary thought, so that one day the proletariat would rise up against the bourgeoisie. So I don't think she's doing anything that goes outside of being like a Marxist or a crazy person or whatever her position is.
Hold on.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Can I address that?
Yeah. Hold on. I'll let Rafik and then Katz address what he said. Hold that thought a second. Hey, Trip and Phalix, do you guys think you can play devil's advocate and back up Grimace if we have the second subject?
For which part?
If we can have the second subject saying that he doesn't have TDS.
Yeah, I mean, I heard him say that, and I gave one of these little things, and then he immediately started talking about Trump and all the grifts that Trump has, and it's like we weren't even talking about him, so
No,
I don't know
no,
why
but
you brought it up.
I think this would be a fun second because I don't have a second topic. I can make up
Oh
one
my
anyway.
god.
Oh, a fun second
Talk
topic
about
is
how about Hunter
because
Biden?
I mean,
That's-
that'd be
he
fun.
Grimace
says
asked where it was.
Grimace says he doesn't have TDS, and we all disagree. And I'm thinking to make it a little spicy that you guys back him up, saying no, he doesn't have TDS.
all right. Well,
It's not the worst case I've seen.
I think he has
Yeah.
less TDS than a lot of other
Yeah,
people.
you have
So, but I don't know if I
Clearly
can
not
back him
been
up
to like the
enough.
rich areas of
Absolutely.
Chicago.
Okay.
When presented with facts, I don't think Grimace will always deny them.
What?
But
Okay,
It's not terminal.
That's not true. But we'll get to that in a minute. Okay, so go ahead, Rafiq. Go ahead and address Grimace saying that what she's doing
Yeah.
is not Marxist.
Yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I know communists talk about overthrowing the bourgeoisie. Well, I mean, she owns these $1 million homes. She is the bourgeoisie. With Bernie Sanders with his home, they're champagne socialists. I mean, they are the bourgeoisie. Isn't that the paradox?
From what I've seen about Bernie
even-
Sanders, he's not bad.
even Warren Buffett lives in like his old like childhood home or something like that. That's only worth like a couple $100,000. Isn't that what the deal about him? And he's like the ultra capitalist. If you say you're a Marxist, then you should at least have like live by your own ideology, right? So if you believe in global warming, you're a huge environmentalist, then you should reduce your carbon impact. That's why we make fun of people like John Kerry and Al Gore with like gigantic mansions, but they say we also reduce our
Private
footprints
jets.
and stop eating meat and stop using cars, and the same sort of
Private
hypocritical
jets.
behavior.
Yeah.
If you give them the responsibility of acting towards their principles, but like when you're trying to overthrow an entire system, you usually act like sort of crypto.
If you're trying to overthrow an
entire
entire system, you're
Yeah.
saying what you do is you take offshore money, which so far she hasn't been able to account for a lot of this money, and buy 4 separate homes for you and your friends and family. That's how you overthrow the system.
No,
not a good
no,
look.
it's everything she does
You
outside
gotta
of that.
practice what you preach.
She is.
Yeah,
It's
it
a
should be.
bad look.
I want
Jupiter,
Katz
she is
to get
practicing
in.
what she preaches because. All right, go ahead, Katz. I'll go to you.
So here's my I don't know if I want to call it a rebuttal, but to Grimace's point about it not being contrary to Marxism. Maybe you can find some school of Marxism that will say that it's okay to be like, working inside capitalism, and that's fine. Marxism is a broad statement. You can twist that to be whatever. But BLM specifically, that particular ethno-nationalist form of Marxism that they practice, I mean, how many anti-gentrification campaigns has BLM had? How many times have they explicitly said in their own manifesto that the housing crisis is a product of white supremacy and that no one should own multiple homes? But it seems like it's
Kill
specifically
landlords.
for Black Lives Matter, not
Yeah.
not Marxism
Kill it,
in
yes.
general, but Black Lives Matter specifically. She's completely rejected her own principles, assuming they meant anything to begin with.
Right, and if Black Lives Matter to her so much, she could have invested one of those 4 very, very nice homes that she purchased in the whitest of neighborhoods. Maybe she could have gentrified her own place with black money from Black Lives Matter back into the black community. But she doesn't think that
Wait.
Black Lives matter.
Yeah, here's what
there
Lives
a
Matter.
nice
Wait,
neighborhood
let
that isn't
Grimace reply.
predominantly white?
Let Grimace reply.
Just out of curiosity. Like,
Out of curiosity, what?
if you're going to buy a house in a nice neighborhood, it's almost always going to be like a predominantly white neighborhood, right?
But
No.
why? All right,
No, no, no,
no, no, no.
right. But if
No,
she
hold on,
loves so much,
hold on, wait.
The
I
more-
gotta
The
answer
more
that because
important thing
y'all,
is that she's getting multiple homes.
Grimace,
Yeah,
I
that's
stay in
Prince
the
George
South.
County, right?
I stay in the South as well as coming from the North. There are nice, predominantly gated black communities.
Really?
Suburbs of Atlanta.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Prince George County and Maryland, right?
Prince George County and Montgomery County and over there in Columbia, and then down here in Georgia we have Alpharetta, Roswell, and Fayette County.
but Tree,
What about in California, in our area?
Grimace,
I don't know
Grimace,
anything about
you
California.
Grimace, you said that number one, she's not from
And
California.
Buckhead. Thank you, Grace, and Buckhead.
But
I'm not from Washington, but the West Coast
but I'm
is the best
saying
coast.
she chose to. Okay, whatever. But I'm not going to go into that. You said that Black Lives Matter made about $60 million that you heard. That's
Not
true.
90 million. 60.
Yeah,
okay.
No.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Yeah, you did say 60 million, but that's fine.
No,
Black
no.
Lives-
60 million
Wait.
they haven't spent. Is just,
Nine.
just what-
That's actually not true. That's not even close to being true.
That's just
in
what I read.
You're getting in the
2020
weeds.
alone, in 2020 alone, they had $90 million intake. That's not even coming close to these very strange offshore foreign accounts that were dumping money into that. It looks closer to 150 million.
Yeah,
Either
we
way,
had 90 million plus.
yeah,
we
90
can't track
million
all of it.
plus. But either way, wouldn't you think that if she has $4 million all of a sudden, which consulting fees are not, which are very sketchy, and to make that money in that short of a time, wouldn't you think she would have something to show of investing back into the Black community from this Black Lives Matter? Why not?
That's the whole issue, is that all their policies are destructive, and so what even would they give their money towards?
True.
It's never towards building anything. Like maybe if it spends on lobbying, it spends on lobbying efforts, but like where would their money go to that would further their mission?
Opportunity.
Fucked up
I believe
and
Black
sad
Lives
is
Matter has
true.
opened up a Molotov
That's an honest
cocktail
question.
factory.
Okay, we're gonna have, hold on.
Question.
I want to get
Okay.
Cats and then Trip. I'm sorry, Cats and then Trip, and then Grimace is going to respond back to
Someone
all
in the
y'all.
chat said, "Why not build Wakanda?"
I
Thanks.
think that's better, too.
So Cats,
Right
Trip,
now.
and then
I think that-
Grimace.
I feel like we're getting sidetracked on like
Blue
where
collar.
she bought the homes. That's not the important part. It's not important that she bought homes in predominantly white neighborhoods and not in black. The point is she bought multiple homes when she belongs to and founded an organization that explicitly does not believe in multi-home ownership.
Personal
Like,
property.
we're talking about it. Yeah, it would be like
Single home ownership.
It is the equivalent of someone who started a solar company buying a home powered exclusively by coal. It is a complete contradiction in terms.
Okay, Trip.
Yeah, it seems. It just seems if you're going to have the position to eat all landlords, that you wouldn't like become a landlord. But yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
Which is what she's
Right.
done,
I don't know how much
basically.
we're going to disagree on this, but it seems pretty clear to me that this person's obviously ideologically possessed, only to the point where
It's
other
profitable.
people can't have the things that she wants. So the rules will apply for other people, but not her. So the redistribution of wealth angle of Marxism applies if she's taking money from whoever they are, white liberals with guilty consciences, and taking their money and giving it to herself because of what she looks like. That's okay. But investing it back into a certain community that might have people who don't look like her, I don't know. I don't see it being as equitable as she thinks it is. It just seems like she's taking advantage of the situation. She has money at her disposal, so she's going to take it, and if she wants to justify it, it's redistribution of wealth to someone.
I think that when I was talking about, I didn't mention her as much in my opening because she's just an example of something that's a larger problem. In most of organizations that have political purposes, but especially Black Lives Matter. Again, when it comes to like the policy, what are two of the biggest things that came out of it? Not necessarily policy-wise, but kind of that we all saw like happening. That were all the riots and national anthem protests, both of which were so terrible PR moves that it definitely set the movement back. And what I asked to you guys earlier was if Black Lives Matter put the money, to the cause, what would that even look like? Because again, are they would it be scholarships? I haven't heard them talk about that. Other people are doing that sort of stuff. What would they even put money into? Other organizations.
They say what they want. They say they just want to get cash. That's what they've said.
So
you need to actually take out $10 right now. If you're white, take out $10 right now.
So
and hand it to a person of color at this thing. That's what they actually say. They make people do that. It's ridiculous. It's so racist. It just assumes that people have no agency.
Extremely divisive. Yeah.
They need handouts.
Black Lives Matter doesn't build anything.
So since
they don't want to build anything, they just tear everything down. That's the purpose of their organization. Sorry.
Since we tend to agree on this one, let me just throw something spicy out there. Black Lives Matter was never for blacks. Black Lives Matter is a fucking fraud. It has and always been. It has done nothing for the black community. It has never addressed anything that's very important about blacks. It is just basically to hurt blacks, not to help blacks. Prove me wrong.
I can't.
Let me add to that. I call first dibs, Jupiter. Hold on a second. I just want to add to that and say it might have been to hurt blacks, But I think that what it actually is the co-opting of the liberal movement more broadly. The same thing that happened in Occupy Wall Street to say, hey, we don't want you to focus on the class issues that everybody has that you could kind of fight against, how the Bernie Sanders sort of wing it, and say, we want you to focus on these racial issues that can never really be resolved and push that. That's why all the big banks, obviously, and other corporate Americans didn't sponsor Occupy Wall Street. They didn't like that. But when it comes to this movement, they go, oh, yeah. Talk about black versus white. That's not going to affect us. We like that sort of thing. So when we talk about racial politics, that actually de-emphasizes the class struggles are inherent in our society and are important to talk about.
Hold on, Trip. Let me get this out. BJ, that's exactly what I was saying earlier when Grimace was talking about the proletariat. That they realized a long time ago that class struggles don't work on the middle class and working class because the working class and middle class see that there is upward mobility. This race shit, though, the good thing about the BLM thing versus Occupy Wall Street actually has an in here. As they burn down every small business, the same reason Amazon pushes for a $15 minimum wage, they can afford it. The little guy can't. But race hustling is profitable. It doesn't matter if it's BLM or if it's Al Sharpton. It's big business. But these same people, the proletariat, fuck that. They understand. Big people like Amazon, Wall Street, Google, the reason they back BLM, Nike, and all that, they can afford it. And they allow these people, a couple like this girl who bought 4 houses, they allow them to get rich, like 10 or 11 of them, while the black community just burns. And the people that go along with it, the Al Sharptons, this broad, they are the most evil, sickening, ethno-narcissistic pieces of shit. And
Yeah, if we go back to my opening argument too about the BLM founders and leaders, they're not the ones throwing bricks, right? So they don't care. They just like seeing their community get torn up. They're cucks. They like seeing it all burned down around them because they benefit from a couple things. One, the black community or black communities, like geographic communities, becoming like more hotspots for crime. That's better for them because then they give more of those shootings in the news, which gets them more donations. It's exactly what they want. And they get a lot of donations from a bunch of, white, wealthy suburbanites who want to continue to think that, oh, they need our help. And we are actually supreme because based on race. And then they get to go along their lives, these white, wealthy, elite type people, and they get to go and just think that they're helping when they're actually super racist, and the BLM founders get to profit off of that racism. They like it. It's not like they don't want it to go away. They need it.
Go ahead,
to
Katz,
buy their homes.
after he finished. Go ahead, Katz.
I agree with you, and I think it's more than that. I feel like even though the Black Lives Matter leaders are not going to be the ones throwing bricks, they strongly want people to throw the bricks because they like the idea of there being a coercive of violence as a backup option, which they can deny because, who knows who did what. But damn well they probably met with city leaders like, well, you're going to give us what we want, or who knows? It'd be a shame if your community was racist and it got burned down in a protest.
Well, who here believe? Hold on,
they burned down the black ones.
Who here believed that BLM started off as a well-intentioned organization?
I don't know.
I don't.
It's a no from me, dog.
I used to think that.
Okay, so we're gonna have
They're not
Felix
burning
and our
like
Grimace think that they started off, so we'll have them go ahead and tell us their thoughts on that. So
Is there like some big origin story I'm not familiar with? My understanding of BLM is that it sort of started after Michael Brown was shot in
based on false pretenses.
but see,
Sure, but the outcry was real. But I agree that the reporting was inaccurate. That's how I no.
I thought it was
Trayvon Martin.
The seeds were Trayvon Martin.
Yeah.
And then Brown is kind of when it started gaining some momentum.
Could have been our son.
Well, the reason I said it was never created to help blacks is because ever since it was founded, it has done nothing but setbacks backwards. From the time it was established, it has set black people backwards and done nothing for them to this day. And if it has done something for the black community, let me know what that is.
It's crazy to think about that racial division was at its lowest point under George Bush because that continuously going down. And then when Barack Obama came, it was supposed to be like, oh, it's to continue that trend line. Because when his first campaign, he was acting like, colorblind, like we're gonna get over this, blah blah blah. And then as soon as Trayvon Martin happened, and then it became a completely different story. And he started pushing the racial aspect of it. Black Lives Matter came about, and now we're at the worst racial division in decades, since like the 80s.
Wait,
and it was because of Black Lives Matter.
The racial divide?
It's when he started concentrating on race, and Trayvon Martin started because, again, with no facts coming out, he could have been my son, is what he said, right? And you don't say that when you have a crime going on, which you don't have the facts about. That is completely divisive. There's also, I'm less informed in this one, but there was I think it was.
Could have just been him bringing humanity.
It was a Henry. No, it was because if you jump in, because if the facts were that Trayvon Martin was a criminal jumping fence to fence, all that sort of stuff, you wouldn't say he could be my son, right? So we have to get the facts, and he jumped. No, you wouldn't, because that wouldn't be relevant there, because Barack Obama's son, you wouldn't say about a criminal he could have been my son, so he couldn't have got shot.
If the criminal looked like me, he wouldn't have said it could have been my son.
I'm not kind of sure about a criminal. I'm just saying, before you know the facts, you don't really know. And so when it comes to, I think it was Henry Louis Gates, I might get the name confused. It was the college professor. But I think the story was that he showed up to his house, was locked out, and I think he was like really drunk, and so he wasn't as coherent as he could have been. And then I forgot, Barack Obama said something about that, like made it a racial thing, like, oh, if he was white, it wouldn't have happened, right? So Barack Obama did some of those seeds. He's not pushing like the current Democratic Party. I'm not saying things like that, but that planted the seeds at a time where we had the lowest racial division ever. When I went to an all-black high school, and let me tell you, no one really gave a fuck about people's race. It wasn't a cause of concern. It wasn't like the police are hunting us down and all that. It was just not talked about ever. And not because people were shy about it, because it wasn't out of everyone's mind. There's plenty of poor people. They're concerned with being poor, not about race or black-white issues. But now that's all people talk about, are these racial divisions instead of, again, the class divisions.
That's a fact. We used to say that we were the first generation that was totally racially blind. We didn't give a shit. We all called each other racial names and stuff. We were best friends. Black, white, Jewish, gay, didn't matter. We all jagged each other, but it created unity. But now it's literally all you fucking see. And Obama absolutely stokes all this shit. He did it the other day. He always weighs in on this. And when the most powerful man on the planet, the first black president, weighs in and says, that could have been my son. Yeah, if you're going to tell me that we are less racially sensitive now than we were before Obama got into office, it's never been. We might as well be in the 60s.
Let's have an honest conversation about race, and then we tried having it, and then it completely devolved until one side can't speak.
I think also you guys are forgetting. I also think you guys. Hold on, I'm gonna let you respond, Grimace. I know you because everybody packed on you. But let me just say this: because I'm a former police officer, I also pay attention to what other people don't do. Barack also went to police funerals where police officers were gunned down by these didn't-dos and started to ridicule other police officers in attendance about how they should be more sympathetic and less racist and to basically be, what did they say, less reactionary against black people at a funeral.
Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah, at a church.
You said that at a cop's funeral?
Yep.
Yes. And that's why he's a piece of shit. This was like, he did it at a cop's funeral, So now you got police officers who now are bitter, okay? Because they're like, this motherfucker, he's not realizing that this is one of our brothers over here that is in the casket, and you got a nerve to preach to us about some fucking racism, and we need to stop being reactionary. I'm sorry, go ahead, Grimace. I told you I was gonna go ahead and let you talk.
Oh, I was just I was trying to contest the idea that he was like drawing up these lines between people. I'm gonna look into that Chicago story that officers. Wow, I can't grasp words today. But what I wanted to say is I thought that he handled it pretty well between his professor friend and the cop by trying to have a conversation over a beer at the White House, which he got eviscerated for. So I'm not sure what he could have done one way or the other. You can blame Obama for bringing racial issues to the fore, but I could easily make the case that as soon as there was a black president, everybody on the right started to think that race was a bigger issue now, and all we heard about was race.
No, I think it was the opposite of that. As soon as he became president, then we all said, okay, now if he elects a black president, maybe that means we can get past our huge racial issues.
Yeah, I would
And Barack Obama campaigns on that in a sense, like that was the implied message. And then after he got elected,
but then the first black president gets like all these like criticisms have nothing to do with anything, trying to act like he's like defiling the office on the right.
Are you
like
saying that he got criticism?
Putting his feet up on the thing.
Are you saying he got criticism because he was black?
Do you guys want to hear what Obama said?
If you wait, hold on a second.
He was portrayed as being somebody who didn't belong there.
You're race to it, yeah. It's because he's a Democrat. Republicans hate Democrats. Sorry.
I got this. So wait. And you're saying that people thought that he wasn't presidential, and they started having criticisms that had nothing to do with anything else because of what he looked like. Yeah. Do I have that right so far?
Also
That's
on
racist.
the birther talk with Trump, acting like he was from Kenya, pretending like he was a social Marxist.
Gotta put
like
that Trump in there, don't
Manchurian
you?
Kenya, also put him into
but he doesn't have TDS.
category.
Yeah. He's telling the truth. No. He's telling the truth, but that's how you know he got TDS.
The birther thing.
Grimace is telling the truth, but that's how you know he got TDS. We weren't even talking about Trump, and he had to break him up in here, right?
Say Trump. Don't you guys remember? I hear this from you all the time.
He doesn't have a point with the Trump birther thing. That was honestly, in my opinion, that was kind of racist.
So Grimace has a point on that, but I don't think that he necessarily like used Trump to racism, because again, like when Republicans want to attack Democrats, they will make outlandish claims, and vice versa. And so, yeah, Barack Obama has some sort of connection to Kenya. It's like, if we could take some sort of opportunity to attack him on that, we will. I don't necessarily say it's like, he's black, so to go after him for this. But it was a community opportunity to do so.
It was.
I wish you would show that kind of.
He's from Hawaii. Everybody knows he's from Hawaii. It's like no one actually took that seriously at all. So
Hillary Clinton did, because it was her camp that started it.
I have something
way more.
The
polls at the time
showed
a huge amount of like the majority of Republicans at the time. Polls.
It wasn't a majority.
They didn't believe
I'd have to see that.
I would highly doubt a majority.
So if I showed you that poll, would you change your opinion?
Yeah, if it was.
I would. Yeah,
it
would. But
I'm not saying you'll get it, but
that sounds unlikely to me.
Okay, so while Grimace
for me,
I never heard
for me the thing.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, I don't think it's.
For me,
I don't think that was exactly necessarily. Like,
okay. Trip and then
hold.
Cats, and then I'm gonna let Jupiter talk. So Trip, Cats, and Jupiter. Go ahead.
All right. So the criticism of Barack Obama while he was in office, I think the idea that people would say, well, there's only criticism, it's because he's black. I think that's racism from the people assuming that the only reason that Barack Obama could be criticized was because of his color. And they just assume that, everything that my president does is great. And maybe some of them even think everything that my president does is great because of his color. I genuinely believe there are just as many racists on the left as there are on the right. Huh?
You were just saying, like, how do you show that? Like, as far as him just saying that, like somebody looked like him, that a kid looked like him.
What kid?
Because we
I agree.
So
people make excuses. People make excuses for why he would get criticized, I think, are racist by saying the only reason he could possibly be criticized is because of his race. They're making everything up instead of saying maybe there are reasons that we can criticize every single fucking president. In my opinion, every president of my lifetime deserves the same fucking 8x8 cell block.
So taking that logic, when Obama says that kid could have been my kid, as somebody watching this, somebody's giving him the most charitable interpretation. You say, like, Obama saw that kid, Trayvon Martin, and thought that if he had a kid, it might look like him. He might actually see Trayvon Martin. Like, wow, this kid kind of looks like me. I relate to him a lot, and I fear that the rest of the country might not be taking him at that personal kind of human level.
I understand what you're saying, but like he did mean that as in like he's black, I'm black, and listen, people, you can't treat all black people like that. That was, I think even you might agree with that. The reason why he said about Trayvon Martin as opposed to other crimes is, well, that wasn't anything a crime, but was because of the fact that they're both black. I mean, well, there's other people that got shot.
If Trayvon,
he was a black child, and so he said that, and so that's the implication there, is that he got shot because he was black. Barack Obama brought race into it when race didn't necessarily have anything to do with it.
BJ, if Trayvon looked like me, would Barack Obama said That could have been my son.
No, that doesn't make sense.
He wouldn't have said because
I didn't make
He
that
meant
Jupiter.
because he was
Okay,
a young
Cats, we
black
gotta
man.
get-
Jupiter,
let Cats
the
get in
reason,
here.
Can I say
wait,
something?
Jupiter. Well, one thing, Jupiter, he wouldn't have said that about you because you have never been in the news if you got shot by the police because you're white.
Exactly.
But it would never even happen in the first place.
Exactly.
So
That's
let's
That's a
let
fact.
Cats, let's let Cats and then Jupiter. Go ahead,
This
Cats.
is what I will say about Barack Obama. I don't think he was the devil, but there was one major thing that he did, which I feel like has been a major problem for America. The reason why I think a lot of people think that Barack Obama really set back race relations isn't because he explicitly said racist things or encouraged racist policies. You can argue that he supported policies that ramped up race, tensions. The problem is, I feel like he was very comfortable and very commonly would resort to the whole, I am the first black president. He abandoned the idea that the president is supposed to be the president for all Americans, that president shouldn't have a religion, a race, a gender, that he's basically just a vessel for the American will to guide all Americans by their will, whether they voted for him or not. He was definitely a president who was very comfortable with playing sides against each other, about kind of hinting, well, like, I'm a black American, so maybe people are less comfortable with me. And it's like, that's fine for a senator, that's fine for a governor, but it's not okay for a president. I feel like he really didn't care about the idea that the president was supposed to be a unifying figure, and I don't think that he cared at all about unity. I think he cared about advancing his agenda and making sure that his party did well. That's what I think he did.
I don't know. I'm gonna disagree on that, man. I kind of think he did at the beginning. But I don't know if it was just we were all fooled, or if it was like, if he was really just had some other nefarious ideas, of just bombing certain countries. But
I have a
I
question.
remember how I felt when he was elected. I
Hope
voted
and
for him
change
twice.
Kool-Aid.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe I was trying to change
He
Kool-Aid. I don't know.
was playing an angle because before he got elected, he was meeting with Louis Farrakhan. He was using that network in order to get support. So he definitely was. And when it comes to policy, like this administration that was the one saying, okay, we need to have racial quotas when it comes to suspensions in education, right? So if too many black kids are getting into fights, they need to be more lenient in order to balance out the quotas, right? This is the first administration that started doing that. And so the point just made about him, like how as a president supposed to act a certain way. Well, he also, people don't talk about this enough. He broke an extremely important norm after he left office, which was don't criticize the incoming president. Like Bush didn't criticize Obama, like that. It's been a norm. And as soon as Trump came in, it was always attacks on Trump as being racist and as being awful. And and also George Bush would kind of apply for the same thing. So it wasn't just Obama, but Obama more so broke that norm than anybody else. And as a president, that's the most disunifying thing you could possibly have. And now Joe Biden is still doing that and saying, Trump, and he's laughs about, okay, well, Trump did. Who cares about that? He's some racist.
But he remembers what Trump did?
Now wait, Tree, can I
Go
can I
ahead,
get
Jupiter.
this out? And
You're
by the
next.
way, Barack Obama, I mean, he's an ethno-narcissist, he's a racist, he is a total racist. This is a fact. He was part of Jeremy Wright's church, which I don't think people really give enough credence to that. That is the most racist, anti-American, anti-white, anti-gay, anti-Jewish church that probably ever lived. They make the worst of the Christian sects look like angels. Anyway, so I was wrong. The worst one I said was in Chicago. It wasn't. Barack Obama gave a speech in Dallas. Let's talk about this real quick.
Was that after the
Obama,
police officers got killed in Texas?
5 of them.
Yeah, five white police officers were murdered by a black nationalist.
Executed
Yeah.
by a black nationalist with ties to 2 of the worst black nationalist groups that aided him in this. So Obama goes to speak at their funeral, at the memorial, and he starts kind of nice. Oh, sorry you got murdered by this black nationalist and everything, guys. And then he just couldn't fucking help himself. We cannot simply turn away, though, and dismiss those in peaceful protest as troublemakers or paranoid. The system is slightly broken. We can't simply dismiss it as a symptom of political correctness or reverse racism. To have your experience denied like that, dismissed by those in authority, dismissed perhaps even by your white friends and coworkers and fellow church members again and again and again, it hurts. Surely you can see that, can't you? Now, he was explicitly
appealing. It was appealing to people's humanity about like
at Trayvon Martin's funeral, Michael Brown's, he didn't go there and say, but there is a problem in the black community with violence and fatherlessness.
Wait, why would he have to make that?
Well,
point?
why would he say?
Why we had to say something about whites?
Are executed?
You
Because
create
half
a false
the reason
dilemma
that these
for him. He doesn't have to go and do those things over there.
Because half the time, the reason that these black men were in the positions that they got killed was because they had fatherless homes that led them on a reckless path of violence that led them into an encounter with law enforcement.
So why not bring it up for Trayvon? Same thing, right?
Why not bring up these other things?
Barack Obama did bring it up, guys. Barack Obama, back in like when he was first elected, he had like a program. I think it was called the Big Brother program or something like that, where he did talk about these issues a little bit, and then that completely fell to the wayside. And throughout the rest of his presidency, he started capitalizing the racial issue even more. So he started off being that a little more unifying figure, and then completely trailed downhill. And we can see it happen in real time. Just shrewd politicians. Same thing with gay marriage, right? He can change his position on the dime as soon as he sees what benefits him.
His position didn't change.
Here's the deal.
It totally did.
What about him with Michael Obama?
Believe me, I know.
Hold on. Here's the deal, okay? And let's be honest. And maybe some of y'all don't want to talk about this, and that's fine, or don't acknowledge this. But let's talk about. I'm going to be factual here. Okay, the black community is emotionally ignorant, and that's how you can get them to not even think logical and rational about things. Like, hey, how about we not fuck up our own neighborhood so that we don't have to go drive 20 miles or 30 miles, have food deserts in our own places, and then finally have these big wings take our homes, buy us to get out of here, and gentrify them. How about we not do that shit?
So
if you want black people to do fucked up things, you got to get them in their emotions. Okay, show them these. Yeah, and no other community can be triggered like that except for blacks.
They could though. Well, I mean, women now are being triggered to being told you've been oppressed throughout all of human history because you weren't forced to work in factories. I don't know. So they've been even more, completely abused.
But women are not out here rioting
underneath
though.
Trump, right? Like the immigrants are coming in, they're rapists and murderers. You play on people's emotions to get support.
But they're not rioting.
The TDS coming out again. Because
listen, I'm allowed to mention an analogous.
No,
Trip, you're supposed to be on his side. No, Trip. Trip, you're supposed to. No, you can't call him out on TDS. You can't call him out on his TDS. You're supposed to be his.
You only want to watch the news sources that take things out of
Trip,
context.
no, you're supposed to be on his side, Trip.
You're talking about people. Grimace was talking about.
I don't think we're going to be able to.
We're talking about people's emotions.
MS-13.
I cannot have 6. No, hold on. I can't have.
He said some of MS-13 were good people.
Wait, Grimace, hold on a second. Wait, Trip.
That's the quote I'm talking about.
Listen, Trip, stop. I can't have 6 against 1. Why can't you and Felix pretend to be
a different topic?
Hold on. Okay, maybe.
I
It's
can.
impossible. You
I don't know
will
if Trip
debate
can,
that
but I
water
can.
is solid.
Say again, Cats.
I was just saying that he does have TDS.
I don't think you'll be able to debate that.
No, if Trip is a good debater, which I know he can play devil's advocate and be an ally to our Grimace instead of.
You want me to do that for the rest of the?
No,
you want me to do that for the rest of the?
No, because I want to know if this is going to be a good second topic, and that's why I want to say if you because Felix said. Felix said he can do it. No, you were fine, but it's like I think this is going to be a fun topic. If you two can be in support of Grimace and say he don't have TDS. I want to see your debate skills. I want to see if you can actually, because clearly Grimace has TDS, okay? But he says he doesn't.
It won't
okay.
work.
If I have to back up his statements, though, the problem will be that like
talking about Obama, I talked about the next president doing the same thing with stoking people's emotions. I don't think it's me with TDS here who has a problem with that.
I think
No, I was just
I
saying
think
that you
you'd
took
be
something out of
better off.
context that
They,
I've just heard taken out of context like 100 times, and I just wasn't gonna let that one go.
I've gone over
I
that
think
entire
this-
thing. It wasn't
Grimace,
taken
you
out of
said that
context.
Grimace.
He
You
was
said the
absolutely
thing
talking
about
about.
the Grimace. You were talking about the Trump quote. 80% of Central American girls that cross the border get raped, and so the whole rapist thing. I mean, it's like not like he
Wait,
was
how did
lying,
you get
but
that number?
It's 80%. I thought it was like 1 in 3.
no, of Central American girls.
Guys, even
80%.
if it's 1 in 3, that's an extremely high number that you can
No,
justify
I'm
saying
talking
they're
about.
rapist.
I'm not talking about Mexico. I'm talking about Central
I'm
America.
just saying, even if it was that low, not
Right?
low,
Yeah. No.
1/3,
Exactly. Yeah.
you can
1
still
in
justify
3
it.
is
So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter.
Eight-
The number.
Here,
Astounding.
Huffington Post. 80% of Central American
The,
girls.
What's
the,
your
the idea is that we're bringing over people and traffickers who are not good people. Not
They're
that
not
every
sending their
single
best.
person. Not that, we're getting off topic with the whole entire thing, but when it comes to taking things out of context, like the whole issue is like Trump might have been using emotion. All politics use emotion, but at least has some factual basis behind it.
Right. Exactly.
That's the difference there. So when it comes to black people now, what happened is like we had slavery, which is still, obviously has some resounding impact when it comes on people's personal wealth. And, when you're in school, you learn about slavery a lot. And so when it comes to stroking black people's emotions, it's a lot easier than it is to stroking women's emotions, which is completely not based in reality. Like when it comes to, having been oppressed for years and years. Right? And so for blacks now, it's just easy to go. And so blacks are more conservative than whites are. Or blacks are more conservative than even whites are. I mean, that's why all the propositions in California always fail for like gay marriage and stuff, because black people are more socially conservative in that aspect. Right? Same as Hispanics. Right? And so in order to get their vote, you have to appeal to the boogeyman and say, oh, actually, that side hates you. That side's racist, want to suppress your vote. They want to keep you in chains, right? That's the whole entire argument and why black people go on board and say, oh, well, I don't know if I like these people, but those people hate me.
Okay,
so Kat. Easier argument to make.
Okay, Katz, and then I want to hear also from Rafiq. So go ahead, Katz.
I was just going to say, like, Tree, it's your channel. I'll support whatever you want, but I really don't think that the TDS thing is going to go too well. You'd be better off trying to have a multi-part debate about what is conservatism, or even what is conservatism, what is liberalism, just because, like, I know Phalix, and it'll be a half-hearted debate. I feel like you'd be better off examining people's ideas than trying to see how we work as
maybe save it for a hypothetical.
Just my opinion.
Okay, we'll do the what is a conservative, and then we'll see the hypothetical. Because and you're probably right. But I just wanted to see if they could because see if you put me in a position, and then we don't get to Rafiq, to say to play devil's advocate, to actually be opposed to something I know that's is factual. Okay, it's factual that Grimace has TDS, but I think I could do a good job defending him, saying no, he doesn't have TDS. That's what I'm saying. I can actually flip
debate
it.
101. That's
I can flip it to defend him. But go ahead, Rafiq.
Actually, the second topic I wanted to address something other than, I guess the certain word or whatever words, because I think it's a deeper issue than, the whole,
what
who's
words?
doing it right or wrong. Well, the second topic I think was it certain words?
Oh, we can't. It's not that we can't talk. No, it's not that we can't say COVID. We can't talk about it the way it's factually presented. Because
you can't have a conversation.
You can't have that discussion. You can't have that discussion because Jupiter got 2 strikes on his channel. I forgot about that. They also gave a strike to Crowder. So anything that goes against the narrative,
you can't even upload the video.
Yeah,
it's not about the narrative.
I hit Tree up and I said, Tree, back the fuck off the topic.
I forgot all about it.
They took me down for I didn't say a word against the WHO and I got my second strike. It's not worth it.
So we can't talk about it at all. We can't even have a legitimate discussion about it. So I'm completely removing that, and that's why. And then when Jupiter told me about that today, that's when I was like, okay, I'm gonna come up with a second subject. And so we can talk about what is conservatism, because I do believe Grimace is prepared for that one as well. But I thought it would just be fun.
Yeah, no, I like Jupiter's idea about talking about demon, pedophile, people in power. We can talk about Matt Gaetz if you guys want.
Aren't you embarrassed? Stop
I thought you were going down the Alex Jones angle, and then you went completely.
Oh my
Completely the other way.
god.
No, I
You know,
think
I was in
I
this. I was
wanted
in this
to
for Grimace.
address
He
it
is
more
an S
based
tier
on.
troll. Like,
I love talking about things with like very little proof or evidence
I
that's
know
come out
that's
and kind
right.
of just
No,
faded out of the
we can
news.
get to that in a minute.
I
Hold on.
totally trust the
Right.
Are
intelligence
we
community
hold on,
and
hold on.
DOJ
Do
and
y'all want
media.
to go
totally-
there?
I
Do y'all,
believe in demons.
do y'all want to go
Russian
there? Because
bounties and nuclear
Yeah.
weapons.
Oh yeah.
okay,
Uh,
hold on.
tapes
So
No,
hold on.
I
So
think
let's wrap up the BLM and let's go there. It is. You know what I'm saying? Since Grimace wanna bring it to the floor. Okay. So let's go ahead and do our 2-minute closing on the BLM movement. And it's being a fraud. So and we'll start off with Grim. So we're gonna start off at the bottom and go to the top with Jupiter being last. So go ahead, Grim. It's your first.
Yeah, like during this conversation, I'm like, oh wait, there has to be something that BLM has like contributed to. You can see like changes in laws and policy and stuff, but for the most part, what I looked up, I think you guys are absolutely right. Nothing good. A lot of divisiveness. A lot of promoting hatred, starting of race wars. There's some things like policies on like neck holds and choke holds, not using neck holds and choke holds, and using the torso to control suspects. But that's just going to lead to more cops using their guns. I guess like people don't think this through all the way. And we should be just concentrating on, if we do have a problem with this as a society, we can just say we want the cops to have more training when it comes to being able to control suspects. And we know that cops only get like 4 hours every 2 years training that. Maybe we should up that, make it a more nationalized focused practice. Maybe get them into some Brazilian jiu-jitsu, provide them with some incentives. That sounds like a good idea to me. As far as like BLM, yeah, I wish that they would just stop and then we could just move on from this. Like just trying to smuggle in Marxism into our society, I think needs to be called out for what it is.
Correction.
And,
Police officers have to give. It depends on the police department. To keep your certification, you have to do 40 hours.
40 hours every 2 weeks.
But it's all local too, right? So it changes jurisdiction.
That's specifically to controlling suspects, like physically controlling them.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were
Probably
talking
not.
about our training. I thought I was addressing.
Oh no! Like specifically talking about controlling.
No,
suspects,
the police
like
officer.
The issue with like George Floyd.
No, when I was a police officer,
and then you have kind of continuing education.
Yeah. Well, when I was a police officer, I loved the tactical training, and a lot of that Krav Maga was taught in there as well, and grappling, because a lot of the fights with criminals are always resulting on us being on the ground. Okay.
And if you're on the suspect on the ground and you don't have complete control of them,
I support
to the officer, it's now a fight over the gun, right? So
not necessarily.
Willink has a great video on this.
It depends.
Chokeholds are great.
Yeah, it depends on it, but I wholeheartedly support chokeholds. Chokeholds has saved my life twice.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's what I'm saying. Like
And kneeling on the
these
torso
outcomes
actually
that I thought would be listed are just like getting rid of these chokeholds. I'm like, that's not necessarily a good thing at all.
No,
Actually,
I would be
not
dead.
a good thing.
I would be dead if it wasn't for chokeholds. Okay. Okay. So that's it. All right. Okay. There we go. Cats.
So as far as Black Lives Matter goes, like, I'm not even going to talk about this woman. She's unimportant. She's literally just a pawn in a game of people that want to make lots of money. Black Lives Matter has just exposed itself as a organization that doesn't actually care at all about what it says it cares about. The same way homeless organizations will go through, they make a big show about making like a shelter that holds 10 people, while meanwhile there'll be thousands of homeless people. Black Lives Matter does not care about Black people and the Black community except as a resource for buying homes. Because I guarantee you, she may have gotten in trouble because she got 4 homes, but they're probably, for every one of her, there's probably a dozen plus other lower level Black Lives Matter higher ups that have really nice homes, Teslas, nice cars that they have for themselves. These people don't care about the Black community. If they did, they would be engaging in nuanced conversations about policy and improving the Black community with added extra resources. But all they care about is racial agitation and getting money so that more of them can get more big homes and hashtag buy large mansions.
All right, Felix, go ahead. Your turn.
I have and will always hold the belief that Black Lives Matter started out as a legitimate movement to help. Specifically, I think it was the specific incident that I think sparked it was the Trayvon Martin one, which, yeah, I remember writing a speech about that in high school about how, what's his face? Zimmerman probably should have gone to jail for it. But in the more recent years, and especially with the past 10 months, it's becoming harder and harder, especially in good faith, to defend them. Because it's like, okay, well, now I gotta justify you burning down cities and having autonomous zones and advocating the killing of people. Like, what's the end game? And that's where they've lost their way. There's no end game. It's just keep doing this thing that won't get you anywhere. Destroy everything until there's nothing left. It's not about actually finding something to build up in its place.
All right,
Hamas.
Trip,
Well
your
said.
turn. Trip.
All right, so we do know there have been. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep.
I can hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we do know there's been a lot of people in different BLM organizations because there's a bunch of different ones with different names, like Black Lives Matter of Atlanta, Black Lives Matter of wherever, and a bunch of them have gotten in trouble for like embezzlement, and some of that probably just stems from they don't know how to start a business and pay themselves a salary, but they're off, buying fancy watches on Instagram, and then they get in trouble. So I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that crazy of an idea to think that some people are going to just see that money and run with it. So this topic's basically, to me, it's like old and boring because it's just it's so easy to see through how
Just
corrupt
obvious.
the organization actually is. And damn, there was someone I want to say, but it was to Grimace's point. I can't remember. What were you saying, Grimace, in your closing argument? Would you remind me?
I've forgotten too.
Chokeholds.
Yeah, chokeholds and like what.
Oh,
BLM
thank
has
you.
done,
Yeah, thank you.
actually
So
done,
it's
yeah.
about thank you. BLM has these slogans like defund the police and stuff like that. And if they really wanted to enact the social change that they actually want, they wouldn't be defunding the police. They'd be giving them more money for more training. If they actually cared about these things, just like I said in my opening statement, then they would actually try to do something about it. But when their community gets more fucked, it actually helps them get more money. So they want to see it continue.
Okay. BJ.
But Chip is pointing to is actually a really, really huge problem with a general problem for our society. So if you take something like feminism, right? Well, feminism started off with great goals and had a lot of good accomplishments. But then you have a feminism industry, you have an academia that needs problems in order to perpetuate itself. And so you keep on finding more and more problems, and you end up profiting off of bad shit happening to your community than good stuff. And so the incentives are completely in the wrong place. So what Dallas was saying about the Zimmerman trial, that was one of my first. I wasn't very political when I was younger. I had a little bit of red pill that trial because I heard all the news about it. I was like, oh my god, this evil man, George Zimmerman. And then I watched the trial, and I was like, oh, everything is completely fake about the media narrative. I had to hear witness after witness talk about Trayvon Martin bashing the guy's head into the floor and screaming and as he's being murdered by this kid, and he shoots him at the last second. Witness after witness, and I'm like, that's completely opposite of the media told me, right? And so that sort of thing also happened with Michael Brown. It happened with all these different cases, and there are legitimate cases of unarmed black men dying by the police, and they shouldn't have. We just saw one recently with the woman taking out her taser, right? But in a country of 350 million, that's bound to happen, and it also doesn't necessarily mean racism. So going back to the topic at hand, Black Lives Matter has been awful. Martin Luther King set forth the colorblind standard we should all follow. Right now, we've devolved to the point where we think that the thing that's hurting blacks is racism. Racism is not hurting blacks. What's hurting blacks, as all conservatives know, is the welfare state and the incentives put in place by it and the culture that has destroyed blacks. And you never hear black organizations talking about the culture. Maybe some conservative black organizations talk about this. They do. But you don't hear about the welfare state has destroyed black families. And even, like we've all talked about before in a previous show, about how Black Lives Matter is against the Black nuclear family. Well, that's the most important thing for Blacks. You are about dismantling the most important thing to help out Black people. You are a fraud, and like the question is, are you well-intentioned fraud or not? And I think that's what we're debating today. And when it comes to the corruption you're seeing, you could probably see maybe it's not the most well-intentioned fraud. Maybe it's just not well-intentioned and awful for Black people.
All right, Rafiq, your 2 minutes. Rafiq, can you hear us?
I mean, BLM is a fraud.
Okay,
I
there you
mean,
go.
it's oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yep.
Oh, there you go. I mean, yeah, it's a fraud. I mean, you know, it's for these like Black matriarchal communist villages. I mean, it's against Black nuclear Black families from the beginning. So it's always been a fraud. But darn, I just had so much to say about the second topic. Well, not much, but you know, the governor, because you know my former governor and now my new governor. But it's unfortunate, but I don't know who's worse as far as my senator, my former senator Chuck Schumer, or my current senator Lindsey Graham. Maybe that could be debate topic.
Hey.
All right. Okay.
Lindsay. Hey.
Miss Lindsay, honey. Okay. All right. Jupiter, your turn.
I just would like to preface by saying I never promised Jens or the chat that I wasn't going to drink. I asked your opinions, and I am going to have one because I'm going to say something. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. No, I mean the whole thing, even the conversation, the premise. We're talking about BLM over the deaths of a dozen or less people. 13% of the population currently is committing well over half the crimes. If you look at most mass shooters, they're overwhelmingly Black and young Black males from a fatherless home. That's a fact. Most people think it's white men. It isn't. And all we talk about is one. And if you also, by the way, talk about police shootings, given the amount that the Black community interacts with police, whites get shot disproportionately to black young men. So, or Black people, period. But we're sitting here arguing about a $100 million plus slush fund based on tearing apart the Black community, furthering the divide in the country. There was an Army sergeant who this Black kid, total degenerate, sexual assault, animal abuse, was wandering around the neighborhood and sexually assaulted this young white girl. She comes out running, screaming, help, 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 help. This white Army sergeant comes outside and he says to this Black kid, and it's all on film, what are you doing? What are you doing? Leave this neighborhood. Eventually, he pushes this kid and says, you need to leave. He loses his job. He has to move. BLM is outside his door. All the regular people are outside his house protesting. He is probably going to be kicked out of the military, a really good guy. And then you have Maxine Waters, misses the insurrection of January 6th. She comes out in Minnesota, or Brooklyn Center rather, and says, if we don't get a guilty verdict, then we need to agitate more and get in their faces, and did her usual shtick. So while we're all talking about, it's always thugs, by the way. I mean, Trayvon Martin was beating George Zimmerman's head against the ground. Michael Brown, the list goes on. It's always thugs.
Okay.
And these people that BLM profits off of, we don't know about the 100+ cops that have already been murdered this year. And yet we're sitting here discussing this bullshit. It's bullshit. And BLM's bullshit.
All
Suck
right.
my kosher cock, BLM.
Okay.
Sorry, Trey. I love you.
Yeah, right. So we're not even going to, I don't even want to go into a 2-minute for this one. Grimace did open up a can of worms. Let's talk about the pedos in politics.
Yeah, please.
And
Wait,
we're
actually,
going
I haven't spent any time looking at Matt Gaetz. I just don't care.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I don't know enough.
Oh, no, so you don't want to go there now?
Unless you
Grimace?
want to talk about Clinton, we can talk all
No,
about him.
I mean, do you really? Hold on, okay. If not, we can go on to the next topic. So you don't believe? You do believe? Wait a minute. What is your belief on Matt Gaetz? I'm not even going to put words into your mouth.
I know that he has a lot of accusations. What I've read about them, they seem pretty credible, including like material evidence found from him and from the person who's already admitted.
Do you feel the same way
guilt
about
to the
Hunter
crime,
Biden?
right? I'm not sure if he admitted guilt, but is cooperating.
Do you feel the?
Do I feel the same way about Hunter Biden?
Yes.
Did
No,
Hunter
Why
Biden
are we
do
talking
sex
about Matt
trafficking?
Gates? Really? This is going to bore the shit out of everybody.
It's a little like me listening to you guys talk about Hunter Biden last year. Okay.
He's interesting.
Oh, come on now.
He's go
He's
Wait,
not
you
even
don't
official.
how Grimace? There's
Sure.
actually there's actually
getting
video
naked.
there's
I'm
actually
getting
video footage. Also, there's a selfie of him taking pictures with a 14-year-old girl. That was the daughter of one of the women that he was in a sexual relationship with, and he has been traveling with this woman. Why would if I see way more circumstantial evidence against Hunter Biden than I have ever seen against Matt Gates.
I want to say one
Wait,
thing,
the
guys.
daughter?
Here's one thing. There's a girl out there in America whose mom is a stripper, his dad's a crackhead, and whose grandfather is president of the United States right now. That is a serious issue for us to think about. How our society can be structured that way.
I want to say something about this.
Go ahead.
So there's a temptation with when we talk about pedophiles. One, to assume that they're human. They're not. The other assumption is to try to make some sort of connection between the pedophile's party and some sort of contradiction between whether they be a Democrat or Republican. You can't humanize these creatures. Pedophiles are a lot like, well, HIV. They're a virus that has taken human form. They go from place to place, they spread covertly, and they will take advantage of whatever area they have available to them. It is not fair to talk about pedophiles in context of their politics. It is not fair to talk about pedophiles in context to their businesses or their contributions to society. The only thing that should be talked about with pedophiles is when we discovered concrete evidence of what they've done.
Hold on,
and
dog.
whether or not we
Remember,
matched their skulls.
TOS. Don't you gotta be careful.
And whether or not they were dealt with appropriately.
There you go.
And
There you
whether
go.
power tools were involved.
Okay, so it looks like we don't disagree on the fact that there's way more evidence against Hunter Biden, which has his daddy in the White House to cover him, and has also the FBI in his pocket to basically, and he also has the mainstream media to pay him as this wonderful guy who's just been out of rehab and he's trying to have a start new life. So we understand that he has all the powers that be on his side to make him look credible, where they're trying to shut Matt Gates up because he's a loudmouth who actually called the left on their shit.
Well, Tree, the funniest part about it all is Hunter Biden, and I'm not going to go into the Ukraine and China or Amtrak or any of this shit. How about the fact that the man, well, that's a big deal, and I can tell you if you want, but this guy lied on a gun application, got a firearm while being a heavily addicted crack addict. The gun was then taken by his dead brother's widows. He was fucking his dead brother's widow, and she grabbed his firearm that he purchased illegally and threw it in a trash can across the street from a school. And then the Secret Service came and cleaned it up. This is all factual, and threatened the fucking firearm store owner about this all. And so what evidence do you have that the Justice Department, that has been thoroughly corrupted, is right about this weird Matt Gates accusation? But when Hunter Biden gets away with literally everything and has the whole system on his side, you're being played.
Apples and oranges. I see your point and the correlation you're trying to make, but I think that the big thing you should probably focus on more is the legality of what he did and his dad's positions. Like, his dad is so now against guns, but he's not going to go after his son. His dad had crime bills that had a lot to do with crack. Is he going to go after his son for smoking crack? No. I think that's a better argument than, like, his family dynamics, look really bad. And, like, we laugh about the tragedy of knocking up strippers and dating your brother's widow and things like that. But I think the thing we should probably focus on more is those are two separate issues: the Matt Gaetz thing and the Hunter Biden thing.
You're
But the one that's
100% right.
But the one that's
100% right.
but I think Hunter Biden's more damning because of the policies his dad has in place now. And if you actually cared, he'd lock up his son first. He's not going to do that. I love my son. Yeah, we know.
No, you're right. But my whole point is,
for what policies
he has
does
the
he have in
entire
place?
government behind him for every.
I'm sorry, this
single
circle
one.
jerk has gone on
not
long
in place.
enough.
Not in place. Things he's advocating for
Like
about
what?
gun bans and things like that, and how he and actually things that he's done, like 1994 crime bill. Was that it? Somebody.
Yeah, 94.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
it's
You're
94.
saying Joe Biden has advocated banning guns?
Yes.
Didn't he? Didn't
The
he just say
same
the
exact
Second
laws-
Amendment is not
Actually, that
absolute?
has nothing to do with your point.
No,
Like,
Grimace,
obviously,
Grimace,
if the
Grimace,
policies
Grimace,
actually
Grimace,
passed,
right.
then his
No.
son would
What
get
I'm
arrested,
saying is,
right?
what I'm
No.
saying is, Matt Gaetz and Hunter Biden are two separate issues. But if we actually wanted to look at them honestly, we would say who's protecting who. Okay, if we want to say as a society we actually care about these things, and all right, let's stand behind our president and everything they stand for. Okay, cool. If you stand behind the president, then maybe the president should be arresting his son first. I just
But
don't
wait,
see that. I think it's a bigger issue
Grimace,
than Matt
Grimace
Gaetz.
asked us the question. Grimace said, "What policy does Joe Biden want to enact that would get his son arrested? Red flag laws. Sorry,
You heard what
Grimace.
Joe Biden said.
I love
Wait,
you.
wouldn't red flag laws prevent him from buying a firearm?
No,
that
he would be in
that takes
jail
the gun away.
because of he would be in jail right now under the red flag statutes that Joe Biden wants to institute. Him lying on a federal application wouldn't even have come up because the drug addiction alone would already red flag him. He wouldn't be able to get a gun, let alone if he broke it, he'd face 5 years in the federal penitentiary. So yes, it would put him away.
Yeah, okay, that's fine though. But you realize that
At least
this is the
he'd get
man's son,
clean.
right? Like this isn't
That's how I got clean.
Can I ask
yeah,
a
like
question?
this is the man's son. He can't like arrest his son in any kind of way, right?
I'd
Why?
like to ask a question if I can.
What
What are we actually proposing
I
with
know.
this? What are we actually talking about? Because I don't think anyone here is going to say that pedophiles in any position are human.
No,
or
we're
that they
we're
deserve
comparing
to be here.
the. I'll tell you what we're talking about. Well, we're about to get off of it and about to go into the conservatism. What Grimace snuck in that Matt Gaetz thing. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I went and said, wait a minute, are we not gonna? You're gonna sit here with no evidence about Matt Gaetz being a pedophile?
Evidence.
Nah, I mean we. Listen, I showed.
If
I
we're talking
showed
about
on
that, then we
YouTube.
should talk about Biden and
That's what I said. That's why I brought up Hunter Biden. My chat and I watched a video of Hunter Biden taking a video of himself getting a foot job from some young girl in China hotel, wherever, and it was the most craziest thing we ever watched in our. I'm like, he was so fascinated with his penis. I never seen nobody just like really,
He is
really.
hung like a
I
goddamn
mean, but
moose.
he
What
was.
does it have to do with
Crazy.
anybody?
He's got a great.
You guys think
the
that's
thing
any of our business?
didn't-
Because
Why are we
we
concerned
don't know
about
the
that?
age of that girl. We don't know if she's part of the sex slave trade
You
or
don't know
not.
my wife either. I don't. What does that have to do with anything?
There's more evidence against him
looks
being a
young,
pedo than Matt
Grimace.
Gaetz. That's my point. But
And he is a pedo, and he diddled his little cousin.
we'll get over that. Let me just say
They're
this before we talk about the definition before we talk about the definition of conservatism.
Archerism.
I just want Trip and Phallus to just take a look at this, okay? So the reason why I can definitely say without a shadow of a doubt that Grimace has TDS is because when in that conversation, I watched the replay of it, and it was so funny, it just blew my mind. But when I talked about Grimace, are you saying Trump walking down a ramp is the same as Biden falling up some stairs 3 times? And Grimace said, well, they both old. You know, and it was just that is
the
so
problem with Trump is that he
Fall
says that
upstairs.
nothing happens, that he has cognitive problems during this election area. Sorry, that Biden has cognitive problems during this like election period. While he's getting like he talks down all these things that we see him like not being able to raise his hand, not being able to walk down a ramp. But like that, like I expect Trump not to be able to do those things. But what
At
I'm
least he
saying
did
is that
press
like
conferences.
in the context of him attacking Biden over these things, I think is silly.
No, first of
I
all,
don't think
it
they
was
should really
raining.
attack
It was
anybody over
raining
those
a little
things.
bit over there, and he had to
Wait, who
hold.
has TDS now? You're giving him excuses.
No.
It was really windy
No,
for
no,
Joe
no.
Biden. What are you
This is-
talking
no, 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 no,
The
no,
issue
no.
is how it's covered in the media.
Hold on.
Grimace.
No,
That's
it
the thing
has
I'm
nothing to do
seeing.
with the media. What I
Problem
wanted
was there's
Grimace
no
to say.
big, strong army man to escort Biden
Hold on.
up the stairs.
Do you know how off you? I think you just admitted that Biden is not right in the head to fall
He's
upstairs.
retarded.
No, I said Joe Biden is old. Okay.
He's retarded.
But
Come
That's
on.
a
hold
nice-
on.
yeah, that's a
Do-
nice way of
old,
saying it.
hold on.
One took over
Old
the
or
line,
not
sweet
old?
Jesus.
Hold on. Old or not old? You understand? Going down is different, where gravity brings you this way, and going up is against gravity. So how the hell are you falling against gravity when it's supposed to be in your favor versus
He fell
walking
forward.
down a ramp?
He fell
You're
forward,
giving
and
special
then-
treatment
I don't-
to Trump
I don't
here
care-
for
I
some
don't care
reason.
how-
It sounds
guys,
like you
guys.
have TDS.
Listen, I don't care how physically
would-
fit. Guys, I don't care how physically fit Biden and Trump are. They can be fat and in wheelchairs, doesn't matter. It's the mental fitness. So why don't we be sidetracked going upstairs or whatever? Joe Biden is not mentally fit at all. You can have your insults against Trump. He's not going senile, that's for sure. He's outrageous and he might be impulsive and a little dumb in some ways, but not going senile.
Steve Bannon, but okay.
What did you say,
I don't care
Grimace?
what Steve
I didn't hear what he
Bannon
said.
Bannon
throwing
said
out
that Trump
names.
had dementia, right?
Just stop just throwing out names.
I don't know about
Oh, sorry.
Steve
No,
Bannon,
the campaign manager for Trump. And what position did he get in the White House? The guy who's like intimately talked
He
with Trump
fucking
during
Okay,
his
Yeah,
but
campaign.
hold on. Okay, Grimace.
I guess
Okay,
he was
we'll
the
no, no, no,
administration.
hold on.
He was an advisor.
We'll play that game.
Steve Bannon
Who's
whooped
showing
the
more?
entire
Who's showing
LinkedIn.
There's
more
no point in
proof?
playing this game.
No. Who's showing more proof of dementia, Trump or Biden?
Yeah, really.
Well, Trump is in his basement at Mar-a-Lago. I don't know what's
Biden.
going on.
TDS.
What is your
TDS.
presidency?
When I ask
This
you
is
a
why I
question,
can't really.
this is when I ask you a
This
question,
has
you
nothing
just
to do with
deflect.
anything. They're old
Tree,
people.
I can bolster Grimace's position on not having TDS only if it comes to things like, well, he's honest if presented with facts. But with the hypotheticals and stuff, it's like, I'm not gonna lie for you, Grimace. Like,
Wait,
it's
what
just,
are you talking about? What
there are some
hypothetical?
things that you're just like, well, he's in his basement. I don't know. Maybe he does possibly have worse dementia.
Right.
That's not what we're talking about. That's not what we're talking about.
During the election.
So, but I
Grimace,
do think you're honest
I
in
just
the way
asked
that,
you a
like,
direct
if
question.
You saw something.
You didn't think that was a real point, did you?
No.
Yes,
no,
I did, actually. You
yeah, I
presented
would
it like
believe it
one.
because you got TDS really bad. Okay,
Sorry,
let's.
I don't know what Trump's been doing the last.
No.
Low-key
No.
So you're
No.
leaving the
We don't have
possibility
to.
open for him having more dementia, which is just that's
Yeah,
No,
that's the problem.
I said Steve Bannon said he had dementia.
And I said,
Alright,
there's no proof of that, but let's pretend it is. And then my question to
That-
you was,
that's-
hold
wait, Tree, that's not true.
on, Jupiter. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. We'll play it. We'll pretend it is. We just gonna
Alright,
go
it's
by
true, fine.
observation. We're gonna go by observation. Based upon your observation, Grimace, okay, who looks like they are declining and who are going into dementia, Trump or Biden?
I addressed this. I looked into this earlier last year before the election, and I had listened to a town hall by Biden. You remember when Trump got COVID?
A year is a
and,
long
like,
time for
risked-
senility. How about now?
and 10 seconds is a long time for
Sure,
this question.
since-
How
but
about Biden?
the
We're
time
trying to
we were
prove
talking-
that you don't have TDS here, okay? So go ahead.
Yeah, at the time, I was looking at speeches from Trump and speeches from Biden. Biden could form ideas coherently. He could go on with really broad sentences showing that he had some expertise in what the person was talking about. And I don't think he has the kind of endurance that we'd like from a president, but I don't think his mental faculties are impaired, that he doesn't know what's going on.
I think
Because
there's a million. There's a million pieces of evidence to go against that. But the most obvious is the last press conference he had, in which we literally saw he had a numbered list of people to call on, and he had the cheat sheet for the answer. How can you defend against that?
Wait,
if you're
he
a
had
little
the
more
cheat
confident,
Yeah.
You didn't
Yes,
know?
he-
yeah.
They don't know. They don't
you have the
see-
question
they only
and the
watch their own-
information.
I got a cheat
Yes.
sheet right here.
With
No,
with-
no,
with-
no,
with-
Trump
with-
never did.
Nancy
You
Pelosi.
shouldn't have a cheat sheet for questions you don't know the answer to. Like you
Just
should
call
know the
call
exact.
someone in the audience.
Yeah,
DJ, you private to him.
You look at his paper and he would say, okay, the next person from the AP is this person. You get a question, you're like,
guys,
read the answer. You see it
okay,
happen.
there are so many videos
no,
of
it's
not
Trump
his fault.
being
He just
asked a
doesn't know about
question
it.
where he just
Bear
talks
Jew,
about
doesn't-
something completely
doesn't know what you're
different.
talking
Hold on.
about.
But
And
wait,
he's never
wait,
heard of
guys.
this, so he just
Grimace,
can't
Grimace.
understand it.
Here's the deal.
know the
Where?
thing.
Hold on.
I can play this
Oh,
race
man.
to
No,
the bottom.
wait,
It's fine. I can show you
y'all
a
don't know
thousand
how to
different
ask the
clips.
right question. Grimace, show me the press conference where Trump used a cheat sheet.
What is that? Wait, I never said that he
I-
did.
Okay,
No,
Grimace,
so
no,
if
Grimace.
one
First press
president
conference in 40
has to use a cheat sheet and one doesn't, then who's the one who is declining in their head? Who's the one
Checkpoint,
suffering from
There's
dementia?
no checkpoint before you go to a press conference
What
that says, "Hey, are you
going
going to
to
use a cheat sheet or not?"
friendly
Click
media
yes
as
or no
well?
or no. Everybody communicates in different ways. Maybe
No,
Biden is very concerned to make sure that he makes the right points on all these different topics. Kind of like when I come into these conversations, I'm afraid. 1 second. 1 second.
You're not arguing anything because you don't know the facts of this. So let's explain it to you real quick. You don't know what we're talking about. The facts are this. It's not a cheat sheet of different topics, Grimace. Grimace, if you don't know what you're talking about, let us help you with this. It wasn't like, here's some topics. It was, here's the person asking me the question. About what they're asking me, here's what I'm supposed to say, which is different than just random topics, Grimace.
With the face of the reporter that he's
now that you know that, Grimace, now you can make your point because you can't make a point without knowing that.
Anyone else in the mood for
And it
venison?
Please. Wait, set the stage. You have to remember, this is his first.
I know the facts. Now you can talk about it.
This is 45 days in. He hasn't given one press
His
conference.
own admin is
Well,
so
well,
worried
well,
about him that they have to give him this cheat sheet binder of faces.
And he hasn't done a press conference since.
He has the facts. Now we can talk about it. Now that he has the facts.
Loki 707
we don't want
in the
to
chat
misunderstand
has
what
did
he's
the
talking
best
about.
thing. But
What?
Loki
please.
707 in the chat said Trump took a cognitive test and Biden refused. Why would he refuse?
I
Good
didn't
question.
know that. That's funny.
Okay, we
Yeah,
can't
he doesn't want to
hear
play into
you,
Trump's
Grimace.
narrative.
Go
There's no
ahead.
cognitive test.
Tree,
There's no
did you
cognitive
mute me?
test
No.
that people take before.
There are
this
tons of cognitive tests.
Grimace,
This
respond
was
to me.
Trump
I'm a
trying to
nurse,
direct
trust me,
his
there are.
This is
You
Trump
get-
trying to
now you know
direct
the
the
press
media
conference.
narrative and to have his
I'm
followers
a-
think about Biden's dimension. So actually talking about
Yeah, I
the,
agree with
the,
Grimace
the
on
state
that.
of the
I'm a nurse.
country.
The cognitive test
I'm
is
a
kind of
nurse,
bullshit.
and my grandfather
It might be
had
bullshit.
Alzheimer's. Trust me, I know. There is
It might be
a test.
it might be
Guys,
bullshit.
you should be
It
this
might be
charitable
bullshit with the
towards-
test, Grimace.
You guys should be
Grimace,
this charitable
about the press
towards
conference.
your own candidate. Well,
About the press conference, Grimace.
Why would he
Grimace,
budget
about the
test?
press conference. You can talk about it now. Now you know the facts. The press conference. Again, he was looking at the reporter's question and what to say to them.
I don't
know
see
that.
anything
Only
wrong to make
press
sure that he has
conference.
the things to say to them. Like I
But how
just
does he
witnessed
know the
40
questions?
years of
Grimace,
Trump
how does he know the
rambling
questions?
about nonsense when
Grimace,
he got
but
asked questions he didn't know
Grimace,
the
he
answer
knows the
to.
questions. He knows the questions who to call on, and he knows his answers.
Wait, how do
already.
you know that?
It's not,
Because it
we
was on
saw it on
the
the
sheet.
sheet.
You
You
just
know,
on the
it's
sheet.
in numbered order.
You have to look at. You have to go
That's
look
what
at
I'm
that.
trying
It's
to
on the
tell you. That's
sheet.
what I'm explaining to you.
Tree,
Okay.
Tree,
So
can we just
there
say
is a
that
press
the-
conference,
we
or
know that the
or does
TDS
the
is severe.
Stop
It's
it.
terminal.
Yeah.
okay is it like I don't know how to explain this to you guys
Joe
though.
Biden is
Like
factually
I know
correct.
the things I have to talk about. Okay,
Dude,
so if you're the president,
Grimace.
you can
Grimace,
easily
this goes to
go
the
in a
point-
situation knowing that you have to talk
we
about
love
the
No, but you don't know what
No,
person
you're
to
asking
ask you which
about
question.
the state of American
It's
health.
like you're not paying attention to
different
it's
things. I don't see
Grimace.
there's a problem with having notes on these things in general.
Grimace.
not notes.
Grimace,
It's not
Grimace,
notes.
I see what you're saying,
Grimace,
but you just,
hold on,
you just don't know
hold
the
on.
specifics
We're gonna go
of this
ahead and
exact
move on to the
thing.
They
conservative.
weren't notes. They weren't
This
notes.
is my point. Grimace had a point on a few of the things. He was like, "Well, this was kind of a diversion by Trump, the cognitive test thing." Yeah, I agree with you there, but there are other things you don't know about. You're not able to argue a side that Bear Jew or Jupiter
You
might
said
take
this
because you
before,
have
you
no
also
hold on,
said
hold on,
little
because you
children
haven't even heard of these.
Let him
no,
finish,
because-
Grimace.
Hold on,
Grimace,
hold
let
on,
Trent. Grimace, let Trent
I'm
finish.
sorry,
and then-
but I'm not. I don't believe what you're saying. Right
Grimace,
now.
it's
Trent,
because no, it's because
Grimace,
you
let
just have
Trent
never
finish.
even heard of these things. You don't know about it because you
You
haven't
said
heard of
the
it.
same
And it's
thing.
okay.
That's the thing you said about my positions on drone striking in the Middle East. Oh, I just don't know. Like, how do you not know that?
You're still definitely wrong about that. Obama definitely targeted children in the Middle
There's
East.
no
No
evidence.
diversions.
You don't need to go back to that. You just don't know this. You don't
Yeah,
like
yeah,
how
don't
it's
say that.
done.
Don't
You
deflect.
don't want to
Griff,
even
he's
look.
letting you get off topic. He's letting you get
Hold
off
on, hold on,
topic.
hold on.
He needs to stop. You don't know anything about this. I think it's
Grimace,
absolutely
hold on.
reasonable.
So
to
go
have
find. I'm saying go find out. I'm a liberal too. I fucking found out. You want to know why? Because I listened to this source and that one, not just fucking that one.
to
Okay.
tell you that like,
Grimace,
Obama wanted
Grimace,
to drone strike
Grim- hold
kids
on, hold
for
on.
some unknown reason.
Grimace, hold on a
Trump
second.
did too. It's
Hold on,
not some
hold on,
unknown
stop.
reason.
Hold on. we're going to move on to the conservative, but let me just make a final statement. The reason why we all say you have TDS is that you give a lot of leniency to Biden. You're making a lot of excuses for Biden, where you have zero tolerance for Trump, and you're not fair in your comparison. You're pretty biased
Tree,
in
you just
favor
did this
of.
though with Trump, right? You were walking down the ramp.
Yeah, I did, and you haven't disproven because when you don't tell me, when you can't tell me the difference between falling up the stairs 3 times and Trump never fell down a ramp. He was walking down the ramp very slowly. So when
Because he didn't want to fall, he
Huh,
used in a
but when
situation
you
that he could have fell.
for that example alone, you would not call Biden out, but sit up here and say, "Well, Trump is getting older," and then your
What
excuse.
did you want me to call him out for?
The fact
As a nurse,
the
can I
fact
say
when you
something?
hold on, Cass. The fact that when you fall up, let me just ask you this question because I got to see if you understand where I'm going with this. Do you see the difference between falling up some stairs and walking slowly down a ramp?
A difference in
No, 3 times.
in what manner? Like what kind of? What's the difference?
All
I
right,
should care?
enough,
So
please.
obviously, I know
So-
the physical difference of the two.
Why do you
So
gotta break it down
tell
like
me,
that?
so
This is
tell
every
me,
time-
so tell me, which one is worse, Grimace? Is falling
I don't-
up? Hold on. Let me finish.
I don't wonder. I'm saying both these things don't matter. They're both old guys. I should expect
No.
both of
What
these
is worse? I want to see. Just please prove me wrong. What is worse, falling up the stairs 3 times or walking slowly down a ramp?
What? I don't know. What's worse? I don't know. Both.
If Trump fell up the stairs 3 times, you would say Trump is the worst. If Biden was Trump and Trump fell up the stairs 3 times, you would blast his ass. You would
I
tell
would
him
blast his ass because he would pretend like it didn't happen.
No, Trump was wearing tuxedo shoes, which Grimace. I'm
It
sure you've
doesn't
worn
even
them.
matter
They're
if he was
incredibly
barefoot.
slippery.
What
It
I'm
was a
saying
slick
is
ramp,
that
but wait,
falling
but
up the
Tree,
stairs
Tree,
3
listen,
times is
Joe
fucked
Biden
up.
didn't just.
Were you at the rally when he was there?
What's
You're
that?
just parodying what he said for his
I'd like-
excuses. Which is the exact reason
Yeah,
you
the
let
excuse
him
doesn't matter. The excuse doesn't matter.
We're setting up.
I would like to say something
He
about
didn't
this.
fall.
Okay, go ahead,
He didn't-
Cass.
Wait, hold
When
on.
he finished.
Let me
Being
say, wait,
old.
hold on.
Wait,
Wait,
hold on.
I haven't. Can I
Help being
finish?
taken down
Can I even
ramps.
start? The whole thing is, Grimace, please, I get it. But the thing is, when Trump would take 2 hands one time to hold a glass of water to drink, it was media sensation for months. People.
2 scoops of ice cream.
Yes,
You
you say that.
Big salt shaker.
That's some
And
graphic.
yet-
I think I-
hold on.
I think I can. I think I can settle this.
Cass, hold on, please.
Okay.
The difference is when the media reports on 2 scoops of fucking ice cream, yet Joe Biden, during his literal only press conference, his entire presidency, stops mid-sentence and goes, never mind. And everyone chuckles in the press corps, but like, there's not one story on it. The real question is this, Grimace. Wait, hold on. Let me just finish
Pause
this.
right there. You
If the
can keep
real
going.
question is this, are you really going to tell me and the folks back home that Joe Biden is not in cognitive decline? Don't bring up Trump. Please be honest, man. You're better than this.
Person is in cognitive decline. Now, can I ask you a question?
Wait a minute,
Thank
what was
you.
your answer? Wait. What was your answer, Grimace? I didn't hear
He
it.
said-
Every old person is in cognitive decline. They're also in
Hey, no,
physical
he
decline.
can't answer it
As you
directly.
can
Just
see
answer it
by
directly.
these
Is it Joe
students,
Biden
like struggling
or
up
every
elevated
old
areas.
Okay, go ahead, Katz.
people
And
or
then
Joe Biden?
Jupiter. I mean,
So,
and then
I-
BJ.
I need to press Jupiter on one thing.
Okay, go ahead.
What do you think is better when a president says, I don't know when it comes to something, or he has no input on something, or to just make something up on the spot, or to completely
All right.
deflect and completely not pay
I'll
attention?
I'll tell you,
I
neither,
answer.
because that's not what I said. I didn't say
What's
that he
better?
didn't know. He was answering a question. He had the answers in front of him, and he was reading a sentence and goes, literally rolls his eyes and goes, never mind. That's not knowing.
There are a couple,
Dude,
there's like a couple
Okay.
of comments
Cats.
like that.
Cats.
I just
MAGA the
Go ahead,
dog,
Cats.
MAGA.
I just
Go
want to
ahead.
contribute
Hold on.
some.
Let Cats talk.
Come here.
I want to contribute some apolitical knowledge to this. Like, so I'm a nurse. I may have mentioned that before. And my grandfather had Alzheimer's, and I was involved in his care towards the end. I just want to tell everyone on both sides, you cannot make these videographic analysis about people's neurocognitive decline based on what they do physically. I have taken care of so many old people who are physically completely contracted and paralyzed, and they can't move, and their minds are sharper than mine. They remember when they're supposed to get their meds before I do, and I'm way younger than them. And then you have people like my grandfather, who the reason we knew he had Alzheimer's is because the mailman had to bring him back. Like, he would walk and walk and walk and forget where he was going. So both sides really are doing a disservice by looking at clips of old men, to Grimace's point, falling down or having problems going up and down stairs. It makes a great headline. I agree, but as someone who's taking care of people in this,
when he finished,
you cannot. You only can see when people are declining by talking to them, not by watching their performances on stairs. That's all I want
go
to
ahead.
say.
Yeah, so I completely agree, and that's why I don't want to talk about falling up the ramp. I mean, I don't like Joe Biden, so it's funny to watch him fall up the ramp, but I don't really care about it. I don't think it affects his mental health. Obviously, we had presidents with polio and wheelchairs before, so that's fine. We've had presidents who are like 350 pounds and could barely walk. That's fine. The issue is that my grandfather died of Alzheimer's. He had dementia as well. And there's a couple of things you can actually tell. You can say, like, oh, okay, well, what happens in that state is that sometimes you can talk normally, but then one big thing you notice that they get numbers confused, right? We see Biden do that all the time. I've been in the Senate for 160 years. He's done it so many times where he mixes up the numbers
and
completely.
Names.
And you'll talk normally, and names, exactly, right? And that's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to him. We're past the point. It's kind of annoying to me to talk about this. This is not an opinion thing. This is a factual thing. If you look at him 30 years ago, he was like a pretty good, well-spoken politician who could be aggressive, and he was all with it. And now he's so much of a decline, he doesn't seem like the same person anymore. And so, and the other part I don't like about this, Democrats don't even like Joe Biden. So can we all agree he's going senile? And you guys that Kamala Harris in there, that's the end goal anyway. Let's just agree on it, because it's obvious we shouldn't have someone in that position controlling nuclear codes.
It's only a matter of time before he accidentally slips the N-word in.
Okay.
Come on.
and this is the last thing I want to say
He
too.
had.
Hold on. This is the last thing I want to say, because I do the news. Okay. The thing about it is that Trump was always in front of hostile news organizations, always doing interviews,
This is the excuses
always
again.
hold on.
Come on.
Always
Important.
doing press
Important.
conferences. Always every week they was always in the.
No, he didn't do press conference. He didn't do press conference.
Yes, he did.
He
Pardon me?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he did. Hold on.
What
Oh, wait a
in
minute.
the mother-
Biden is not doing them. Hold on. And if you compare, and that's the last, and please fact check me here, Grimace. Please fact check me. I want you to go to Trump's first 100 days in office and how many times he talked openly to the press, not only on his way to get into the helicopter, but also in the Oval Office, in the White House, and also in what did he do? What did he do in his
Why
congressional
did you
speech?
change it to the first 100 days?
Because
he was
we're
he was a young spry man back then.
I'm gonna
was
tell you
only
why.
72.
Hold on,
Biden's
TDS.
presidency.
I'm gonna tell you why. Because we're gonna compare it to Biden's 100 days. That's why I said that. I want you to compare Trump's first 100 days to Biden 100 days. That's why I mentioned 100 days. Okay. So I want to also, and I want to know, when did Trump make his speech in front of Congress? What do y'all call it? When he was.
Union?
The State of the Union. When did Trump? What was that in April? Wasn't that in April? Trump made the State of the Union.
I think you don't have a State of the Union until a year after you.
No, that's
No.
not true.
That's
he
not
addressed
true.
Congress in his first. No, he did do a State of the Union. It's just called something different. But Trump did all four. Biden skipped the first, which no president has done since 1960 something.
So when I see the difference, and then we're going to move on. But
Maggie
what I'm
the
saying
dog
is,
told me that.
when I compare Trump's 100 days to his relationship to a hostile press conference versus to Biden's 100 days to a generous, loving, catering press conference that he rarely does, right? And then he's sitting at a table and he's looking at somebody to give him clues on what the fuck to say. With Kamala sitting right here, I'm sorry, the man is going into he's mentally declining. That's all I gotta say.
Okay, if anybody actually thinks this, that Joe Biden just completely lost and has no grasp on what's going on around, and he's like this like big cognitive decline, Look at the town hall that second debate that was supposed to
We're
happen.
not talking
before-
about the debate. We're
if
talking
you
about
look
right
at
now.
that and
No,
you,
no, no, no,
you
no,
hear
no.
him get
Bring
questions,
it
and
to
you hear him elucidate what he's talking
2021,
about,
Grimace.
that's fine.
2021.
there's nothing
No. We're talking
yeah,
about
look at
right
another
now.
one of his
He's the
debates where he just
president.
talked
He's
to the
supposed to be
curtain
the
behind the
president
whole
right
thing.
now. I'm not dealing with this stuff in the
He's
past.
lost.
I want to look at what he's been doing in the first 100 days. That's the reason why I
You
mentioned
guys are
it.
accusing me of TDS, and then when I point out all of the things that Trump had problems with as far as
why we're-
answering
Then
questions,
Grimace,
Dude,
if
that's
we,
why
hold
we're
on, wait,
accusing
Trip. Grimace, prove us wrong and be sincere in comparing Biden's first 100 days to Trump's first 100
he's not going to
days.
be exactly like Trump, obviously.
Because he's not. Trump wasn't.
That's why I say that's why you have TDS when you can't even be honest and
How
compare
did
the
you jump to
situation.
that
Hold
from
on,
there?
hold on.
Because
Tree,
I
I
want
have
to
a
show
thousand reasons
because
why.
I
I have a
want to
better
show you
example,
that
Tree.
Biden is scared to talk freely without notes and without an earpiece telling him what the fuck to say.
Okay. Well, no. Let's
move
stop
on.
right on there. Wait. Let's stop
call
right on there.
next.
That Biden is afraid to talk openly without like on the go, right? About different topics.
No.
So, if
Even
I can-
even preparedness, he still has
So
notes.
do you think I can? Do you think I can get evidence of Trump not having the same
Show a video. Go get a
ability
video.
or
Just
wants
listen.
to
I will put
participate in these
we'll put it as a,
press
we'll put it
conferences?
as a
I'm
challenge.
gonna consult my note
Hold
cards,
on.
guys.
Grimace, I'll challenge you. Go find a press conference of 100 days where actually Trump has
You say
anything in his.
100
Hold on. Let me stop. That Trump has anything in his fucking hands. I dare you.
Trump
Go-
has anything in his hands?
Yeah, because
That's
you're
Everybody
saying that he
has
doesn't have
notes.
use. Hold on, you're saying that Trump never used notes. That you're saying Biden has notes, that that's normal. And I'm telling you, Trump
I didn't
never
say it's
used notes.
normal. I said people have different ways of communicating.
Trump
I mean,
don't
Obama has
have
teleprompters.
notes. Yeah, Obama. But here's the thing. My thing.
Trump
is
could
a
have
dead
used some
end.
note cards. Let's be honest.
He
guys.
did not use
This is
any
a dead
notes or
end.
notes card in his first 100 days, and we have evidence that Biden did every time he talked to the press. Every time he talked to the press, he had something in his hands. So my thing is, prove me wrong. And by the way, if I'll take the L, but you won't give it to me, and then we're gonna move on to the conservative part. But my thing is that 100 days, the fact that you got TDS is that you can't prove when you want to compare the two. You can see that Biden is definitely in mental decline. He needs visual aids, and he needs something to help him to understand what he's saying.
It's like
Tree, so
Well,
what
I
you're doing-
mean-
hang on, Grimace, hang on. There's-
I mean,
have
if
notes
Putin-
on all
one thing
the
that I don't know
topics
is
he gave us, and we took notes.
I mean-
the things we want to talk about, and some of us don't. Right?
Well,
Would you
if
agree to
Biden's
that?
so competent, why can't he
wait,
pronounce Putin's
Time
name?
out.
Right.
Tree. So there are a few things. It sounds like you're trying to get Grimace to agree to one premise that Biden is in cognitive decline. I'm not sure if that's like the
No,
fairest
that's
way
not what I'm trying to do. No.
Hold
That's
on.
not what I'm trying to do. My thing is,
All right.
Grimace can never judge Biden on nothing when it comes to Trump. That's how he has TDS.
I'm getting to that.
Okay.
All right, I'm getting to that. So if it's a question with a hard yes or no answer, which is kind of what we're talking about here, the fact that I know that Grimace has TDS definitively is because every time he gets is it a yes or is it a no answer? It's, but what about Trump? And that's how we know,
That's
Grimace.
true. Yeah.
Sorry, the entire topic is about TDS. What do you want me to not talk about Trump?
No, we're trying to get you to not talk about Trump and just talk about Biden. And by talking about Trump, you are proving you have TDS.
He got you on that one there, Grimace. He got you.
Bang.
The initial
He got
question
you.
was comparing Trump to Biden on the stairs.
And then the question was, well, who has more cognitive decline? And you're like, well, but we have to really parse out the specifics of what does cognitive decline mean if he's speaking this way.
I'm pretty sure I said that old people
my
have
thing
mental
is, if-
decline,
You're talking about
right?
old people. You're not talking
If
about
It's
people-
not
people.
universally true,
You're
by
just
the
saying
way.
old
If people
have
didn't
this.
think
Sorry. So when I make
If
that
people
statement,
didn't
I'm
think
saying there's
Biden
nothing
had
out of the
decline.
ordinary. He does everything we should expect out of somebody who's 78 years old. There's no
Would
no
you
reason
expect more?
to
You
jump
expect
any
more?
Not all
I mean, if
old
people
people have
wasn't
cognitive
expecting-
decline. Trust me.
I mean, if people wasn't suspecting
Well, then
Biden
Kat's-
Hold on,
mental
let
decline,
Rafik
then,
talk.
Putin
Hold on.
would- if there wasn't no suspicion of Biden mental decline, then why did Putin challenge Biden to a live debate? And Biden can't even say his name right.
Mostly because Biden stood up to him and called him a killer. He would never
But he said a live debate.
It's a trap, dude. It's a trap.
Wait,
Oh.
that
It's a
totally
thing to do
happened.
it.
Just
It's
like
like
when
a dick
Biden
live
got
on camera.
arrested
Oh.
with Nelson Mandela.
Oh.
That totes happened.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
just when he was getting
Oh.
arrested with Nelson Mandela, he also looked at Putin and said, "You're a killer." Yeah, right. He said, hey, you got a job for my son, or what's up?
All right, let's get into
Wait,
conservatism. Hold on a second.
Wait, you're not going to give Biden credit for calling Putin a killer? You guys aren't going to
He
give him
never-
credit for that?
I don't
never did it.
think Trump or Biden should take a debate from Putin. It's a trap, dude.
Wait,
No president of
Hold
ours
on,
should debate.
please don't bring Biden
You're saying
Putin
that
in
Biden
here because
didn't
Biden
call
had a
Putin a
better
killer?
relationship with
Putin
Putin.
didn't challenge Trump
Putin
to a
did not
debate.
fucking goddamn call Trump's hoe card. He calls Biden hoe
wouldn't
card. He
goddamn
pulled
dare.
fucking
Guys,
Biden hoe
you guys
card.
can look it up
He
right
wouldn't
now.
dare.
Biden calling Putin a killer. Look it up.
We
right
know
now.
that.
He
No,
did
we're
call
not
him a
saying that's
killer.
not true.
He
Tree,
is a
am I
killer.
lying? Tree, am I lying? When Trump brought Xi Jinping to the White House over ice cream, he leans over
Wait,
to
why
Xi
you talking about
Jinping
Trump?
and says, wait, I'll tell you in 1 second if you just let me spin the yarn, let me tell the tale. He leans over to Xi Jinping over ice cream and goes, I just bombed Syria, 47 Tomahawk missiles, and keeps eating his ice cream. Now, in contrast, when Blinken and Joe Biden's commission went over to meet Xi Jinping's crew, they went to Anchorage because Xi Jinping said, fuck you, I'm not going to Washington. And they berated them for 15 minutes. 15 minutes when they were only allotted 2. And Blinken and Biden's crew just sat there.
And laughed
That
at them,
was and laughed at them. If that was Trump and Pompeo, please
Okay, so
stop
let's
it.
go
Stop
back to everything, all the claims that you made. There's video of Trump, of Biden calling.
We
Putin
don't
a killer,
dispute
and I'm
that.
kind
We
of
don't
excited
dispute
now.
that.
I don't dispute that.
We
I
don't dispute that.
part.
Do you
We
guys
don't
think it's
dispute
good
that.
Biden? No, you just said that Biden never called Putin a killer.
No, we never. I never
No,
said
you
that. I don't
said
think
that.
he said that.
Biden. No, wait. I'm sorry. Wait. Hold on.
Hold
on, let him
Grimace,
explain
you're
Do
right.
you
something.
No,
think that Biden
Grimace, you're
stood
right.
up to Putin and called him a killer?
Hold on.
Grimace, you're right about that. What I was talking about, Biden came out 3 days ago and said, I looked at Putin in his eyes and I said, you have no soul. You're a killer. You have no soul. And Putin said back to Biden, we understand each other. Biden came out a couple days ago and said that. That never happened.
That never
Stop
happened.
It. It's
Never
all
happened.
fucking. It
Never happened.
Never happened.
Words,
Biden's a compulsive liar. He said he was arrested with Mandela. He plagiarized off 3 different people's speeches. He had to drop out of a presidential run for it. He's a liar. He's a nobody. And now he's a senile, lying nobody. He's a corruptocrat. And I can't believe, Grimace, that you're fucking defending this guy.
Evidence of his corruption, but you just called him a corrupt cat for some odd reason. Biden has been in the Senate as a moderate liberal for what, like 50, 160 years, I think is the claim.
160, yes.
Long time.
He's like a
That's why he's so
200-foot
racist.
Guinness.
About him. He's been pretty vocal about not liking Putin. He said that to the media.
Grimace,
so that
your speaker is breaking up.
that they're going to face consequences for all the shit they've been doing by hacking our different government institutes. By
Stop it. It's China that's the problem. Russia's a joke.
Okay.
There's something wrong with Grimace's speaker.
That's a symptom of TDS. You think Russia's
And then I
really
hear this.
like
I'm
a
sorry.
threat to us?
Okay, we're gonna
Guys,
get.
we need to come. We need to be like back on the same page as far as reality goes. Like
We
it's
need
okay
Russia. We need Russia.
Can we
It's
move on?
to trust our institute, the CIA, FBI, and their investigations. And what they've actually
Tree, we should move on. Tree, we should move
All right,
on.
we're gonna go
Russia's-
to conservatism.
with Russia's
Trust the
continued
intelligence.
effort to undermine our democracy.
Hold on.
This
Okay,
isn't something
let's
like
stop.
right off. You
Okay.
guys want to talk about
Fuck you.
China too?
Okay.
Let's see that evidence and let's go with that too.
Okay,
Both
stop.
of them can vote for
Let's
it.
talk about. Let's do
To
two.
deflect off of Russia.
Let's
That
do-
seems to show a little TDS to me.
What? Griffin, stop it. Okay. We're gonna do 2 minutes. 2 minutes intro in reference to what is conservatism. And I'm gonna start it off with BJ, Big Bad Bear Jew, and then we're gonna go the other way around with what is conservatism. 2 minutes. Go
Sure.
ahead.
I wish Archer was here, but conservatism is the belief there's a value in conserving the wisdom and beliefs of people that came before us. So just like evolution causes changes in animals over the time for them to adapt to their environment, with weak animals dying out, the strong surviving, the same happens with ideas and cultural mechanisms. So Western civilizations had monogamy, private property, nuclear family, capitalism, nationalism, freedom of speech, limited government. The limited government doesn't interfere with your freedoms. All of these things are things that weren't necessarily planned out for in certain instances. I mean, some were, but weren't necessarily planned out for. But there are things that we realized worked, and it self-perpetuated itself. And so, because it self-perpetuated themselves, Western civilization has became by far the most dominant civilization the world has ever seen. I believe in like the year 1950, it was the case that the U.S. On a per capita basis was 50 times richer than China. So American citizens 50 times richer than Chinese citizens. And again, this is all through trial and error. These values came to us, and so now there's people who want to tear down these values, and as conservatives, it's our job to protect them. So the most easy examples we have, like the sexual liberation movement, socialism, the other progressive ideas that ignore the wisdom of the past is what it really is, and want to destroy it and start anew. They're not really ever that specific on how they want to start anew. They're more about the destroying, dismantling part. We'll figure out the rest later. The problem now is that Republicans espouse some of these values of conservatism, but they focus a lot on free market capitalism. And we saw that with Asa Hutchinson, the Arkansas governor, who said, limited government means we shouldn't stop children from getting injected with steroids at 7 years old. And it's like, no, maybe our government could do that, right? So it's not, conservatism isn't all about free market capitalism, right? I mean, capitalism is part of it, but we still believe that, as opposed to libertarianism, we still believe the government should step in and protect people, right? We should have a strong judicial government, right? And so that's where Republicans have really dropped the ball. And one last thing I'll say is that the hard part about being conservative is that great things take a very long time to build, and they're quickly and easily destroyed by new and exciting ideas that kind of appeal to our more base desires. And so that's the trouble for us conservatives, is actually trying to fight back, because again, like, conserving isn't enough. We're failing conserving at all.
All right, Rafiq, your turn.
Not really prepared for this, but pretty much what Big Bad Bear Jew said about conservatism is correct, and that I don't see like many Republicans actually doing a lot of conserving of these values and whatnot, while the Democrats, or especially the very, very progressive, wants to just destroy everything and you know, and just have nothing to really take its place. But then as far as it's different from libertarianism, because I just like found out that there's like left-leaning libertarians, and then there's the anarcho-capitalist libertarians, and I don't know if anybody knows about the Free State Project, and that was New Hampshire. I think it's still New Hampshire, but it had great intentions. You know, they dismantled government, but had nothing to take its place. It was a book. I forgot something with the bear, because you know the results of it was that the
rebellion.
What was the bear flag rebellion? It was something like, you know,
that was
New
like
Hampshire
when I think they took land from Mexico in California.
Oh no, this is the Free State Project, where libertarians moved with New Hampshire to try to, like, you know, have a libertarian utopia, and it, you know, being invaded by bears.
Oh,
because they were feeding the bears and feeding the bears, and the bears, you know, called on, and yeah, it was a book. It was a book. I think it's like title, but it was like, you know, like the result of the Free State Project was, you know, they attracted bears because they kept feeding the bears, and the bears got hip to it and started attacking people to get food. So it was like, you know, like utopian views, limited government, but they had no government. There was no police. Okay. And then they had the first murders. So I mean, conservatives, it's just like, I don't think it's more than just free market capitalism. I mean, it's supposed to be limited government, but that has not been. I mean, you know, Patriot Act, all this stuff, and libertarianism, I'm not really sure what it is anymore. I mean, I fell in love with libertarianism with Ron Paul. This new libertarianism is like, you know, don't fuck with my marijuana, but please mandate a face mask. I can't. I just can't vibe with that. So, but I think it really comes down to people's ethics and morals, and if they've made peace with the mortality that they are going to die someday.
Okay.
That's all.
Jupiter.
Jupiter. Okay, pause up in the chat for poor little Magga the dog. She's not having a good time tonight.
You named your dog Magga?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. That is so fucking cringe, dog.
No, it's not. It's not. How dare you? She's a rescue pup, and yeah, how dare you? But
you know what Magga stands for. Come on.
Honest to God, I don't know how to define conservatism, because a lot of times I disagree with a lot of the approaches these days, especially. I mean, you hear all this free market shit. I think the best way I would define modern day conservatism is there's a meme where it's a tombstone and it says, "Here lies conservatism." Could you imagine if the shoe was on the other foot? If it's like all we do is defend liberty by giving the other side, who believes in no liberty whatsoever, all the weapons of liberty to shoot us in the face with. What I think is conservatism, what I want conservatism to be, I love the way of life that we had a decade or two ago. I love the country that we had a decade or two ago. I thought it was going well. I believe in civilians owning tanks. I believe in free speech absolutism. But I also believe in the most stringent border of all time. I believe very little in immigration. I really think that we need to conserve the land, the tradition, and our rights. And right now, libertarianism especially is incompatible with what's going on right now. So I can't really hear because there's a lot of noise, but
Felix,
that's what
mic is very close to your mouth when you're yawning. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Grimace, your turn.
Yeah, sure. So when I think of like the steel man conservative position, or the position I think that conservatives should live by, is this quote. Maybe somebody can tell me who said it, but they said, "Doesn't matter what the press says, doesn't matter what the politicians or the mob say, doesn't matter if the whole country decides that something is wrong, is something right. This nation was founded on one principle above all else, the requirement that we stand up for what we believe, no matter the odds or the consequences. When the mob and the press and the whole world tell you to move, your job is to plant yourself like a tree beside the river of truth and tell the whole world, no, you move." That was any other guesses besides Reagan? It was Captain America.
Reagan did say,
Nope.
"You've seen one tree,
That
you've
was-
seen them all." So
Okay.
Captain
That's
America
a
from
bastardized Reagan.
Oh, okay. You said
No,
that's
that's the State of the Union that's a bastardized of Reagan's second State of the Union, which, by the way, he was also senile at the time. Sorry.
okay.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
Just
go
going
ahead.
on that, like what we need conservatives to be what we need conservatives to be are the gatekeepers to our democracy, right? Like, I think of liberals as the people with like new ideas, trying to adjust problems, using the government to solve those problems, and conservatives being like, okay, that can come through. Okay, that can come through. I don't know about that. No, that can come through. But like what I see conservatives right now that's like really troubling to me is one, since the advent of Fox News, a lot of an anti-intellectual type movement coming out of it. A lot of it that's being propped up by libertarians, like the Koch brothers, people who just want to make as much money as possible, and that seems to have like taken over, I guess, the Republican Party. But I had for this question last month, I had talked to some conservatives where they thought the Conservative Party was, and I got a lot of answers that they think that there's going to be a big change in the Conservative Party, or what it means to be a conservative, and that the younger conservatives are moving towards statism, which is just like liberally, fiscally liberal, but traditionally conservative, which it might be an okay way to go. I'd like to see how that kind of plays out. But for the most part, I think when I think of a conservative, I think of somebody who's trying to make sure that we don't make any major mistakes. Yeah.
I would like to
sorry, I need conservatives. I really want conservatives to be at their best right now because we need you a lot.
Okay, so I would like to say that I would not take any so-called conservative unless you're talking to lecture fan, and you can tell them I said this. They are not conservative. They are libertarians. And one thing I've noticed about a lot of the libertarians who call themselves conservatives, and I think this is what happened to Archer, they are pressured by the TOS, by the gang mob to change their views, and they do. And we see what happens when you basically pushed against them, like I did. I got 2 suspensions when I told them to go kiss my black ass. You can't tell me how to think, tell me how I can feel, blah, blah, blah. When I listen to these so-called conservatives on Twitch, I can't even tell the difference between a left-leaning libertarian when they talk about fucking open borders and when they talk about making everybody wear a mask. That is not what conservatism. And I think what happens is that the political climate on Twitch has now bullied people who think they're conservative to talk bullshit talking points that is pleasing to the left. So next we have Katz.
To me, conservatism is a pressure valve against over progressism. Now, what I mean by that is that society, like people, is always going to be moving forward with increasing speed and pressure. The point is, though, that you have to have someone who is going to be the word of reason, the word of caution, saying, like, yes, we have these new fancy nuclear devices, but maybe we should be careful about how we deploy them, what we use them for. I feel like conservatism is supposed to be the people that say, like, okay, you know what, we used to do things a certain way, circumstances are changing, but maybe we should be careful before we change everything. I guess, like, you could say conservatism is kind of like your mother, in that, like, she's the one to tell you, like, well, when I was your age, we did things a certain way. Not because what she did was correct, but because, but because it's worthy to look back into the past and say that, you know what, just because a new option exists doesn't mean that the old option is incorrect. We have to be careful how we move forward, what we decide to do, and we have to hold on to what we had from before, because if we abandon everything that we were, then we lose what we are. That's kind of abstract, but I mean, to me, conservatism is basically the in case of emergency break glass option. We're trying to make sure that we maintain a sense of identity against the ever-changing progressive tide. We have to remember what's important, no matter when it was from.
Okay. Felix, your turn.
Okay, so all of the things I were gonna say were like mostly policy, but since everyone else is going you know what? I can't help that I spent all day studying for physics and I'm tired now. But when I think of a conservative, the thing that I think of mostly is there's this meme. It's like reject tradition, embrace it's like modernity or something like that, and they like flip them back and forth. And the conservatives are the ones that embrace tradition more and reject the modern solution, and the liberals are kind of the flip, where like I wouldn't say, I don't want to say that conservatives are like necessarily like against freedom, but they are for the old let's not shake the boat, let's keep things how they are or go back to when things were good in some arbitrary meaning. Whereas someone who is not a conservative, a liberal in this case, would say like we need to go forward because the old ways aren't working for everyone now because XYZ new thing has been introduced into society.
Who aren't they working for? Weren't.
I don't know. Don't ask me.
Okay.
I'm not the hypothetical person in this question that says society is fucked.
Are you finished, Felix?
Yeah, he's privileged.
If I can respond, Felix.
Yes.
I wore this on purpose.
Oh, by the way,
I paid $62
Yeah,
for this t-shirt.
So Dallas, I think so. It's one of the things you said. Here's the thing: is that like I think conservatives is not like we need to keep everything in place. Kind of more to what our cascade is saying. Okay, listen, like you can't just throw out everything. You need to see what works and what doesn't. So we need to slow this down and really consider what we're doing here. And I think one thing that the left has gotten pretty badly is that the left will say this isn't perfect, so therefore we should dismantle it. Well, the problem is like this isn't perfect, but it still might be the best. I mean, what's the quote about democracy? Is like democracy is the
Winston
worst
Churchill, yeah.
form of government except for
Least
every other
worst
government
form.
ever tried. Right.
True.
And so it's like just because you can find problems with something, I mean, when humans set up society, there's some sort of problems with the system. And not to say that we have to keep everything that we had since the 1950s, right? Which was, you said, the arbitrary measure. The 1950s was the golden period because we at least we had intact families. Compared to everyone else on the planet, we had way more higher income per capita. People were able to build families and get houses and get educated for cheap. It was a golden era. But then the problem is, you go, oh, but hey, 1950s, Jim Crow in the South. Okay, we're not saying that the area that was perfect, right? When we look back at that, we say that was maybe the best period in American history. Right, and that's the really big issue is that conservatives want to say, let's look at past values, assume they have wisdom, where I feel like the other perspective is arrogant. It's like, well, hey, we developed computers who are obviously smarter than they were a couple hundred years ago. No, if you read the writings of people now versus the Federalist Papers or something like in the 1700s, those philosophers like John Locke, they actually are extremely intelligent and they knew about history that came before them, and the philosophy they had still applies today. But now we're trying to say there was all white men. So what? And it was they had muskets and any other argument against that, say they're wrong. Now we can do this new agenda. But it comes down to the idea again that the new agenda hasn't been tested. So why would you go about changing everything? So the rate of slaying, and going back to Arcad's gay, it slows down conservatism. That is a good thing. Right now, radical leftists are really saying, no, if they're slowing things down, then they're against progress.
Okay, and Trip, go ahead and do your 2 minutes.
and-
Wait. No, let me let Trip get his 2 minutes in. Go ahead, Trip.
All right, cool. So I think that the names of political parties, or even conservatism and liberalism, I think it's supposed to be shorthand, like people saying left and right, and it's used interchangeably, I think, too much. And that's my biggest gripe with. And when people say like, "Oh, Archer's are liberal," it's like, well, me and him are very different. He's a California Republican, which they have a lot of overlap with regular liberals from like the East Coast, for example. And it's a nuanced way of talking about things if you want to have a conversation like we're having. But I think those discussions need to be had because the tiny little things that separate MAGA from Republican, from right winger, from right leaning libertarian or moderate Republican are very, very small, but they all have their own little problems within them. And then the whole swath of conservatives get blamed for it, or the whole swath of liberals get blamed for, I'm a leftist, right? I'm a liberal, right? No, those are completely different things. So when we're talking about things, we have to be very, very, very specific. And it's really hard because right now, and Grimace brought up a good point about social versus economic issues, and even within the MAGA party, which is probably going to become their own party, maybe we'll see what happens.
No, he doesn't want to do it.
There are differences in what they think of. We'll see what happens, because they're definitely different than traditional Republicans, and liberals like me are definitely different than Democrats. Like I don't even think Grimace is really a liberal. I'd call you more of a Democrat, but and like even my parents, they're Democrats. They're not liberals. All right, so. But my point is,
very careful with these terms. I would vote for a Republican if it meant better liberal ideas, and we've
okay. Well, then now knowing that, then I would change my definition. Okay, so that's exactly my point. Then, so the more information you have about exactly like the beliefs, the better label you can put on someone. But what is conservatism? Conservatism, generally right now is like 8 different things. And they're not necessarily conflicting with each other, but sometimes they do. And if we're going to paint them all with the same brush, they're the large swath of anything on the right. It's going to be hard to say what it is, but they're one unifying thing that I would say is probably they're not woke right now. And but they're all scared. I'll say that they're all pretty.
The right is united by hating wokeism, and the left was united by hating Trump.
Right.
And I think when it comes to the right, I think the differentiation between MAGA Republicans, regular Republicans, is enormous. Because I remember in 2016, whenever Trump gave his first State of the Union address, he was talking. He would say all these like liberal things, like we need to have paid family leave, and the Republicans start cheering. Democrats would be booing about it, and I was like, that's a liberal position, not a Republican position. Donald Trump could have, it's supposed to be the media, he could have been a very unifying figure because he's the most left person, Republican we've had in a very long time.
And that's why I didn't like him.
Yeah, I was
A bunch
he's
of Bernie voters. I think 3 million Bernie voters in the primary. 3 million Bernie voters. It was either 2 or 3 switched to Trump, and 9 million Obama voters switched to Trump. It's no wonder why they had a bunch of overlapping positions, and this is why conservatism is it's kind of a bad word for what
He
Trump
waved
was.
an LGBTQ flag at his fucking first.
So guys, I was at you guys know what Trumparilla? I was there yesterday. It's a huge fucking festival in Tampa Bay. There's 300 from both all magazines, right? Trumparilla. It replaces Gasparilla in Tampa Bay. So I'm a little tan today, right? And I'm also hungover, was besides the point. So when I was there, like I even talked to MAGA Republicans and regular Republicans. MAGA Republicans are not there ranting about taxes. They're not ranting about
Property rights.
Yeah, that sort of thing. Like traditional things Republicans might. They talk about immigration. They are not super opposed to things like universal health care. Like they don't really care much about that. They want to promote like social harmony. They're against the woke shit, which is more cultural. That's what they like Trump so much because Trump, like, oh, he's fighting the media. We hate the media, right? It wasn't necessarily Republican values. I mean, it's definitely more Republican than the Democratic Party has, especially now. But there's a huge difference, and that's why I really feel like Trump could have been unifying. He wasn't, but hopefully Biden's going to be unifying now.
So Trip, I did. Hold on, Trip.
Biden
I disagree.
remembers.
Wait. Hold on. Let me just say this. Trip, I disagree with your statement on you're saying that we are
part?
all the part where there's so many sectors that we differ on a lot of things. I would have to say this, that when it comes, okay, yes. What my issue, and I think a lot of our issues with Archer is, there's no mega, there's no right winger, and there's no conservative that says that we should have a federal mandate for masks. That there's nobody on the right that agreed with that. None. With all our different categories, no one on the right would agree to that, and that's why I was like, I don't think. And one last thing. And that's why I just disagree that he was conservative, because I would have to consider him more of I wanted to say a centrist, because of the fact that to sit up here and have a federal mandate to make healthy people wear a face diaper was just first of all, it violated our First Amendment rights as far as religion is concerned, and also like if it's as a Black woman, if it's my body my choice for an abortion, then why isn't it my body my choice for a mask?
Well, I mean, the argument against that would be that you could get someone else sick and it's their body.
But I'm not sick, and there has been a scientific study.
Treat, cut it. Don't.
Yeah.
That's what.
By the way, I shared the.
Yes.
By the way,
yeah,
I shared the. By the way,
I promise you.
shared the link to that book. By the way, The Libertarian Walks Into a Bear. If you want to read about the Free State Project, I get a laugh out of it. And this is the new libertarian flag. For Archer.
Don't breathe on me. That's funny.
Yes.
So can I respond to what Tree? Can I respond to what Tree said?
Yeah.
So
Go ahead.
You were saying like,
Be careful.
there's not a lot that. Wait, were you saying there's not a lot that distinguishes different types of conservatives from each other?
No.
Or
I agree,
that
but what we
conservative-
are all when our biggest, the reason why everybody, and that's when Grimace wasn't here, we all, and I felt bad for Archer, but we all jumped on him for that.
I didn't.
You didn't?
I don't
Did
think
agree-
you should force people to do what he said.
Well,
but
then
like,
you
at the same
agree with
time, like,
us.
I don't. But I don't think it makes him not a conservative. That's my point. So does it make me not a liberal if I agree with some things that Trump says?
Well, no.
Well,
It's
to-
not about
to
whether you agree or
probably yes,
not.
folks,
To
yes.
to infringe upon our rights, conservatives and right wingers and megas do not believe that we should be forced to wear a mask.
Yeah, that's like a libertarian versus authoritarian argument, and I think Archer's on the wrong side of it.
Go ahead, Grimace.
I want to test this idea about if
All right.
if
I'll
anybody
be
can
here.
answer
I'll be
the
there,
question,
Larry.
I will gain 1,000 respect points for you, especially for the conservatives. If COVID, if the COVID
be
virus
careful.
was more
Careful.
Grimace,
Be
if it
careful.
was more
Goddamn
deadly,
careful.
say it killed let's just say it killed like 1 in 3 people. It was like the Black Death, and we had good reason to think that if people just wore masks and socially distanced and participated in lockdowns, that we could reduce the amount of death caused by this vaccine by wearing these masks. Like, and
I don't think
we
we should
found
have
out at the time that there was
Yeah,
propaganda going
that's
on
gonna-
in like
you're
a church
talking
or
about if
something
there was-
that was
hold on.
preventing people from
we
wearing masks.
can't.
Free.
Listen.
Who didn't
We
believe
can't.
it?
We
I'll
can't.
answer
We
quickly.
can't. We can't. We
Let's-
can't.
That's my
We
question.
can't
So
talk about
are you guys still
No,
like,
we
no,
cannot.
let me-
No, hold on.
They're
Listen.
worried about the channel, man.
Hold on.
They're
Wait a
worried
minute,
about the
BJ.
channel.
Wait a
I'd
minute.
love to
Let me tell you
answer
something.
you.
Hold on a
oh,
second.
I see.
We cannot give, because I'm gonna just say this personally, since this is my channel. I cannot answer that question without supplying some factual data and to back up my statement, and that is against terms of service.
So, Shreek, can I answer with philosophy without mentioning the subject real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, here's the difference, right? Is that when you look at Republicans, Democrats, who say a little conservative, right? Liberals care more about security, and Republicans or conservatives care more about individual freedom, individual responsibility, right? And so if there are measures, and if things were as drastic as that, like it's not, these aren't absolute values, right? So if things were as drastic as you said, and the protections provided as much evidence as you just posited forth, then the conservatives could get on board, because it's not an absolute issue. It has to do with the whole entire fact. It's like, okay, how bad is it? Because in the very beginning of it, I was the most, I got to wear my mask, I do everything, right? I was like that until more evidence started coming out. I was like, you know what? I don't know if the economy should be shut down, that sort of thing. And so it really is a balance. And so in your example, I think a lot of people on my side would be on board with it.
Okay, so that's subjective, and just you can just think of Archer just seeing this like more subjectively worse than you guys think it is. Then he would fall back into your.
Well,
your
I mean,
No,
Yeah,
he wanted
I
the government
understand
to
that.
I'm gonna,
mandate it. The difference
I
was
wanna-
sorry, Rafiq. Go ahead. I apologize.
I'm gonna say this in Tree. I hope you don't be offended, but I've noticed with like atheists and libertarians, they've like gotten so scared of getting the virus because they don't like believe in God or never like realize they're gonna die someday. They're like, got this realization that oh, I'm gonna die. We need masks. I need the government to protect me because they haven't thought about protecting themselves.
They're so afraid.
Actually,
They can't make a cost benefit analysis anymore of the risk versus the reward of doing something.
Actually, as an agnostic atheist, and you witnessed this, Rafiq, the fact that my friend Branch refused to wear one, and she kept advocating to take care of herself, her health. Okay, that because I do believe that you only have one life, and until and I'm looking back into Christianity, but at the moment right now, I believe that once this is gone, it's gone. So I take very good care of myself. Right now I'm fasting. I'm on a water fast. On a juice fast. I am doing everything to make myself
Juice? I'm not fast. I'm very slow.
juice fast.
BJ's probably
and everything.
fast.
I'm doing everything I can to make sure that my body is healthy because I only have one. At the moment, I don't believe in afterlife. That may change in the future. So therefore, I don't even live the life of I'm being scared of the koofy koof. But
wait.
some people do. And one last thing, atheism is very, and he's right, because atheism is very prominent on the left, not the right. We do have some agnostic atheists and some atheists on the right, but we're far and few in between. Won't you agree, you guys? So therefore,
and the reason why is because every human has a God-shaped hole in their heart. People on the right fill it with God. Most of the time, people on the left fill it with big government, and that's their God feature, and that they can rely on the government to give me all the security I need and provide for me.
Is this the process of like demonizing the other side?
No, wait, Grimace. Wait, hold on. Let me.
Wait a second.
Hold on. Wait, can I please wait? I've been quieter than
you sure have. You've been a good boy. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Very good boy.
Thanks. No, there is. What to BJ's point, there is a God-shaped hole in everyone. It's a fact. And we all fill it with different things.
Fact,
drugs,
there's no hole
alcohol. No. Not like that, Grimace. It's
Something
I
missing
know.
from your life.
It's a philosophical thing. I'm not. Whatever your
Don't
God
be so
is.
literal.
Yeah,
People
really.
hold
Please.
on.
No, I'm.
And so wait, hold on.
Stop saying it's a fact.
I
That's the thing that's bringing me.
I walked by 19, 20-year-old, way better shape than me people. They'll be on bikes, riding down the road, and they'll pull their mask up at me when they're 20 feet away from me on a bike on an 80-degree day. That's not science. I'm sorry, it's not. And this COVID thing, COVID is real. It is, COVID is real. But the God-shaped hole in your heart it's an analogy, it's a metaphor, but it's also real. And this COVID thing has had a lot of people fill that hole with this COVID nonsense where they need to be better than you.
Be
They need to be
careful.
protecting Granny more than you. I am. Oh, I've been monitoring the fucking chat on this.
Jupiter,
I
we've talked
don't-
about this before, though. You're talking about the virtue signaling of the left, I think.
Yes,
And I
yes.
brought it up
But
on this show
hold on,
before,
Trip.
the
Hold
virtue
on.
signaling
Wait,
right as well.
one thing. Oh yeah, of course.
By not wearing
There's
it or
also
wearing
the anti-mask side
Yeah.
of this, where they fill that. But COVID has absolutely given people an opportunity to pick a side. Human beings are tribalistic. They'll always go to a side if they can pick one. And COVID has given people the best opportunity ever. But this has become a religion on both the left and the right. But the left has bought in a little bit more. And when you have God in your life, whatever God, it's a little harder to fill that hole with bullshit because you have something a little more concrete.
Can I say
That's
something
what
about
If
that?
there's any
Because-
divisiveness picking a side in COVID, it was completely generated by Trump, right?
No,
Oh
I
my
think
God,
what
No.
brings
Grimace.
up is actually a
Go
good
ahead,
point
Trip.
about, like,
Stop it. Go ahead,
Grimace,
Trip.
I love you, but God damn
here
it,
he goes
man.
making
That
everything about
TDS
Trump
is
again.
fucking
I
goddamn.
didn't make
Oh
it.
my
This is
God.
This
He
is-
said that there
This
is
is,
an
oh my
opportunity for
God,
people
this
to
is
pick
your
a side.
TDS.
The
Can
only
you
reason we
take
have this
some
opportunity-
medication for this shit? Go ahead, Trip. Sorry.
I
People
literally
need
fell out of
Yeah.
my chair.
Okay. So I just think
I
it's
just wish we had a
interesting,
real
and I think it's interesting to talk about religion in this way, like whatever you fill that hole with, that we're talking about. There are a lot of parallels I see with the wokeism and religion. For instance, original sin of white privilege.
Bingo.
They have their
Sessions.
weird high priests like Sean King and this woman who bought a bunch of mansions, and they've got their followers who think that they can buy these indulgences by donating to BLM and get into heaven, and they'll
That's a
be good
black
people.
That's so fucking spot on.
Thank you. It is fucking spot on because for some reason they still just do it and they think it's actually gonna work.
Okay,
Michael Malice
Felix.
calls it the cathedral, and that's the latest.
Also, the whole entire treating people like infidels who don't believe in your ideology as heretics who need to be condemned at all costs. There's a million people going on and on and on. But wokeism, I'm not saying the Democratic Party, I'm not saying liberals. Wokeism has that tooth and nail.
It's that
Yeah,
Old
and it's
Testament bullshit,
unfalsifiable.
fire and brimstone
They just
type
say
of
it's because
shit.
you're racist rhetoric.
Guy,
What?
let's Felix say
And it has
something.
this
He
kind
wants
of
to
unfalsifiability of it.
go ahead, Felix.
Unfalsified, yeah, I agree. Unfalsified, like you can't Kafka trap everywhere. You know.
Okay, so I remember I screenshot this Reddit post for a very good reason. This guy said, I have heard cancel culture and wokeism described as a religion with no concept of forgiveness or repentance. It's true from what I have seen. There is no escape or abate the fury of the mob. Apologizing does nothing. There is no forgiveness. All that you can do is lay low and hope that they forget about you. That is the most factually accurate statement I have ever seen on the internet in the past like 5 years.
Christianity could repent, right? But doing that in wokeism gets you even worse wrath, actually.
Right.
Yeah, like
Exactly.
you have to.
Wait,
and,
you
and
can only
the
repent if
bad
you're
part about-
Christian, though.
But no, what do you mean? Yeah, you asked for
Yeah,
forgiveness.
you asked
and
for
then you have-
forgiveness from God.
Yeah, from Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you
but
get
the
it.
thing-
You don't get no
Whatever
forgiveness
You
from
get
the
it.
from the
When you
woke
admit to
left.
something
though.
If
There's
you
no
apologize to the
professional
woke, you
wokeism.
get burned as a witch.
Yeah, there
And
is
here's
no
the problem,
there
because
is
sometimes
no
people actually
repent,
do
there's
things
no
that are
born
wrong.
again, there's no start, no they even take shit from
Right.
you.
There's no redemption.
There's thank you,
There's no
cats. Yes,
redemption.
there's
Look at
no
the
You
fresh
get
religion,
redemption.
guys.
burned
Let 'em work
as
out
a
the kinks.
heretic. You get burned as a heretic, or you get burned as a witch. That's the only option in wokeism. Burned as a heretic, burned as a goddamn witch.
I do see a problem with that though, because the only way to combat against it is to just not admit fault. And some people have done things that are wrong. Like, you should take responsibility for things that you've done wrong in your life. However, if it's the woke mob coming for you with their pitchforks and their torches, like, it's over no matter what. You don't really have a choice.
Right.
So
Exactly.
Don't
Can't switch
apologize.
sides.
So
Don't
there's no reason
apologize
to
and
admit
don't
guilt
and
at
don't.
that point.
here's
Yeah.
another
You can't
parallel.
apologize, but you can switch sides. That's the only
Right,
way you
The
get
pa-
out
another
of the
parallel.
torture.
We're not allowed to move on from our pasts anymore. You're just not allowed. You did something kind of
It's on the
6 years
internet.
ago. Nope. You have to lose your every prospect in life. You have to lose it. You can't change. You are the same person you are when you said something on Twitter that you are now. Nothing has made you change.
Felix, you know what canceling is? It's the new public execution. It's crucifixion
Yeah.
on Twitter. And people will
Yeah.
say,
Hard
"Oh, that's
feathering.
extreme." That's exactly what it is. It's meant to take everything away from you and make you unable to be employed ever again anywhere.
Here's what
Ruin
makes
your-
it worse when it comes to
ruin your life.
when it comes to the wokeism religion versus the saying like Christianity, people who kind of pervade in a bad light. I remember back in the day when like Harry Potter was popular in the early 2000s. You had a lot of Christians saying that's witchcraft, that's evil, right? And the woke, that's racist, homophobic. The issue is that the media is never completely like pushing the extreme Christian agenda, but now religion and media have the woke religion have completely fused together into one to bash down everyone's throat, and it stifles everyone's freedom of speech.
You hit it right on the head.
That's
Of
bingo.
course, now Harry
Remember
Potter.
who was stepping on Marilyn
Of course.
Manson CDs 30 years ago and Eminem CDs and stuff and blaming school shootings on
GTA.
music and
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
Jack Thompson, all that
It's-
bullshit. Remember?
It's worth
funny how it
mentioning now
switched.
that Harry Potter is no longer in favor. Because now that the author has fallen
J.K.
out,
Rowling.
J.K. Rowling is not woke enough. So now even Harry Potter, the Bible of millennial wokists, is no longer. Now, literally, they're burning her books now. Literally defacing like posters that celebrate her birth.
It's
So
funny, the
in this
people who burn
religion,
books-
there are no saints.
And the people who burn books, usually that we see them do something quite soon after that. So I don't know. There's probably a reason to be worried.
In the past, the
Cats and
right. In the past, the right were the ones that were the pearl clutchers, right? But now it's the left completely. And actually, I think it's good for a conservative movement to actually have young people go, oh, the people who are the pearl clutchers who like are so offensive everything, they're on the left. But we do have some instances on the right where it happens. So like you have like the Lil Nas X video with Satan, right? And as soon as I heard some conservatives are saying, "Oh no, you shouldn't, that's satanic," whatever, I'm like, no, don't talk about that. we have ourselves established ourselves as the cool ones, the ones who are against the norms, that are against the mainstream. Drop that issue.
That is so fucking
It's
true. Wait,
punk-
hold on.
yeah, it's
Hold
punk
on, wait,
rock.
hold on. That is so true. When the Lil Nas X thing happened, that's the first thing I said was,
Oh,
shut
don't.
the fuck up. Let
let
him
it
be
happen.
cringe. Let him be cringe. Let him be cringe. It doesn't matter. Shut up. Like BJ said, the difference between the religious right, which really wasn't what they chalked it up to be back then, but the whole difference between us and them is they have always had the media telling us that the religious right are losers, they're pearl
Bigots.
clutchers, bigots. But now that we finally have,
Some of them were.
some of them were, yeah,
Few.
fine. But the media really hyped that up a lot more than it was. But now that we're not the pearl clutchers, and every chance we get, the mainstream, especially the grifter right, the non-America first grifter right, they jump on every one of these things. The Lil Nas X, they clutch their pearls. It's like, no, stop it. Shut up.
They think
There's
it's going to work
always-
for them
But,
because they
but
see it
hold
working
on,
for the left.
I like to compare the two because this one is more destructive, detrimental, and basically evil. Now, growing up, and I can only talk about the black side of this, where they were against NAA, when they was against 2 Live Crew, when they were reading those lyrics out, it basically was beneficial for those black artists at the time. They didn't lose their record deal. They didn't lose their houses. They didn't lose nothing. They actually gained. It's the opposite today. People are actually losing their livelihood. They're actually losing their jobs. They're actually being stalked and hunted at their home for actually going against the council mob. The council mob now is more dangerous and deadly. It is nothing like, if I had to choose between the evangelicalists of the past versus these crazy ass motherfuckers today, give me that Jesus one thing one more time, baby, all day long. Tell me I'm going to hell. Tell me that this is a bad thing, because guess what? It didn't affect my life. Today is totally different.
At least they have an
Tree, they
exit
call it a
path.
lot of this. They
Tree,
call it a lot of this.
I have heard. So my parents were talking to me the other day, and I was like, "What are you so worried about?" And my dad, who's like a straight Democrat, I'm like center left liberal, as you know, but he was saying, and we argue about fucking everything basically, and he was saying, "I'm worried about these white evangelicals." It's because they still think the white evangelical sect of the right wingers and the conservatives is exactly the same as they were 30 years ago.
But they had no
they're not
power to
90s
destroy
still.
your life,
They're
though.
stuck in the
Right.
90s.
Yeah.
Right. They're not the same. They don't have any media on their side really that has of any significance or influence. And it's funny now because Bear Jew brought up something interesting. He was saying about how it's like, I don't know, maybe you were getting at this point that it's almost countercultural to be conservative in some ways.
Yeah.
And there is
It
advantage
is.
in that. And I'm not saying I'm favoring one side or the other here, but like I do see when your teachers tell you to do something, you don't want to do it. So when your teachers are saying, "Here's this CRT shit in class," like, that's whack. Like we're already seeing a shift now.
Listen, when all of society, again, not even make a moral judgment whether this is good or bad or not, right? And so when all of society tells you you can't say certain words or certain opinions, when you're a kid, you're just like, fuck that. I want to say all that. I'll go do the secret with my friends.
Go to the park
I don't care what it is, because it's fun to do that, to fight against the adults and this pushing down of like an agenda is obvious to kids. They see it happening and they want to fight back against it. That's a Generation Z. Their memes, I don't really understand. They don't make any sense to me. But they are fighting. They are doing a countercultural narrative, which I do like.
My thing
Rather
with
than
this-
They're really
with the
mean.
thing with-
Say what,
Alex
Rafiq?
understands
Hold on a
memes
sec.
and TikTok.
Say what, Rafiq?
I'm not on TikTok.
I mean, this thing with Lil Nas, I'm not surprised. First, I never heard of him. So, first of all, I did a little research. It's like, okay, black gay rapper. He did a song with Billy Ray Cyrus. We know what his daughter did.
He's a thief.
So, I mean, so everybody's all shocked and amazed. I mean, come on, I'm not really like shocked. I mean, look, here's him getting his makeup done. I mean, it was bound to go this way. I mean, they start off kind of relatively innocent, but the signs are there that they're just going to just go straight up satanic and, degenerate.
He just wants to be attention.
But let's
He's
look
a
at
con-
this. Hold on,
He's like one of those people that only does stuff for
a second.
controversy.
Nas is not canceled. Nas got sued by Nike because he infringed upon their copyrights. You know what I'm saying?
Because he put blood in their shoes.
Well, he
literally.
used
No,
what
he
is that
stole
symbol?
he stole the shoe.
Yeah, he stole the shoe without
swoosh,
permission.
the Nike swoosh.
They're gonna fuck
Yeah,
him with no lube
It had
in
nothing
court.
to do with the blood.
Yeah.
But what about the fact that he stole? He
That
stole
doesn't
an
matter.
entire
The thing
music
everyone
video.
should be mad about is not the fact that he stole a shoe or he rapped about Satan. The thing they should be mad about is the sweatshops in Indonesia. Okay, that's what they should actually be mad about. No one's actually talking about that shit. This is where the liberals are fucking themselves over. Like I'm out here, I've been yelling about this for fucking 10 years ever since I found out about it, and they want to scream about, oh, the right wingers are mad about this thing that doesn't matter, but the right wingers are mad about the thing that doesn't matter, and I'm out here like, what the fuck? Can we please talk about the real issue?
The
Nike
left,
runs, like,
the left is very
Well-
hypocritical. They do not care about the
The
concentration
right doesn't
camps
seem to
and
care either.
Well, I guess
No,
let me
Trip,
be
that's not fair.
transparent.
Trip, the
I don't
real
give a
thing
fuck.
with the,
I don't give a fuck about and I'm just going to be transparent here. I don't give a fuck about the concentration camps in China. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm in America, that's not my fucking problem. But the thing about it is that I'm not going to have no liberal and no progressive tell me that I'm bad because I won't let little kids from fucking Mexico and South America come in here. You know what I'm saying? What about them? And I turn it against them and say, well, what about the motherfuckers here who got their own kids who are suffering and are basically not hungry? And I hope Grimace did the research, and if you don't, Grimace, I got the receipts for you, and to just prove that when you're letting all these fucking illegal immigrants in here, they're fucking up the black community and they're chasing them out. I saw the most awesome clip, and I saved it just for Grimace, where when these motherfuckers from BLM try to riot near a goddamn Hispanic community, the fucking M13 came out and fucked them up and said, take that shit back to the goddamn ghetto. This is where the Latino Hispanics live. We don't do that shit here. And I was like, I had no idea this was a thing until I saw the goddamn.
I am not pro BLM. I'm also not pro race wars. Just so we're clear on that.
Well, that's good.
I know he's an easy
We
target, but
appreciate
I don't
that.
think he's woke.
But wait, Trip, real quick. The whole point of woke capitalism, the whole reason that
What do you
Nike,
mean by woke capital? Oh, yeah.
yeah, the whole reason that Nike and all
Best
these
a man can
people, yeah, exactly. It's Gillette, the best a man can get. Fuck men, all
Boys
that
will be
shit.
boys.
The reason woke capitalism is a thing is because the left wingers who woke capitalism backs, it is just a fucking smokescreen so that they can have the Uyghurs in concentration camps literally making sweatshop made shoes for $1 a day.
Don't forget the
while they're
organ
selling
harvesting.
it for $500 a pop. The
They
whole
don't work,
reason,
right? They're getting
the
their
whole
organs
reason,
harvested, yeah.
and organ harvesting, mass
and
rape.
that-
The whole
is
reason
that
for them
abortions,
supporting
it's fucked
wokeism
up.
is because they want to keep Uyghurs in concentration camps and to
No.
harvest
No,
organs.
no,
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 it's
no.
just
What I'm
funny because
saying
the-
is, it's a wait. Hold on. It's a smokescreen. Woke capitalism. They buy the left's line in public, and the reason they get away with it is because they fund BLM, they fund Planned Parenthood, they fund anti-NRA activist groups.
You have LeBron
And-
James on ads saying
Yeah.
like, I was one of those kids underprivileged, please donate to this, blah blah blah.
Right.
Meanwhile, NBA is the one catering to these people who are having
And LeBron said,
sweatshots
LeBron said
and
we shouldn't talk about that because it hurts our finances. So we set up
Now
a legal
LeBron is in
law.
on this day.
right. And then
You
and
talk
I
about
love when he talked
motherfuckers'
about his
money.
Malcolm X reading. He was reading Malcolm X, and they're like, "What's your favorite part?" And he's like, "Oh well,
Yeah!
I can't just choose
And
this
there
one
are
part."
pictures of
He
LeBron
doesn't-
James.
He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about.
That's
Are
so
pictures.
true. That's
Wait,
so
hold on. Everyone, Tree and Trip. Everyone go look this up. There are pictures of LeBron James reading the exact same chapter of the Malcolm X book for 8 months. There are over
Oh no.
That
40
nigga can't read.
pictures.
I don't know
So
why
I
he
don't-
front.
Oh my
Hey,
God.
I don't-
how dare you?
No, actually,
Free,
LeBron James
why are
is
you
really
such a white
smart. I actually have a lot
supremacist?
of respect for LeBron James, but
You
can't
have a
say
lot
that,
of respect.
LeBron
I
James is doing this
actually
to
don't.
keep
Why?
the child
'cause they-
slaves going.
No,
Like,
we're
no,
just
no,
saying,
no,
no.
that's
I don't think that's what
not
they're
what I'm
saying.
You're
No, he's too stupid to understand he's a pawn in the game too, man. He just they said we'll give you 30
just so
grand to
somebody
do
else
this
is playing.
commercial. What?
You,
What are you crying
you're
about?
going up like this
Why
is
would you respect
conspiratorial
any pro
talking.
athlete?
Like,
No,
we
no,
could
no,
say
no.
the result of things like
No.
this is that we don't pay attention to things like Uyghur genocide. So the result of this is because people are participating in this sort of capitalism, that these things happen. But instead, I'm hearing from you
That's
that
what I'm- no, that's what I'm
there's
saying.
this shadowy cabal who are putting up a smoke screen.
No. I'm saying what you just said earlier. No, it's that this stuff it is a smokescreen of basically everything is happening and no one seems to care. Why? Because they're getting their bread in circuses. They get to watch the NBA and LeBron James tells them to donate to the Boys and Girls Club, which I used to go to school there, by the way, in New York when I lived there. I went to preschool at the Boys and Girls Club. Okay, so they do good work. Okay, donate to them. They're great. However, when you're placating and you're playing, race card and also your organization that you're working for is also placating to the fascist Chinese. It doesn't look very good. And that's the difference between liberals and conservatives, or all the different factions underneath of it. Is right now my main point was, it doesn't seem like anybody really cares. Right? Little Nas X is very fucking minute, very minuscule of a problem compared to what Nike's actually doing. That's where we started, right?
Okay, guys, listen. I want to continue this a little bit more, but we're gonna let BJ. BJ has a prior engagement now, so we're gonna let him say his final words and then drop some links. And BJ, I may, if you want, I may be interested because I might have Trip on, but I may be interested if you would like to talk about traditional relationships on my third channel. If you want to, you don't have to in the future.
Yes, I'm excluded.
Okay, so go ahead.
Let's do it.
Great. So go ahead.
She might got reminded because my previous engagement is that 90 Day Fiance rerun starts tonight. I have to watch. It's part of the finale going on tonight at 11 o'clock. this podcast usually stops off at 11, so nothing wrong with that show. It's a first off, I want to watch that show.
Come on, who's forcing you?
That's a good show.
Oh, okay.
Also, Meredith for said also a good show. Besides the point.
Okay, go ahead.
But anyways,
Somebody's got a gun to his head off screen right now. Like you're 90 Day.
Okay, go ahead, BJ. Yeah, go.
What's his name? That's my crew. We love that. All right, never mind.
Go ahead, BJ.
To give our last thoughts on this topic, I guess I have to first remember the topic that was originally conservatism, right? So I think for me it goes all again down to traditional values and actually looking at things and seeing what effect has this value had on society. And so one of the issues why we cannot do that is that we've completely taken out of education any really talk about why the founding fathers thought certain things, why certain values kind of came into place. And now our education system growing up, at least for me, was all about grievance. It was all about, I learned everything about the Holocaust, learned everything about slavery, learned everything that possibly went wrong on the western side of the world. I didn't learn about Pol Pot, communist revolution, I didn't learn that. But I learned about everything that was destructive of Western society. And so because of that, how could you have an education understand why Western values have created the society we have today? And again, when we destroy it, which we've been in the process of destroying it for 70 years now, when we destroy it, what are we going to have afterwards? Something terrible, and it'll be ruled by China at the end of it.
All right, go ahead.
And I think if you guys keep on talking, I'll do my little outro. Big Bad Bear G, YouTube, Instagram. I guess I post funny memes. Some people like it.
Memes on fire, dude. Memes on
fire. His Instagram.
Thank you. All right, peace, everyone.
Okay, bye.
Had a good time.
All right.
He forgot his OnlyFans. Why did he do that?
It's real small bear Jew on OnlyFans. Real small bear Jew.
Hold on. So
No, I'm the real. No, he's the big bad bear Jew. I'm the smaller Jew.
I need.
So let me wind it down, but I want to bring up one more topic so I can get an understanding or gauge everybody's opinion on this. So who here?
Don't call Cat Gage.
So who here basically feel that the left or the people on the left are just making culture and society decline instead of improve?
Is it even a question at this point?
They're degenerate.
Does
freaks.
anybody disagree?
I want to make a distinction, though. I have to make a distinction between liberals and leftists.
Okay, go ahead.
You know I always do that, though.
Yeah, go ahead.
This goes back into what the topic we were just talking about.
Okay.
Like, I'll agree with you. Yes, it's coming from the left, like the degeneracy right now, for sure, overwhelmingly. I'm not going to deny that there's not people on the right that I detest.
When you say degeneracy, what are you talking about?
Authoritarianism. Calls for violence in the streets. They don't, like I was saying earlier, like they don't.
That's
they don't
not
have
my
progress.
level of degeneracy. Degeneracy, in my opinion, is
Are you talking about like sleeping around?
No, drag queen, drag king, whatever the drag
queen
kids.
Story time. Drag queen story time.
Thank you, Rafiq. Yeah, that's degeneracy.
Oh.
Is that what you're talking about, Tree? Because I mean, that's happening on some level. Like,
we all have a different. We all have a different description.
Yeah,
that's what
that's
I'm
happening
talking
on
about.
some level.
I also find it
Hormones for
degenerate
kids and things
to
like
basically say that you can't, which I support. You're not supposed to give alcohol to kids. You're not supposed to give drug to kids, but you can give puberty blockers
Hormone
to children.
blockers,
Yeah, that's bullshit.
We
You know
don't
what I'm
let
saying?
them vote for a reason, Tree. We don't let them vote for a reason. You can't own a gun.
Actually, they're trying to lower it.
Yeah, they're trying to lower it to 16.
And that's the exact proof right there that there's nefarious ideas at play. All right, that's the proof. If you needed any more proof, then we're gonna lower the voting age to people who are actually dumber than anyone. Like, you're not even out of high school yet. Come on.
Okay,
I'm
but
so
like
glad I
this
couldn't
kind
vote
of
in high
thought
school.
about preventing or encouraging people to vote is like we can find that everywhere, right? This isn't.
I remember when I
something
was
that's unique to the
16,
left.
I wanted to vote. I was a dumbass till I'm still a dumbass.
I agree. There's probably some people maybe in this roundtable or maybe in our chat who think that only people who pay positively into the tax program should be able to vote.
Oh my God, James Alsop, that's what he said.
Yeah, that's
Only
what I'm saying.
married
And
people
this
can
is
vote.
emerging from the right. The nefarious fascists want to. Yeah, like.
Stop it. Stop it.
What do you mean stop? This is. I'm just
That's what he
doing
said. Married
exactly what
20
you guys are doing.
No,
That's
no,
exactly
so
what he
when
said.
we
You have
want
to be
to say
married and
one
25 years
side
old.
does
Fellas,
this for
that's
society,
one
and I'm like,
dude.
wait, we can
I
see
just- I only
both
see
sides of
one
this. I don't know if this
But
is a
wasn't
critique of one
isn't
side.
voting
No.
limited
I only
to,
see
to
one
white
side
male
trying to
property
lower the
owners?
voting age. And who are the people who are lower than 18? Well, they're dumber than everybody who's 18 on average, okay? 17-year-olds are
But
dumber than
I only
18-year-olds.
see one side of
16-year-olds are dumber
people
than
trying to
17-year-olds.
prevent poor people
15-year-olds
from
are dumber
voting.
than 16. Who's trying to prevent poor people from voting?
Who's trying to
Everybody should
hold
vote
on?
at the
Who's
right
trying to
age and they
prevent
know
poor
what
people
I have
from
a-
voting?
All right,
don't
I
want-
invite you to look up the Supreme Court case of
I
what
have a
happened in North
question.
Carolina
I don't
and the
want
Republican
dumb people
I
to
Party.
have
vote.
a
Yo,
question.
we don't want dumb people voting. That's why we don't want 16-year-olds voting. It doesn't matter how much money you okay? It doesn't matter
Okay,
how
Cass, you
much
go
how
after,
much property you
Trump.
own. It
And
matters
then
if you're
Rafik.
stupid or not. And we only
Yeah,
have one
Claudia
metric, and that's
Conway
18
shouldn't
years
vote.
old.
Okay, but
Here's
18
my-
isn't a metric
here's my
of
question.
intelligence.
Go
It's
go
not a
ahead.
good metric, but it's the one that we
here's
use.
my que-
We
Cats,
shouldn't use
Here's my
16.
cats.
Here's my question, Grimace. Like, do you consider requiring someone to have an ID voter suppression?
Okay, so
Here we go.
Just yes or yeah. I mean, like, you know,
not simply that,
based
because
on a-
that's
on a
not the
broad
argument.
level,
It's like
but-
it's a
Yeah, pretty
misframing of
much
what
it
the
is,
problem
right.
is. Okay,
Oh,
so
no,
like
pretty much anytime we ask people to present their ID to prove that they were actually born here, like the argument is that, well, obviously black people are too dumb and too poor
Which
to
is
have
racist
ID.
as
is that what you
hell.
really wait? Is that
Yes,
really what
it
you guys
is.
think the argument is? Can you be
Well,
honest
no,
with
no,
yourself?
Grimace,
Yeah,
Like,
that's what they keep
that
saying.
Democrats
Give me
think
another-
that black people
Give
are
me
too
another-
dumb to
Give
go
me
out and
another reason
A
why
lot of people
someone
do think
shouldn't
that.
have an ID.
What
Grimace,
is,
I
the
know
only-
homeless
you need an
people
ID to
that have
register to
ID.
vote.
what is the argument then?
Yeah,
Correct.
it's because you're already registered, and we don't want to put in different barriers. The argument is, as far as voter suppression goes, if we look at especially the Supreme Court case in North Carolina, that one party went out of their way to put up restrictions in front of voters, including issuing voter IDs, because black people own driver's license at a much lower number. Their
That doesn't
DMVs
mean
are
they don't
more
have
crowded,
government
have
ID.
longer lines, and
Is that
are
true?
less.
No,
Yes.
that's
Not
not
true.
true. That's not true.
And black voters
That doesn't
have
sound
Sorry,
true.
okay, what's not
I
true?
mean,
Hold on,
Sorry,
hold on,
what's
hold
not
on.
how
true?
do black folks go
I-
to the
I
vote
had
in
a,
the
I
black community?
actually,
They don't
I
have
hold on a
Yeah.
second. I actually had a debate about the whole black ID. Alabama squashed this when Don Jones was running against what was the Republican who rode on his horse in Alabama? Y'all remember this? 2018.
No.
Nobody.
I think I remember seeing this
Come on,
video.
y'all know. Chad, help me out. What was the white Republican and who was running against Don Jones? Trump didn't even want to back him, and he lost to Don Jones.
More.
Okay. More. Where? Oh, there you go. I thought I said, where'd Grimace go? Grimace.
Oh, we're talking about another demon pedophile, right?
wait,
Roy Moore?
wait, Tree.
You're so crazy. I swear, man.
You're fucked. Honestly,
I don't
good
know
burn.
why I
Black
tried
votership. Black votership has been since I think 2016, maybe 2012. Chat, please correct me. That's fine. Blacks have voted overwhelmingly more than whites per capita since I think 2016, maybe 2012. I believe it started with Obama. But to say in Georgia, where you brought up North Carolina and Alabama, no, the argument is about Georgia, which has
we're talking about voting IDs.
Hold on.
We're not talking about
And 2018, they vote. He's
Yes,
right
how
about
can
that.
black folks get the liquor from the
Yeah,
liquor if
the
they don't
black
have IDs?
people have
They get
their
into the club.
IDs. They didn't make a lot of them don't drive. That doesn't mean that they can't get regular
How could
IDs.
Democrats?
Yeah, they can get it, but these
Wait,
are just
wait,
barriers
wait,
put in
wait.
front of them.
There's no
Because
barriers.
when
I
they're
think
doing
this
it
is the
with
bigotry of
the
low
club,
expectation for black people. You expect. Listen.
Let me
This
take
is
this one.
is not a low expectation.
It is low expectation because
these voter IDs are used specifically from one party to make it harder for black people to
if
vote.
black
Because
people have
black
IDs,
people
then
have
how does
IDs.
it make it
North Carolina
harder?
case,
Get liquor?
they use tactics like
Get
this
get
to
nightclubs.
target certain
If
neighborhoods.
black
to
people
have
have,
people-
hold on. There's
You're
no
parodying the
scientific.
talking points.
Wait,
Come
y'all. Hold
on,
on.
man.
This is the Supreme Court that I'm parodying,
Grimace,
okay?
Grimace,
You know
That's
the
a
Supreme
Grimace,
Court?
there's
point.
no
I don't
scientific
care where
data.
it's from. It's
Wait,
woken
Trip. There's no scientific data to even back up the claim that black people don't have IDs. That is so racist. The thing about it is that black people overwhelmingly have IDs. They may not have driver's IDs, but they have government issued IDs because guess what? They need it for their jobs. They need it even if they're on welfare. They need it for that. They
Yeah, the
needed to go to the
EBT.
hospital. It's so
Grimace did have
racist
a
to
good
think that
point.
black people do not have government
Liquor stores.
IDs.
Hang on, Grimace had a good point when he said, "Hey, wait, Jupiter, wait. No. Come on. Grimace made one point. He's like, those people already had to have IDs in order to be registered. That's a good point, okay? However, when you show up to vote, how do we know who you are? ID. I don't think that's refutable. That's the part that people don't understand. When you show up to vote, you need an ID. This year was very different. So a lot of people got ballots in the mail. I didn't ask for one. I got one in the mail. Okay. Didn't get one in the mail.
Oh my God!
I got one in the mail. Didn't ask for it. Right.
Yeah, this is
Whatever.
just
I
a
didn't
barrier
have to
that's
go
not
through it.
needed that's put up.
What do you
It's
mean
needed
it's not
because you
needed?
need to
It's
know who you
needed.
are.
We need to have
I can
ID.
show up and say my name is Grimace.
No,
and
you
I'm here to
can't because
fucking
you don't
vote,
know my
bitch.
birthday.
Hold on.
You don't know my address.
They didn't ask me for that one.
Wait,
The Prime Minister did not ask my birthday. They did not ask my
Trump,
fucking address. They said, "What's your name?" I gave them my fucking name and I went and voted.
Hold on, Grimace. Do we need an ID to get the COVID injections?
Yes.
Wait,
Yes,
what
you
does that
do.
have
Is that
to
true?
do?
I don't
Because
know.
for you to say
It
that we
is.
don't need IDs
It
to
is.
vote
Yeah,
is just really asinine because we need IDs for everything else.
The real thing is
No,
this.
no,
I don't
no.
see the
Wait,
connection.
What we're talking
I don't see
about,
the
like,
connection.
our right
There's a huge
as
connection.
United States citizens to vote. And if one party just keeps putting up barriers, if they're like,
That's
you need
having
Is
voter
so
ID
is
is
your
not
one
a
less
barrier.
important
early
than
voting has not
One
been
party
How
keeps
how
tearing
it, hold on,
down
hold on.
barriers.
Let's conquer
If you
one.
live in an urban
Let's
area,
conquer
you need
one
to get a
argument
voter
at a
ID.
time.
Wait,
Hold on. One
Grimace,
argument at a time.
not
Wait.
about
Hold on.
ID.
Hey, y'all, hold
Times
on.
a week.
Grimace,
World VM.
Grimace. Wait a minute, guys. One argument at a time. Let's, because I don't want to jump all over. Let's get rid of that one argument. Do you disagree or agree? Are you saying, because I'm saying, and we just disputed this, that voter ID is not, what was your argument? Are you saying that basically voter ID prevents blacks from voting? Is that what you're saying?
No, I said the tactic of implementing another check for people to get IDs are targeted towards black people, and we can see these findings
how
of
are
the Supreme
black
Court.
people,
Sure.
if black people have IDs, how are we targeted?
Okay, well, we're talking about voting IDs, which are separate IDs.
No, you only need a
what?
government ID to
No,
vote. What are
no.
you talking about? There's no such thing as a voting ID.
So you're not talking about getting an ID for okay, so
you,
like we're
you
not talking
need
about the same
a government issued ID to vote. There is no such thing called voting ID.
thing. Wait, no, there are definitely
Alright,
cases
so-
of people wanting to institute everybody getting a voter card, right?
No.
That's not it at all. This
You
is-
need
I
a
guess
government
you guys are
issued
not
I
informed
would
ID.
on
handle
this.
this 2 minutes.
I don't think you guys know.
Grimace,
That's fine.
Grimace, you
They've
need
already
a
presented
government
their IDs
issued
when they
ID.
register.
Drive to the place.
Listen,
Drive to the place you're gonna
Grimace,
vote. And
stop,
then
y'all,
you
stop.
park your car. And then
No.
you take your
I'm
driver's
done.
license.
I'm done.
Here are the
Long
facts.
enough.
Here are the facts.
Fuck this.
This is the facts. You just need a government ID. That's it. You need a government ID, and it's racist to say that blacks don't have government issue ID. That's just racist. Okay. So if you got another barrier, because we just destroyed the whole. Voter ID is racist. I mean, is basically suppressing blacks. That's just nonsense, and you can't even back it up with any type of proof because there's overwhelming
There's
proof.
literally
There's
no such
overwhelming
thing as
proof to show
voter
that black
ID.
people have government ID. Now, if
Then
there
why
is
are you asking me about voter ID?
I'll tell
because you brought it
What
up.
I'm
You
saying
said,
is,
wait,
what you think is-
Jupiter,
all right,
Jupiter,
no,
hold on,
you-
stop,
you- yeah, all right,
Jupiter.
fuck it.
Because you said, hold on.
blah.
You said
Go
that
on
government
Twitter. This is
ID,
boring as
you
shit.
said voter ID was suppressing the black vote, was another
This is-
barrier.
You're walking in circles,
no.
and it's 11 o'clock.
Hold on.
It's
Well,
I haven't been able to talk
11:07.
for 20 minutes.
It sounds like you're.
Yeah,
you're,
let me tell you. Hold on. Let me just see. The thing about it is that you guys, and hold on. I'm going to give Grimace the pass here. You guys don't know how to put him against the wall by asking him simplistic questions. When I ask him simplistic questions, he got to wrap around his fucking head to come up with a TDS excuse. But the thing about it is that that's what I'm trying to get you guys to get. It's easy to get Grimace against the wall where you keep the questions simple.
Grimace.
I mean, I don't.
Are
No, no, no,
leftists racist? Are
Are
leftists
lefti-
racist
No, if this
for
is no, at
assuming
this
that
point,
black
you
people
guys are
can't
going
have
to.
IDs? Are leftists racist for
racist
You're-
for
assuming that
assuming
black
people
still
can't have
going-
IDs?
you're
No,
doing this-
that's not the argument.
Oh,
Is that
it's
they can't
easy.
get
That is
IDs because
exactly
they're
the
black.
argument.
The argument is
You're
that
just-
it's more
you're
difficult
right,
for
he
them to get
dances around
IDs.
Yeah.
Where's,
Oh,
provide proof in
Around
that.
Trip, this is you.
Hold on. Provide
Is it,
proof.
are they
This is you,
racist
man.
for assuming
Not
that's
stop.
more
Trip,
difficult?
stop. Grimace, you
All right.
made a claim that's not true, and I suggest you prove it. Prove how it's hard for
Which
blacks
one?
to get IDs.
Yeah, the DMV, like the government institutions the government buildings where you can get IDs from these different places have like longer lines, are more spread out in areas that are predominantly black, and we've seen this
Okay,
exploited before.
so wait a minute. So you
Wait,
say
what?
first of all, that's not true. Second of all, there are actual.
It's
and
true.
it is not. Hold on. And I can give you the facts to prove this. In Alabama, where blacks overwhelmingly voted past whites to get Don Jones over Roy Moore, okay, what they made sure that they picked them up to go vote. And therefore, there are various annexes that are connected to the DMV that will help people get regular government ID. This is a proven fact. For you all to sit up
Wait, because they got picked up and got taken to vote?
no,
No, they get
annexes,
IDs.
DMV
Annexes.
annexes. Do you know what I mean by that? Do you know what I mean by annexes to DMV? These are
I
little,
haven't heard of
these
it.
are little
I haven't heard of
trailers. Hold on, these are little trailers that they have near the black community where you go in, you show your social security card, and you show your birth certificate, and you can get a non-driver's license government issued ID.
Is this like a mobile DMV? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, and they're called
I'm
annexes.
not saying these things aren't
Yeah.
easy once you get going with it. Like the
No,
process
you
isn't
said
simple.
it was you said it
You
was
said it's
hard
hard to
for
wait in
blacks.
fucking
There you
line.
go.
No,
That's what you said.
disproportionately, it's much easier
You
for
cannot
like white
prove
and middle
that.
class
You
people.
cannot
Last week
prove
you
that.
said it was hard to go to the library.
You can't
dude.
prove
Come
that
on.
statement,
Wait,
and you
oh
have
no,
to
no,
prove
that's
that
that's a
claim.
perfect example, Trip. Do you not agree that a kid who has a computer at home can get better with that computer than relying on a child to go to the
Not if you have
library in
shitty
their
internet.
town?
I do
Not if
agree
you
with
have
you.
shitty
Oh,
However,
internet.
the
perfect. We're on the
library
same
is-
page.
No,
Wait,
we're not.
but the
Grimace,
library is
you have
still
to
there.
prove
And
your
guess what?
claim.
It is still
that,
there. That's
no,
fine.
Grimace,
at
you
home.
have to prove your
Buddy,
claim
no
that
one's
it's
got a
hard
DMV
for
at
blacks
home.
to get an ID. Stop it.
No one's got a DMV at home, buddy. You
Okay.
can walk to the DMV, wait in fucking line, get a fucking ID. I
Okay,
get it.
so
It sucks. DMV
if I
sucks.
showed you Republicans using this tactic
No,
to
your
target black
argument-
voters,
your argument,
and the Supreme
no,
Court
you're
showed
deflecting.
says that yes,
you're
this is
deflecting.
true,
You're
and
deflecting.
struck down
You're
laws,
You're deflecting.
Can I say
You
something?
made a
Because of it.
claim that
Would
says
you
that it's
agree with me?
hard. No,
I-
wait, Trip, stop.
Grimace-
No.
Grimace
You
asked
letting Grimace get away with this. Stop.
yeah,
Grimace-
don't engage with me. Just yell at me.
Grimace said that it's hard for blacks to get an ID, and I am saying prove it, and you are letting him get away with it without proving it. So I want him to prove it right now with some statistical facts that it's
Okay,
hard for blacks to
sure.
get an ID.
We can just take this as like a general idea. Would you agree, Tree, that in urban areas there's a greater population density compared to rural areas?
Obviously.
That's
Okay, well,
That's-
guess what? Black
That's what
people
urban
mostly
rural
live in
means.
urban areas.
None of this have anything for you to prove that it's hard for black people to get IDs. That's why I didn't engage with that, because it's irrelevant. You
He's
made a
getting there.
claim. You have to prove it. You cannot prove your claim by
let
asking
him
me
get
a
there.
question.
Okay, these kind of tactics, these kind
You
of
let him get
tactics
there.
are what they did in North Carolina.
He
where
can't get there. Because he
they
cannot
put-
provide the proof that it's hard for blacks to get an ID. He cannot prove that claim. And y'all letting him get away with it.
I just said that. Like poor people have less resources to get
Prove that
these
black
IDs
people.
easily.
No.
I just told
no,
you.
you didn't. I don't
Black
care what
people
you
mostly live in urban areas,
Receipts,
and it's more difficult to get to
receipts,
these.
Receipts. Prove it. If you're, I
Wait,
hear
yeah,
your claim.
what part do you want me to
Hold on,
prove?
hold on.
In urban
You
areas
said
that had no problem
that
getting
black
ID.
people in urban areas is more dense and it's hard for them to get ID, right?
Comparative to people who are do not live
Whatever
in
you
urban
said,
areas.
I need some receipts.
Honestly,
Well,
it's hard.
okay, I can't give you a receipt to something.
I
that-
say something?
Yeah,
No.
I can just
wait a
give you a
minute, wait a minute.
general receipt. You
I
have to, like,
used to have to
tell me
drive
what you need a
2
receipt for.
hours to get to the DMV. I used to have to drive 2 hours to get to the DMV because it was that far away from me in Northern California, right over the border. So that is very far. for Wairika. You ever even heard of that city? No, it's got like 8,000 people. It's very far away from all the other cities that have even less than that. It's hard to get there. It's urban versus rural.
Wow.
Okay, so
Wow,
don't
so
give me.
there-
Wait.
there's some-
Wait.
I agree
Don't
with
give
you.
me the-
That's-
yeah, but wait. Don't give me the. It's harder to get there part. It's harder to wait in line if you're in an urban center because the line's longer. That's the argument. Come on, don't give me
Hold
that.
on, I'm gonna say
The
something. Then I'm
line's
gonna
long,
let
you can
cats.
get there.
This is why black people so fucked up in their head, because they believe this bullshit. Like, we so downtrodden, we so got them oppressed. We can't get no fucking license like white people. Why is it that you all don't put white people and black people in the same fucking expectations? This is the reason why niggas get in the back, and because they want to sit up here and believe this bullshit. I can't get nowhere because of a white man, because I was black. I can't get no ID because I was black. Then they believe this bullshit, and when you give somebody a low expectations, they will never disappoint you. Go
and
ahead,
Tree,
Cats.
you know who believes it even more is white liberals.
It doesn't matter what white
They
people
believe
believe.
that.
It's the fact that black people is buying this shit. And if you will stop telling black people that they can't do shit because they're black, they would be better people. Go ahead, Cats.
So this is what I will say. Like, we've kind of fallen into one of the traps of the Democrats, which is the idea that voter ID is racist against black people. Black people are not the targets of voter IDs. It's illegal immigrants that are the target of voter IDs, because it's very easy for a citizen, comparatively, from anywhere, of any background, to get an ID. But it's very hard for someone that came over the border on a pickup truck to get an ID without using forgery, and most of them are not brazen enough to try to vote. Like, this is a false flag. The idea that voter ID is trying to suppress the black vote. It's not. The voter ID thing is trying to keep illegal immigrants who are brought over with the intention of voting for the Democrats, like plants, vote plants. That's what it's for. It has nothing to do with black people, but they say black people because the moment you say, oh my God, it's race against black people, all white people immediately just start shooting themselves in the head because they can't comprehend the idea. Oh no, it might be racist.
Tree, can you ask him for the receipts that show that illegal immigrants are using an ID to register to vote and then, like, I guess not using the ID later to show up and vote?
And that the
That's
exact
rare.
same,
No, that's
the
rare.
exact
People don't
same
have
ballot.
to.
Okay, I just heard a claim that we're
Hold on,
we're trying to bring in Democrats to vote.
Wait.
Legal
Go ahead, Jupiter.
immigrants.
Hold on. I'll address you, Grimace. Hold on. Let
Why am I getting interrupted
Jupiter.
and then being told not to interrupt?
Hold on, Jupiter, and then go ahead, Grimace. And then I want you to rephrase it. Go ahead and
Number
ask me
one,
again. Go ahead.
illegal immigrants. The whole point is ballot harvesting. The exact same measures that your party is trying to put in place would eliminate the need for not only voter ID, but even real phone number, name, address. That's the whole point. One union worker, one political worker could just harvest all these ballots. Doesn't matter. You don't need a name. On top of that, though, if black people didn't have IDs, how could your party prey on them with lottery tickets and cigarettes, which you have? No, this is true.
You guys understand how crazy this sounds, right?
No. Wait,
dude.
Trip. No, Trip. I'm sorry. May I give you the
Yeah,
percentages?
sorry. Go ahead.
Do you mind? Is that all right?
Yeah, go ahead. I got.
No,
I gotta
thank you. I appreciate it. Do you know that the percentage of black men and women compared to white, doesn't matter economic cost, doesn't matter how much money you have, doesn't matter if you're middle, upper, lower class. Do you know that black people are 4 times more likely to buy not only weekly but daily lottery tickets, which funds the state project and the state democratic machines, and they market it specifically towards minority people. They also do the same thing with diabetes.
You're telling me black people can't not buy lottery tickets, that they're too dumb or stupid to do that? Is that what you're telling me right now?
No,
that they just fall prey
that's
to
not what
somebody
he's saying.
waving a magic lottery ticket in front of
Grimace,
them?
that's not what he's saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The point.
I know that's not what he's saying. Like, it's the same rhetoric I hear over and over again. Jupiter, tell me why black people buy lottery tickets at higher rates than white people.
Because you
No, the point is they can because they have IDs.
So there's a way to not obviously target a racial group to do one thing or the other?
Yes,
Black
they
people can do whatever they want because they have IDs. They're citizens. Illegal immigrants are the ones that have trouble doing stuff. They're the ones that need to be
No, now
accommodated.
some
Black people.
It
sanctuary,
doesn't matter if
some
it's white or
sanctuary
black.
cities
And-
do give
and-
illegals IDs.
I know you
now.
guys have made my
Some
argument for me.
sanctuary cities
I
No, no, they not, Grimace.
No,
And in
sanctuary
reference
cities
to
do give
and
illegals
wait,
IDs.
No, we're off
What are you
topic now.
talking
We're off
about?
topic
You
now.
can put things
we're
in
gonna be
place
ending
to
in
make a
about 10
racial group
minutes.
do one thing or another.
Hold on,
The
hold on.
Democrat
And-
No,
Party
there's some sanctuary
absolutely
cities.
absolutely targets poor and minority communities with lottery programs, with cigarettes, with low calorie, or rather non-full
food.
calorie.
Oh,
High
how would you
caloric-
roll that out in a non-targeting way?
Are you saying wait, Democrats do that? Or it
Yeah,
happens in
blue
Democrat
states.
controlled
In blue
areas?
states, yeah. If you look this
Well,
up, in blue states, they target the lottery system and cigarettes. Cigarettes are really like $1 or $2 a pack. That's how much they cost. But all
Aren't
of
they
the rest,
$10?
yes, they
The
are.
tax.
Exactly. The tax is all of it. It's like $1 or $2 for a pack of cigarettes. But different states tax different amounts on cigarettes. That's why people in Pennsylvania, where I am, go to West Virginia across the border to buy tons of cartons of cigarettes. And the same thing with lottery tickets, it all goes to the state. It's all state taxed. And in blue states, this is a fact, every single study shows this. They target poor or minority communities, or both, oftentimes, and they hone in on these communities and sell them lottery tickets, high fucking sugar beverages, and cigarettes.
Okay,
It's a
Rafik
fact.
and then Grimace.
And
You keep saying it's a fact, but it's your opinion that Democrats are
no,
doing
it's not
this
a goddamn.
systematically.
It's not my opinion. It's a fact.
It's not even an opinion.
Okay, Rafik and then Grimace. And
No one can say
then
that.
Blacks
they're
didn't
safe.
have IDs. They couldn't prey on them.
okay, go ahead,
No, I
Rafik.
just want to say that there are sanctuary
of course.
cities that actually give IDs to illegals. I mean, I came from one. Wanted to give them, so they can get IDs and to vote and do whatever. So if they can get IDs, how come blacks can't get it?
They
Which we do,
can.
because which we do. I mean, we can't get to the nightclub without it. We can't buy liquor without it. We can't buy lottery tickets without it. Can't get welfare without it.
And,
Yeah, who are these
and,
people?
and to answer
these
your
poor black
question,
people
Grimace,
without IDs?
the reason why I'm not asking Cats about citation is because my focus as a black person who's constantly being pursued by blacks, surrounded by blacks, I'm around black folks. You know what I'm saying? I know as a black person coming from the black community, trying to get far away from blacks as possible, I understand the lies that are being told about people that you all don't live around, that you all don't even have to deal with. And so my biggest complaint is that if you would never tell your child what you tell black people, then you understand that what you're doing is wrong.
Okay, so if we put a requirement in that required you to have $1,000 cash on hand to show the people when you go to vote that you're capable of making money in society and that you
We
can now
don't need
vote,
no more
would we
what
say
ifs,
that this
dude.
would
I mean,
disproportionately affect
You can have a
Black
very good
Americans
time
and
with
would
Yes.
benefit the Republican Party to
Yes.
implement a law like that? Well, just
Yes,
Raise
it
your
would.
hand
that.
if you'd be for
Realize-
that. Raise your
realize
hand if
that
you'd be for
the
that.
voting-
Raise your hand if you'd be for
Let
that.
him finish. Let
Raise
Grimace
your
finish.
hand
'cause
if you'd be for that. Anyone on the panel.
Like moving
Raise your
the
hand.
goalposts. Like what if hypothetical? I mean,
Raise
you
your
have to
hand.
think
Yeah,
about
this is
what
a
it's about.
hypothetical to illustrate to you guys that
Nobody.
there can be ways to do this. It's obviously not as.
But there's
An
there's
ID
not there's no
costs
way. There's no
$21 in the state of California.
Oh wow!
Free
Okay,
in Georgia.
great trip, great point.
You know-
$21.
Yeah,
It's
$21
free in
to you and me might be nothing, but if you're the ultra poor who happens
Do
to be
you
disproportionately,
think
the ultra
that black
poor.
people don't have $21?
yes,
No,
super-
he doesn't
yes,
think that.
I
Yeah, he
grew up
doesn't
in
think
a
that.
house where $21 was a
Get
lot.
the
Okay,
fuck
if you
outta
live
here.
paycheck to
Get the
paycheck,
no, that's
no,
super racist.
no,
dude.
fuck you.
That
If you
is
live
racist.
paycheck to paycheck
I'm
and you
sorry,
see your
that
mom
is racist.
getting your fucking
That
car
is
repoed,
actually
You
racist.
can't get
still
a
take your
driver's
fucking
license for
house.
Hold on,
County
hold
on
on.
the door,
Stop,
you want
stop,
money?
stop,
You
stop,
think
stop.
$21
Wait.
means something? Of course it does.
Driver's
What
license.
about,
Wait,
like,
wait,
you're
stop,
getting
stop,
upset
stop.
about the
Hold
wrong
on,
thing.
guys. Hold on.
You're getting upset
Grimace,
about the
wait.
wrong thing.
Hold on, yeah.
$21, you
Stop.
shouldn't be able to
Stop. Y'all don't know what y'all fucking talking about.
$21.
Grimace, for driver's license, yes. But you know what? For a government ID, it's $7. In
I didn't
Free
know
in
that.
Georgia, where they're
In
having
California,
a
I
think
huge
it's the
problem
same.
In
with
Georgia,
this.
a government
It's
ID,
so
not a
dumb.
driver's license, a regular
Didn't even
government ID is $7.
The government doesn't give it to you for free. That they would charge you for some odd reason.
I think the
Grimace, if
question
this
is-
was
it's
really
not
about
so much-
I agree with this. It should be free. It should be free, but you should have to go to the DMV and fucking go get one. That's the thing. I think it should be free. I agree with Grimace on that. An ID should be fucking free.
But the thing about it is, hold on, honey, listen. Here's the deal.
You should have to have one.
Grimace,
You
should
guys,
have to have one.
but Grimace, the thing
in
about
most
it is you
states, a
saying that
government
black
ID is
people,
free.
this is why I find this to be very, very just condescending
Let
and
me
to
say
be
something else,
belittling.
because I think
To be belittling to black people to just say that we are
That we
just
don't
so
have $7 to
fucking
get an
dumb
ID.
and fucked up. Well, we can and coming from somebody who lives in a black community, these niggas spill money on fucking Yeezys and goddamn Nikes that are
Sneakers.
3 digits. And you mean to tell me they can't even, if they can drive, they ain't got $7 for a fucking goddamn regular government ID?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm
No,
not
I
saying
have
all
a
black
question.
can now not
I
vote.
have
I'm
a
saying if you
question.
take the aggregate of the entire population and compare it to the aggregate of another population, that we can see that when we put in these voter ID laws, one of these two populations votes at a much lower rate than
What
it would
study?
for
What
the-
study?
I have
Name
a
one
question.
study.
I have
that-
a
Alabama
Jupiter,
disproved
don't do
that
that.
It's not
theater.
real. It's
That's
not
not.
real.
It's not
No,
real.
That's
It's
I
not
have
real
it-
at all.
I
Because
have
That's
it.
a lie.
I have it right here.
2008.
I have it right here.
Go ahead. Go ahead,
Asking for
Cats.
is a bad move.
Go ahead, Cats.
I have it right here. Grimace, who is less likely? Who is more likely to have an ID? A black U.S. citizen or a Hispanic illegal immigrant?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Illegal immigrants can't get IDs.
Yes, they
What-
can.
Oh,
No,
okay,
not illegal
so-
immigrants
Sorry. They can't get like IDs that allow them to vote.
to vote. Yeah.
Except in California,
That's
except
not
in New
in
York.
California
It
and
won't
New
let you
York.
vote.
That's not true.
It won't
in
let you vote.
California
though.
and New York,
But
they
would
will.
you-
let,
so-
no. Go
Would
ahead,
you
Ken.
say
You
that
can
it's
vote
less?
if you don't
Would you
get
say
checked.
that it's? Would you say that a black U.S. citizen has a harder time getting getting a ID than an illegal immigrant?
A black. I'm not sure the problems that legal immigrants would have getting.
Why? Because there are. Oh, so as a
It's been
Californian,
illegal.
let me tell you. As
illegal?
a Californian,
Yeah,
I have the
imagine
answer.
part of
No. Here.
You're gonna have to connect
I'm a
this.
Californian. So in California, you get a vote. You got a mail-in ballot if you have a driver's license. California does not require you to demonstrate a birth certificate. If you're on the DMV, because you can get a driver's license if you live in California. They don't care where you came from. And they send ballots to everyone on the DMV rosters who is old enough. So really, it seems like when you say that you need to have a ID to vote, it's not black people that are being affected by it. It's not that black people are unable to get IDs, so their votes are being suppressed. It's more like people that shouldn't have IDs, that shouldn't be able to vote, are being given the right to vote because the ID requirement is so lax. Because asking someone for a birth certificate is apparently racist.
Okay.
And Cats, wait, Grimace, Cats. If Grimace cared about voting with IDs and black people not being able to vote, wouldn't he be more focused on implementing programs to get black Americans IDs as opposed to laxing
The question is
voting?
like, the question wasn't what we should focus on, right? The question was dealing with voter ID.
It's all you
laws
focus on is, oh, my black.
Yes, I like to
can't get
focus on the
IDs.
question.
It's
Anybody watching it, I
stupid.
like to focus on the question. It's true.
Hold
No,
on.
that's not
Can
the
hold on. Wait.
question. If you
Can we take a
actually
pause?
gave a
Wait.
shit about
Wait.
voter
Can we take
integrity,
a pause
It's
for a second?
11:30.
Can we take a pause for a second? Because Felix has to go, and I also want to respect everybody else's time. I apologize. This was getting so good that I forgot about the time.
This is the best part. This is the best part.
I know.
Let's
But
get-
how about this? How about this? Hold on.
Start the next one. Because it's been a long time since I've looked at this.
Hold on. So let me let Felix go. Give his outro, and then the rest of us will do our our 2-minute or whatever roundup and everything. But let me let him go because he has to go study real quick. So go ahead.
Yeah,
Felix.
sorry, I have to go study, and I don't know if I'm going to do well on this test, so I'm really going to. An experience to be here, as always. I really. I think you'll
Go
guys
sleep
in
instead.
in time will come to understand each other, but right now it's just a lot of screaming. So maybe you should just put a pin in it and then just come back to it at a time when it's not 3.5 hours and almost midnight. Anyway, it's been fun like always, and I wish you guys good night, and I'll see you guys later.
All right,
Later,
Alex.
dog.
Thank you so
Alex.
much for
Go
coming
for
by.
it.
Love.
Good luck.
Okay.
Bye.
All right.
Are we doing closing right now, Tree? Or are we gonna do hypotheticals? What are we gonna do?
I think we should do
I think we're
closing.
doing
No, we're gonna do
closing. It's
closing
late.
because I'm past the time. So I'm gonna let everybody do their closing, and then you can
Can I go
also
first?
Sure.
So I've changed. I don't know if I changed my mind, but I've realized something today that I didn't know I believed until Grimace said it. IDs should be free. IDs should definitely be free. I don't know why they're not. I'm actually kind of pissed off about that. Why aren't IDs free? Like I'm gonna start raising a stink about this. IDs should be free, but you should wait in line for it. Right? We started this off with what is a conservative, okay, and then we started talking about specific points that conservatives may have, specific reasons what liberals may have, and those are big overarching ideas. They encompass a lot of different parties. And I think it's important that we keep talking about this stuff because then you find different things that you actually believe that you didn't know. Like, for example, IDs should be free. I don't think that's a very controversial position. I think that's something that left and right could come together on. And if we had more things like that left and right could come together on, compromise, we'd have less fighting. And then a lot less bullshit would be happening today in the news. However, I don't think we're anywhere close to that because people like the bullshit. If you look at TikTok or fucking Twitch, or any of these things.
TikTok is
God.
TikTok
crazy.
is the degeneration of our culture.
It's a Chinese
Go ahead,
thing.
Trip, because
it's
I will have to say I don't stand with that position because if you
Which
ever
one,
go
the IDs being free?
yeah, because you guys don't know niggas. You don't know blacks. You just don't know them. They all got phones. Phones cost more than $50, maybe even more.
No,
and if they can
what I'm
afford
saying, though,
phones, why can't they afford a $7, anywhere between $7 and $10 ID? I just don't
Tree, I agree
understand
with
this
you.
bigotry.
I agree with
Not
you.
not bigotry of lower expectation, but this mentality of lower expectation. Oh, we got to give blacks a special privileges than everybody
that's
else.
not why.
I'm like, come on now, dude. This is
Tree,
just...
that's not why I think IDs should be free.
Okay, why?
I think IDs should be free because I think everyone deserves an ID.
As
And
long as you have a birth certificate.
Well, legal
hang on, guys. I don't think IDs should be free because minorities need IDs. I think IDs should be free because if you wait in line, you should be able to tell everybody who you are if you show them a card. Okay, I think that is a right that you should be given. I don't know. I think every liberal and every conservative should stand for that. That's something you should just be given. If you can wait in line for a fucking ID and you go to the socialist DMV, fucking blows. That's a whole nother can of worms we can talk about with
you don't have to
universal
stand in
healthcare.
line. I
You want it
never
to look
went
like
to the
DMV.
DMV. I got my tags and everything else and my license through the by going online and just basically filling out the form on there to get my license renewed.
Well, that's great. Then do that. But the thing is, like, that's the barrier.
It's like
there
renewal.
There should
It's
be
like
some
brand new. You
1
gotta
inch
try being
barrier to the
alive.
doorway of you get an ID, and the 1 inch barrier might be it's fucking free. Just go on the website, and people won't do that. And if you don't do that, then
it
you
won't
don't get
solve.
the
I see where
website.
I see where you're going, Trip. But let me just say this, and I'm so
Yeah.
serious, and anybody can including Grimace, can basically defend this position. Even if you make it free, they still would say that it is a barrier to stop blacks.
Yeah, I know they will, but that's
So what's
the
the
thing.
point?
This is the
What's the
closest we
point
can
of
get.
actually giving it for free then?
Don't indulge
I
them.
think to get an ID that should just be subsidized. But it's not that much money to be able to say this is who I am. I'm an American citizen. Everybody should be able to have an ID. However, you should also have to present the fucking ID when you go to vote. I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't know why this is controversial at all. If you can
I
wait
don't
in
know
line or
anyone
you can go
without
on a
an ID.
website, there you go. That's it. I am who I say I am, and now I can vote. I have a piece in this civic duty. I have a say in my country, in my state. You need to be able to have some sort of skin in the game. And if the skin in the game is waiting in line or going on the website, that is the most minuscule little tiny bit. If they still want to complain about that, then fine, fuck them.
Okay.
I think it depends on the
Cat.
state as far as how you like get IDs. Because some like if you're
That's
brand
true.
new, you're gonna have to probably wait. I'm sorry. I mean,
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. No. Go ahead, Fee. You go ahead. And then we'll get to Cats after you. But you was on a good point. So, which is true. Go
Also,
ahead.
also one thing though. Can I say one last thing?
Sure.
If it's $20 or $7, $6, I don't see a big difference between that and free. That's why I want it to be free.
Okay, Rafiq, go ahead.
okay. Yeah, I just want to say as far as like getting IDs, DMV depends on the state because like if you're like getting your first ID, you're gonna probably have to like stand in line because you're probably gonna need physical proof like a birth certificate, passport, social
Eye
security card,
test.
whatever. Yes, renewals usually can be simpler. Sometimes in some states you can do it online. Some states, no, you still have to go to the DMV, take the day off of work and go to DMV. And this includes New York. So,
Okay.
but yeah, but you could easily get IDs. I mean, urban areas as you could there are DMVs you could like take the bus to. So they're there. That's all I
All
have to say.
right. Cats, and then we're gonna go to Grimace, and then Jupiter, and then we'll wrap it up with everybody giving goodbyes.
I still maintain that the black community is being used as a shield in this whole voter ID nonsense. It's not black people, poor black people or otherwise, that these people are concerned about. They are using black people as a shield to say that voter ID is racist because people that want illegals to be able to vote need a shield, but they can't say it's racist to ask Mexican people or Hispanic people to present IDs because that leads down a rabbit hole they don't want to go to. But if you say it's racist against black people, then the white liberal head explodes at the mere thought because you can't question anything having to do with black people. And when they say it's racist, well, of course it's racist. It's about black people. No, this is not what it's about. Black people have IDs. Most American citizens, like I'd say the overwhelming majority of them, I had fucking homeless people that lived with me. They had IDs. It's very hard not to have an ID because without an ID, you can't access any of these very generous services that are offered to anyone. But so no, most people have IDs. This idea that requiring people to have IDs is racist is a shield for the fact that they want people who don't deserve to have IDs because they're not supposed to be here. That is what this whole thing is about. It's a giant smoke screen, and anyone that gets down the black rabbit hole on this subject is just being misled. It's not about them. Black is just code for illegal immigrant in this whole voter ID discussion.
Okay, Grimace.
Yeah, I'd like to, if you can have this topic next time around. When we're not,
Yeah,
like,
I think
all
what we're
really
gonna do it because that'll give all of us a chance to come up with our sources, and so it'll be a great debate. It'll be a great debate for everyone.
Very
So,
interesting.
I was leaning so hard away from identity politics, but I remember these laws and what's happened and how they're used in this mischievous way, I guess, just for voting purposes. There's things you can look up. I'm gonna put together some sources right now. It's good to have like a healthy debate on that, but kind of like what I said last time. If you guys remember the the metaphor with the test, that like we can look at different populations in the United States and see like there's like a test that you can only have that you can only get 2 questions wrong on, right? And when we see them distributed to people, they're like really easy questions that like white people get like 10, white middle class people get like 10 questions, and like immigrants get some number, and then like black people get like 100 questions. It's just like it's just taking down barriers to make sure that we're able to engage in our civic duty, because we want black people voting, right? We don't want them to have to go and muster up the bus fare, go and pay a fee, stand in an urban line at these different centers for a new ID. And considering the fact that they already need some proof when they go to register to vote, whether it's an ID or a social security number that they can then back check against addresses and places of prior residency and things like that. Yeah, I think that it's not needed at the very least. And the only time I've seen it implemented to require these IDs at the time is to make lines longer and to discourage people from going in the first place.
Wait, can I ask one question? What tests are you talking about that black people have a different amount of questions?
It's just a metaphor for society that like.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
hold up. But see, this
Like
is
starting at
where
different
hold on. This is
points.
where I'm talking about the lower expectation. Just because blacks answer differently or lower, it has nothing to do with racism. It has nothing to do with basically any
Oh yeah,
barriers.
well.
What?
Well,
You
okay.
think because
If
blacks
I could show
answer
you,
bad? Hold on. I want to listen to your rebuttal.
It's midnight, and I thought
You're saying that
systemic
because
racism?
blacks
It's okay.
rank
Wait,
lower
wait,
in
wait. I
academics
jumped
and certain
in, or we
things.
just
Hold
jumped
on,
in
Jupiter.
again?
Hold on, Jupiter. I need a qualified question for the Grimace. Hold on. I need a qualified question from Grimace. So you're saying that because black test lower or answer lower than whites or anybody else or Asians or whatever, that has something to do with racism or some kind of barrier?
no, sorry.
That's placed
My metaphor just fell flat. It wasn't like a real test. It's just like a test of life, like how we.
That's not what I got.
Yeah. So yeah, sorry. I said it poorly. Maybe I'll come back when I'm not so tired and finally execute it properly, so everybody can understand where I'm coming from.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Jupiter.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. You said there were two answer question tests that people had to be required to vote. That's a thing. That was a thing. Actually, black voters used to have to count how many beans of jelly beans were in a jar in order to vote. That harkens
Get the
back.
fuck out of here.
Yeah.
That's true. That's a fact. Yeah.
What the hell?
How many bubbles in a bar of soap?
But that doesn't
yeah,
apply.
that was
We
real.
don't do
It
that
harkens back to
now.
Jim Crow. But wait.
Not blatantly.
What you mean not blatant? We don't do
Yeah,
anything.
well, that's the
Oh
argument
my
we just
God.
had.
Yeah,
So the bubbles in the bar
that's
soap
the
thing
argument
is-
here.
Sorry,
Do you
everyone
have an ID?
10 minutes and I get a 40 millisecond thing, or what's going on here?
Go.
Go
Sorry,
ahead.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
This is fucked up at this point. It's midnight where I'm from, by the way. I mean,
Is that a fact?
Getting cut off. Yeah, that
Is
is
that a fact? Fact check him.
We're not
Oh,
familiar.
it's 11. Eastern Standard is 11:39. But go ahead.
All right, I'm taking 2 minutes now. No.
Go ahead.
You purposely harken back to those answers on the question. It was impossible for blacks to answer the two questions on that test. Impossible. Not a white man couldn't have answered those back in the 70s or in Jim Crow. Nobody could have. They were meant to fuck with your mind. They were impossible to answer. No, black people have IDs. Every black person I've been incarcerated with, in my junkie days, everyone has IDs. We all have IDs. It has nothing to do with that. If Democrats really gave a shit about blacks not being able to vote, they would do all these programs and put all this time and money that they put into these commercials about how Georgia's voter ID laws are racist. They put that into black ID leadership, meaning putting black IDs into black hands. But no, they don't do that. They don't give a shit about that. It's exactly what Kat said. It's for people that don't belong here to be able to vote. It's all ballot harvesting and illegal immigrants voting. That's what it's about. And the one thing that really pisses me off about this whole conversation, despite the disingenuousness of it all, because none of it, they don't care, is the fact that if you really look at Georgia, the state they're all focused in on, laser focused. Trip, your idea was for a voter ID to be free, right?
Why not?
And I agree. Oh, I agree. If you require me to have an ID to abide by liquor and state laws of tobacco, then yeah, you should give it to me. If you want me to follow your laws and your ID laws, then you should give me the fucking ID. I'm actually with you. Guess what? In Georgia, where they're laser focused, it's free.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
It's fucking free.
I thought it was $7. They must have changed it because oh wow. Okay.
Well, ID and driver's license are sometimes different.
No.
In California, they
The
cost the
driver's
same,
license is $20. No, the driver's license is $23.
Yes.
Yeah, here in California, I think the last time I checked it was
The
21.
last time I remember, and maybe it was so many years ago, it was $7 for a regular government issue ID. Now it's free. I didn't know that.
Prove that you're below the poverty line, which is very easy if you are below the poverty line because you're already getting state goods, welfare, food stamps, EBT cards, things like that. Then yes, it is free in the state of Georgia.
I think it should be free for
Can't
even
say
rich
that about New York
rich
City.
people should be
Can't
free.
say that for New York.
I
Can't say
agree.
that
I
about New
know.
York.
Actually,
I left New York 23 years ago. I'm never going
Can't
back.
say about New
If
York.
you
I
need
mean, it's
me, if
expensive.
you need me to present an ID to get state goods of any kind, pay my taxes, anything, give me my fucking ID for free. I agree. I'm with that. I'm just saying, in Georgia, it's free.
Okay.
But prove
good
that
to
you
know.
can vote.
Prove
that you can buy cigarettes. You
Yes.
know.
Prove that you can buy a pack of fucking Reds.
Well,
not
we
that
will
hard.
listen.
Tree,
We
I don't wanna
will.
be
We
rude,
will.
but
This is going to be a good topic because I've actually debated
I
on this
agree.
topic
It
myself,
would be a good
and
topic.
that's why I used the Alabama because blacks overwhelmingly voted for Don Jones. I remember it trend on Twitter. Thank you, black women. Because an overwhelming amount of people who voted for Don Jones over Roy Moore was black women, and they exceeded black votes. I mean, the white votes in general. So the fact, and Alabama's backwards, ass backwards, by the way. And so for black people to be able to vote overwhelmingly more than whites just proved that the voter ID thing is just a farce. So, all right. So that was good. That was juicy. So
That was
we'll
good.
have that.
Much love, Tree.
We'll have that
Yes.
as next month debate. And I really appreciate you guys coming by. And I'm gonna let you guys. By the way, if you guys want to keep the where, do you want to Grimace? You want the whereby?
No.
Okay.
I'm good.
Am I the
I
only
gotta
one
get out
here?
of here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Cool.
Oh, I
Tree,
dropped
Tree,
the link.
Tree.
I dropped the link to the New York DMV license call, so it'll probably blow your mind.
Uh-oh.
Send it to the Discord.
I did.
He
I just
did. He did.
Hey,
Okay.
Tree. I know that usually we go over because we like to argue, and that's we're assholes and everything. But I really loved the hypotheticals that we took part in the one time that I got to do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure we have it next time. Sometimes
much fun. It's like-
we go over time, and I don't have time for the hypotheticals, but I will make an effort next month to make sure we have hypotheticals because those are fun.
I wonder if maybe you should do it like as an intermission between topics.
Oh, that's a
That could
good
be fun,
idea.
too. Yeah.
Oh,
Because
that's a
then you
great
can get a lot
idea.
done.
Okay, I will do that. Good idea. Thank you. Yes. All right. So listen, you all give out your links, and then you can just leave the whereby if you want to. So let's go ahead and start like Rafiq, and then we'll go to this is in this order: Rafiq, Jupiter, Grimace, Cats, and then Trip.
My Instagram and Twitter username is rjennings333. Thanks, Tree, for having me. It's been a blast.
Yeah, it's always awesome with the film developer on the.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. All right, Jupiter.
I am so hungover and tired and cranky, and I haven't eaten. But I am Jupiter at Jupiter _ on Twitter, and Cats and I just launched our BitChute, and it's hopefully going to go a little bit better than our YouTube career. And for that Chiz in the chat, I forgot to dedicate a smoke to you, but picture they were all dedicated to you. And love you, Tree. Thanks a lot.
You're
See you
welcome.
guys.
Love ya. All right, Grimace. By the way, Grimace, you had me in the chat cracking up when you put a deer face or something in on your thing when you when everybody was yelling at you. So it's like, go ahead, leave your places where they can find you.
Yeah, twitter.com/outgrimace. Just follow me there. I'm not doing any streaming until I pass some real life hurdles, if you will. But Tree, thanks again for having me on. I'd love to talk about this voter ID stuff in the future. I don't know why I have to keep saying it because I keep hearing it from
if
your
you
chat.
know any
I'm not
liberals
woke. I hate wokeism.
if you know some liberals that are not afraid to come on
Hell yeah.
YouTube and basically stand with you, that are on your side, Grimace, let me know. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them are afraid to come on YouTube because they know we play by different rules here.
Okay. I'll definitely let you know. I'll keep my ear out, but I haven't even been interacting in that
Okay.
community
All right.
anymore. I think I need to get out of those spaces. They're driving me
I
nuts.
don't blame you. I don't blame you. Okay. All right. Cat.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
No, thanks for coming. Cats, go ahead. And Jupiter, leave your link, and that's why I gave
Hello,
you
everyone.
mod. privileges. Sorry, Cass. go ahead.
Wait. How do I do that real quick?
Just take your link
Sorry.
from BitChute and put it in the chat.
Yeah, bitch.
I did.
I just asked him.
I don't
No,
see
no, no.
it.
She means in
I
the
was
YouTube chat,
responding to Trip.
darling. She means in the YouTube chat, not in the whereby chat.
Yeah, but I did that.
No, did you? I
okay,
don't
then-
see it.
Try harder. God damn it.
I don't
You
see
know-
it. Go ahead. Do it again. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, Cats.
Hi. So I'm rcats gay ? I am a sporadic YouTuber. I'm on Twitter. That's probably the best place to interact with me. You're free to enter my Discord server. It's a graveyard. I barely notice it. But yeah, like happy to be here, Tree. Happy to talk to everyone, and I look forward to next month.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming by, Cats. And last but not least, Trip. Trip, go ahead.
All right, so the most shit that I talk the most shit with Tree on her show, but I talk about half as much shit on Twitter. Trip Sucks Bro is my Twitter, and Trip Sucks is my Instagram. So if you want to see some more of that shit and you like gaming, hit my Trip Sucks Bro. But otherwise, I'm just here to talk shit.
All right. So guys, I do this every third Sunday of each month. And so at 8:00 p.m. And we normally don't go over this far, but it's been so spicy. We just went over this one time. So next month we will be doing we got one topic and we'll do a hypothetical in between. And that will basically help de-escalate some things and before we come to the next subject. So thank you guys so much for coming by. Say wave to the taters. And then, I'll see you guys.
Wait,
Much
Tree,
love.
Tree. Wait, real quick. I'm so sorry. Tree, can you post that? It's not working for me. I tried to post in the chat.
I want to get
but
to your BitChute too, man.
I sent it to you, and I'm retarded. Everyone knows this. Okay.
I thought so because I
It's
said
not
I
your
have
fault.
not
I know
seen.
this.
That way.
I have
know.
not seen your I have not seen you post the link, but I'll go ahead and post it for you. Okay. All right. That's
Thank
cool.
you.
Much
I
love,
love
Tree.
you.
Thank you.
All right,
Bye,
guys.
guys.
Bye. Later. See ya.
Bye.
Okay, guys. So we're gonna go here. Let me get his BitChute for you guys. Copy link. Here you go. That's his link right there. That is Jupiter's new link. Yeah, there you go. Let me make sure you guys got it. Okay, there you go. You see it. All right, cool. All right, that's great. All right, got it. Okay. Great. Okay, cool. So guys, thank you. Thank you guys so much for coming. But I am like my high. It's like once it's, as you can tell, my energy is starting to go down and I'm like more calm and everything because I'm like, oh man, I'm ready to go to bed. But yeah. I'm glad this happened because man, I got something coming up tomorrow and I'm pretty nervous about it. So this kind of like took my mind completely off of that situation. Oh, I'm not talking to you, Sites. Sites, oh my God. Fucking Sites. Sent me a video and the shit was such a jump scare. I was mad, but I also laughed too. Man, that pissed me. I was like, oh, I can't believe I hate jump scares. I hate jump scares. I hate them. This is probably the best jump scare ever I have ever seen. So there you go. You put Grimace in your, you know what I'm saying? Grimace is awesome. You gotta get one question. I think what guys do, you meant think Sites. I think what the guys do is that they ramble, and it gives Grimace some time to come up with a TDS deflection, and you just gotta keep it simple, and that goes with everybody. don't get into this long drawn out explanation. Get right into the yes and no, the black and white questions, and see if he'll wiggle out of it, and he does. The TDS is funny as hell. His TDS has always been funny to me. Always been funny. You can't get mad at him. Well, I don't get mad at him because it's amazing to watch. You know what I'm saying? And then when he said he didn't have it, I was like, what? So I know some of you guys get frustrated, but I find it hilarious. The TDS, the shit is so funny. Yeah, it's yeah. Yes, Laura, as if he wiggle out of it. And he does every time. He does it every time. You know what I'm saying? And it's the most amazing thing I have ever seen in my life when you pinpoint him on some things and see what he's gonna say. Grimace is Gucci. I get along with him well. That's cool, Aaron. Well, some of y'all get along with him actually. I do believe a lot of you are active on his Twitter and his Twitch. I don't get a chance to come to Twitch. He's highly entertaining. Dude, listen. I don't think our roundtables, I don't think our debates would be, well, we saw what happened the last time he wasn't here. Everybody jumped on Archer, and Archer hasn't been back since. So so you gotta listen. You gotta give him credit right now. You know what I'm saying? He got some balls. You know what I'm saying? He can handle anything coming his way. You know what I'm saying? With Grimace wasn't here, and everybody jumped on Archer. Like Archer hasn't been back. Grimace is like, I can take all of y'all. I don't give a fuck, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? I think that TDS is a protective mechanism, if you ask me. Because you can't scare him or nothing. You can't piss him off or whatever. And that shit is kind of like, it's kind of respectable in a way if you really think about it. Yeah, he can handle it. He got a fucking backbone, dude. He got a backbone made out of steel. So that alone is something I respect. So, that's that. So anyway, hey, Cats, thank you so much. Sheba Dog laughing slightly while blushing and covering his mouth with one arm. Oh, man. I like what, yeah, and we all started laughing. I think the only person who didn't laugh was I think BJ and I think Rafiq, because they didn't see what he did. I don't think they saw what he did with his face, because we all just started laughing when it's like, and we just see with this fucking deer face on him. I was like, Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. That shit was funny. And and the deer was just smiling, knowing down. He was not even smiling behind it, man. That was a good technique. I think Dario did that one time with who did Dario do that to? Oh, Dario did that to Jupiter one day. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. And this shit it's really just it's a pretty good de-escalation tactic. So there's that. So anyway, guys, so I want to thank everybody for your donations. Please come to my channel tomorrow on tomorrow on this channel I'll have my tomorrow on this channel I will have my live broadcast, and then I have a premiere for all the ladies. And ladies, oh my God, my lady population, my female population on my third channel is actually rising. So thank you so much. Oh my God, we're finally getting rid of those men on that, on that channel. So that's they're basically unsubscribing, the losers. So, and the good men are staying. So we're finally getting rid of that. And so I want you to keep spreading the word. My demographics are now changing, and I love it. So go to Just Tree 411 if you're a woman, and please subscribe. It is working, guys. I can't wait to show you the update on the demographics. It's absolutely working. I am going to be making a promo video and put it on my Tree of Logic channel and keep it up there so people know where my other two channels are. You know what I'm saying? This channel and my third channel. So anyway, I will see you all tomorrow here. I'll see you all tomorrow here at 6:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the political news. And then I'll see you on my third channel for the live stream on Wednesday. Okay? So with that being said, this is going to stay up. I'm not going to take it down. All right? So you can just come here and see it whenever you want. But if you want us, let's see, yeah, if you want to come back at your convenience and see it, you can. All right. So thank you so much, and mwah, bye, taters. I'll see you all tomorrow at 6:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Later, taters. Bye. Bye.